just a little bit more cautiously, then this guy looks like he actually can potentially go toe-to-toe with Dudu. We're saying it's Dudu's year, right? This is going to be a really exciting top matchup for me.
All right, well, before we dive into predictions and specifically what's going to happen in this DNS DRX series, it's time, everyone, for Degon's Fact of the Week. That's right, we have our competitors that you know and love. We'll start with competitor number 1. He's here, he's still a dad, he's still giving the smiles to the camera.
Hashtag not scared Degon's Fact of the Week. You can't scare me with this, Degon. You've thrown so many at me. Why would I be nervous?
Because you should know this one. And on the opposite side, he's always fun. He's quite the racket because he plays tennis and paddleball all the time. It's what did.
Vamos! Vamos! Let's go, Carlos.
All right, let's get into this week's fact, which is about last year, right? Last week's big story was the big upset from BNK FearX over T1. So I wanted to know if you guys knew, based on seeding, how many lower seed teams defeated higher seed teams in last year's LCK Cup 2025 playoff?
I think Hanwha was the higher seed, actually, when they beat T1, if I'm not mistaken. And I do remember us talking about this. I want to say 0, to be honest. I think none of them did. That's my gut reaction, that 0 of them did.
Same. I was thinking about the 0 as well.
That's crazy, guys.
Well, except, I mean, in the finals,
it's 6 times, guys.
What?
Remember, Hanwha was the lowest seed in the playoffs. They were the lower seed. Do we have the stats there for you? I think we had it. So every win that Hanwha had was an upset. They were the 5th seed to the 4th seed. And Nongshim beat KT.
Okay, I was thinking from their seed in terms of the group battle because they were LCK champions, so that threw me off. So that's why I was thinking it would have been 0. It would have been 1 if my idea was correct.
Remember, crazy story. Gen G was like undefeated, untouched.
I do remember all the game 5s. Right? I remember Zeka, Super Soldier game 5s.
Super Soldier story is there. So the reason we bring that up is because that's the thing that we love about playoffs. Any team can get hot at the right time. Also, some weird seeding. Who knows what will happen here? As here's our predictions for today's match. It's DNS and DRX. 3-2, 3-2, 3-0 by Wadid. We'll get to him in just a bit, but we have comments on what we think are going to happen. And for me,
อันนี้ดาวเดียว D+ อันนี้2 ดาว Gen G FearX 3 ดาว T1
have lost. And I feel like each loss, each missed call, the Elder
Nice.
Dragon steal into base push into losing. They're getting closer and closer to learning how to win. Each loss is closer how to win for DNS. See closers on
That's
DNS.
a good one, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Wolf, your turn.
I'm bringing out the Geoverse because just trust
ที่อาบน้ำหรือยังอาบไปดิ
Okay.
Please, what do you mean?
Rich always means right.
Yes.
คือ
Okay.
อยาก
Andil is the hardest working support.
He is.
อย่างนี้ว่ะ
LCK.
Yep.
Gotta trust
เมื่อวาน
in
พี่
it.
ไปเล่นวานาสเจอกับโยเนสแล้วรู้สึกว่าสู้ไม่ได้แบบเล่น 2-3 รอบสู้ไม่ได้สักรอบเลย คือพี่เจอโยเนสพี่สู้ไม่ได้เลย เลยรู้สึกว่า
this AD carry is going to be set up for success and scale into the late game. I think
มันเปลี่ยนรูแล้วมันจะชีวิตเปลี่ยนป่าววะ
champion pool and stronger power in this series, even though he's up against world finalist Duck Dom.
Well, I'm sorry, Wolf. I don't trust family work. I trust DNS because I think all lane is gapped. I feel like just in general, like you can't win top, you can't win jungle, you can't win mid, and also the bot lane. I think DRX, they had some lucky days, or just prove me wrong. I feel like DNS will just stomp them in 3-0.
เชียร์ว่าดีเฉยๆแบบนี้แบบบอดเชียร์เด้อ เฮ้ยแต่จริงๆต้องเชียร์ซูเปอร์นะ Super ไม่อยากเชื่อเลยว่าเขาไม่เจอโยเนสเลย 10 นาทีใกล้มาแล้วครับอะไรคือกำลังเล่นแล้วแบบเกมไม่มาวะ ทีวันเจอ BN เฟกอีกรอบจะไหวไหม เอาจริงแม้แต่แฟนทีวันแบบที่ดูแบบเยอะอย่างพี่ยังไม่รู้เลยว่าจะไหวไหมเพราะว่ามันอาจจะไหวแล้วก็ไม่ไหวไม่มีใครนั่นเลยวะพี่เนิร์ฟหนึ่งให้ผมหน่อย1กับผมหน่อยพี่เล่นโยเนะผมเล่นวาลัสเฮ้ยพี่เนิร์ฟแกชมอะไรอยู่ปะวะ
DNS 파스 화이팅! DRX 화이팅! DRX 화이팅! 화이팅!
มีใครเล่นโยเนะเป็นบ้างแชท
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the LCK CUP PLAYOFFS. I'm Atlas. I'm joined by Ox for the AA cast, and we're here at the beautiful Chichijik Low Park, getting ready for this best of 5. We are in the lower bracket. Wolf and I were talking about backs being against walls. Yeah. We were talking about entering said walls, needing to be the Kool-Aid guy in order to get out of the walls. We are well and truly through the walls here. Yeah. It is do or die. Next level style.
I think I'm following.
Don't follow.
Okay.
You'll be in the wall. You don't want to be there.
Don't want to be in the wall.
It's not where you want to be.
Okay.
I remember in the Matrix, you know, when they find you in the walls, then you have to do all of that cool stuff in order to get out of the walls, and it's really, really difficult. Anyway, it is time to get into DNS versus DRX. Let's have a look at this one, as it's been a very, very long time since these two teams have faced each other in a best of 5.
Yeah, really has been. And we're like, you know, pulling up the match record over a long, long period of time, dating back to 2018, but it's been pretty close over that period.
They've been very different teams as well over that period of time as well, as it was definitely the DN Freaks at least, unless they were back to being a Freaker before.
พี่แพ้โยเนะมาหรอใช่ไม่แล้วคือเป็นมาหลายรอบแล้วรอบที่แล้วก็เป็นอย่างนี้เลยพี่เลยลองคิดว่าถ้าเราแบบ
almost a little bit more as far as the uptick is concerned. We know that it's the year of Dudu, but I think Rich has really been outperforming what we expected of him this year.
I feel like Dudu's just that series that they had. It just all came down to Dudu just really 1v9ing. So, you know, I think it's going to make an interesting matchup because I think Rich has obviously stepped up massively, but to me, Dudu has been the best player for this DNS lineup so far. Yeah. And I'm just hyped to see them go head-to-head.
Me too.
มันเห็นเขาเปลี่ยนไม่ได้เร็วมากว่ะ
did just a little bit. He mentioned all lane gap. How can you have like a gap in the jungle when we don't know what side of the coin Kyoshik has thrown yet?
That's true.
It's kind of impossible. It's always a 50-50. Let's have a look at the predictions here as we have a bit of an idea, but a lot of DNS focus. Only Wolf and I over our side believing in DRX, and Pony and Helios on the other side have come through on that one as Jonas Strong alongside with Did the 2-3-0 predictors. And of course Jonas Strong is
ไม่เร็วมาก
3-0 predictions.
อ๋อมันได้แค่80
I don't see it today. I think that we're going like all the way or to 4.
เดี๋ยวเป็นหมอตัวตีใกล้ไงไม่รู้
You know, I think this one was a hard one to predict, but I think a lot of people are going off the fact that both these teams did have close series, but DNS had a close series against BNK FearX, and BNK FearX obviously had a great performance against T1, so transitive properties, that's what people are going off, and obviously those don't always stand, right? Which is why, completely understandable, people go in the other direction, but I think that's the logic most are following when they are putting DNS in a favorable position here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because I think matchups between
ที่วันไหนครับที่วัน
we should be focusing on because each team matches up very differently to one another. I do really like transitive properties because
ในตารางเลยครับตารางรู้สึกว่าจะเป็นวันที่15ครับเอาไม่15 22ครับ
And that's really cool.
22 เวลา 3 โมงเย็นครับ
necessarily is correct. We'll have to find
ก็คือวัน
out
อาทิตย์
as
นั่นเอ
we
ง
move further on in the tournament. But players have made their way out here into Lol Park, and we'll see exactly who's got out on the right side of the bed here today. One of the reasons why I predicted DRX, by the way, is Joker. I just feel like this team is so good at recognizing mistakes and weaknesses and correcting the next time around.
หรือเราต้องใช้ลุนฟรีด
really demonstrated
this with a lot of the interviews
that he's had
แม่มันก็ไม่เก่งดี
as Calyx and Bulldog are here. That's very, very cool. Supporting and just hanging out, watching some LCK. You love to see it. Very, very cool stuff.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are seeing, I did want to mention, we're seeing Peter again. So, you know, he's obviously been having a good run with the team. They are running with him, starting off once more. I think the support matchup is one, you know, I really see in current form, DRX actually having a big edge.
Me too.
Andel's been in phenomenal form. His Bard has been excellent, but also leading on other picks. We've seen like,
his Nautilus, man. His magnetic anchors.
Yeah. So
มันตีดไม่ทันอยู่นี่เว้ย เมื่อวานที่พี่เล่น
bot lane in their current meta. Winning bot, having priority, getting your quest online sooner, just the gold you get, cheating the economy as an AD carry right now. And I think Andal, if you can just enable your AD carry early, that's an investment you definitely want to be able to get online.
I really do like the economic vibe that you've got going on here. It stuck throughout the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I actually think that the bottom lane is kind of DRX favored, pretty considerably in my mind. I know Dr. and Peter are, you know, world's finalists from last year, but I don't think we've necessarily seen them dominate all that often. It's not consistent. Is my problem.
Last year, I think Dr. had some really good performances.
I mean, we know he's elite.
But in the most recent series, it was not it. No, it was not it. I think there was some definite flubs, and I think that's the thing. We need some more consistency. I think obviously Dr. and Peter, they've played on the biggest stage. We know what they are capable of, but they just haven't been consistently demonstrating that so far in the LCK Cup.
Yeah.
And there's been some good, you know, there's been some not so good. Hopefully they bring out the good today, because they're going to need to with who they're up against.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it with Dr. and Peter is about vibes.
Oh, yes.
We need to see what the vibes are like, because otherwise Peter can kind of fall flat on his face, or he can just hard carry, and you don't really know what you're going to get. We are starting to learn what we're going to get out of this guy, though. Jiu really has started to live up to the expectation that we had, like, what, 2 years ago for this guy. He's able to actually pick up the hyper carries and win games. And it's really impressive. They managed to take 2 games off a DK that slaughtered them in the previous series. The progression and the improvement is tangible here on DRX.
And it's huge because it's a meta where you have so much invested in AD carry, you need them to be reliable.
ภาษามาลายูยังครับ เตรียมเปิดไมค์เฮ้ย
Was Jiwoo just making these mistakes where you were just kind of like, what are you doing in this moment?
Yeah.
Being more reliable now, really important. And
ผมไปขัดหินปูนก่อนพี่
right now.
I was going to say,
อะไรวะ
well and truly
เดี๋ยวผมไปขัดหินปูนก่อน ผมไม่ไหวแล้ว คือขูดหินปูนก่อนเหรอ ดูแข่งอยู่แล้วก็ไปขูดหินปูน พี่รู้แล้วเจอโยเนรอบหน้าพี่เอาอะไรไปสู้ดี เมื่อวานพี่เจอโยเนแบบแรงไม่สูงเท่าไหร่อ่ะเฉยๆเลยอ่ะเมื่อวานแค่ชาเลนเจอร์700 แต้มเองเล่นโยเนหวดกูไป13 ตัว พี่ตายไป12
and I would say probably a little bit more. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go, because I could be completely wrong. We could see DNS really turn this one around. Maybe Purshik just rolls heads every single time. We know that when he does that, he tends to go on a roll and then wins worlds. So that could be a thing that could happen here today, or at least the beginning of it, heading towards first stand. But of course, that is a long way in the future. No one's heading to Brazil just yet, although I have a feeling Genji might.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high
LL ของซีทีมอินฟูแข่งวันไหนครับ แข่งวันที่22เหมือนกันครับวันเดียวกับทีวันเหมือนกันครับแล้วแข่งน่าจะ6 โมงเย็นด้วยแม่วันมันช่างเหมาะเจาะเหลือเกินนะ
The DN Supers, so they get a little bit more space to be targeted. Taking away Andel's Bard, I think is a great call. Yunara away from Jiwoo as well.
Very targeted bans here.
Yeah, and I think just not too surprising. I expect a Rumble ban to come through from DRX. Nothing too surprising in that regard. And then the question comes down to those mid laners, because especially if you're going Nico ban as well, which makes sense, right? Nico's been a great pick, but also Peter specifically has been phenomenal.
ย้อนหลังเหรอไม่ใช่อันนี้ไม่ย้อนหลังครับ
about mid laners. So do the DN Supers now look to ban one of those? Potentially look to try and get one of them uncontested. Try and get Rumble uncontested. What is the play here?
I think ban Orianna. and then force a Rumble ban because that's probably still going to be necessary, and then you get Azir without having to worry about Orianna. Or you take away the Nocturne to make the Orianna less scary, because I think if you're having a look at these two mid laners, Closer clearly wants to play Azir, and Yukao clearly wants to play Orianna. That's how it feels in my mind. The problem is Jarvan is still there, so it could still be picked alongside a pretty decent ball carrier as far as the Orianna is concerned, and they didn't ban Rumble. So I guess that's going to be the first pick instead.
Yep. So I guess in this situation, you have to take the Rumble, and then you end up trading the mid laners. I think the Nocturne obviously means that DRX can't take Orianna Nocturne together, which is, you know, I feel like you have a lot more power to do that on the second pick side. And that combo is, I mean, DNS know how much that combo can threaten. They're a team who are very good at using it themselves. Also protects the Nocturne for Pioshik. It's been a pick that's pretty good for him, so saves it for later in the series.
Yeah, that's a good point.
เอเมซ่าครับ
Going to be locked in here. I'd kind of like that to be a
เฟล
jungle
กอยู่ครับ
pick. I actually quite
แต่ว่า
like
ก็ไปเจอ ลัมโบ
I feel like he's done relatively
ได้นะ
well, and we've seen that. I mean, on
คือลัมโบ
TikTok
เวลาเข้าไปเทรด
solo
เอเมซ่า
kills,
มันต้อง
top side of the map, and
คิว
that was
คิว
against King.
เข้าไปใช่ปะเล่นเอเมซ่ากระโดดแบบ
That
W
might
สวนมา
be
แล้วก็
an
ล
avenue of
ำออก
success. Instead,
ลัมโบจะพ่น
wow,
ไฟหมด
this
พ
is
อดีเว้ย
actually not what I was expecting out of DRX. Priority on the Azir instead of the Orianna.
ซึ่งจะ
Especially
เทร
when
ด
you
เท่า
can
กัน
get a public execution into the backline on the
พอๆกันอะ
Enforcer and deliver a ball.
มันเลย
That
แบบ
would be a kind of cool
ยืนเล
way
น
to
สู้ได้
make things happen. But instead, the Pigeon going to be locked in, and that will allow the
โอ้โห
Pantheon to
Pantheon
go
อีก
to
แล้ว
Pioshik.
แต่
Oh my
Pioshik
goodness,
ว่ะ
and then there's the Orianna as well. We've seen this exact
พี่ชอบแพนดิออน
lineup of
ป่ามาก
picks.
ผมรู้สึก
I
ว่าแบ
think
บ
it
มั
was
นเก่งมาก
BNK that picked it into T1
ดา
and
เม
he
จ
demolished
จัด
with it.
Yeah, the Pantheon Orianna, it's not quite Nocturne
ชอบไปเอาตรง
Orianna,
ที่
but it does a
แข่ง
pretty
ตรง
good
เวลา
job
ไม่มี
of
เลท
setting up the
เอ่อ
ball. You can dive
คือ
in super aggressively,
ถ้ามีผู้ชมซื้อบัตรเข้ามา
point-click
พี่ว่ามัน
CC, and then
ไม่
just
ควร
the
เลทอะ
shockwave to follow. This is a
แล้ว
really
ก็
strong top side for the DN Supers.
หลายๆอย่างมันเลท
Now,
ไม่ได้แล้วสถานที่
DRX
ด้วยอะไร
will be
เงี้ย
going for that one you talked about into the Rumble. So a matchup, obviously we have seen that solo kill that Shiwa managed to get, which was pretty crazy.
Yep.
Into Keen, of all things.
แล้วก็เกาหลีเวลาค่อนข้างจะ
Generally, just looking to scale up to that Kanik Rukin,
แม่น
then you can just
ตรง
survive the matchup, hit that late game scaling. Definitely feels like DRX are going to be on the back foot on the top side in terms of that early pressure, and looking just to try and
ออนไปเจอครับสุดท้าย
survive
เป็น
a
เอ
little
เม
bit
ซ่า
till
จัง
later
เกิล
stages. And we do start seeing AD carries banned out with Kai'Sa and Lucian taken away immediately here.
I feel like Kai'Sa is kind of awkward in the DN Supers composition, but you can understand it. There is certainly a lot of dive. Pantheon Kai'Sa does work quite well together. And so getting rid of that one to not allow Docdom to play it. What I want to see out of DRX is a lot of aggression in the bottom lane. I want to see early game power. I want to see lane dominance, because elsewhere we are scaling all over the place. And we saw it didn't work when I keep going back to the last series, but T1 tried and Azir
ถ้า
won
BNK ชนะ
competition,
ทำไงนี้
and they just didn't
ถ้า
get
วัน
off the
เสาร์
ground.
BNK ชนะ
And it didn't quite work out, and this is
โลกก็จะ
I think it might have been in a very
ไม่สงบสุข
similar,
อีกแล้วครับ
situation. It might have even been that game where they
ที
played
วัน
the
ไม่ต้อง
Rumble
ไปตัดกันอีกแล้ว
and it just
แต่ทีวันก็ถ้าเกิด
started
ตกรอบก็
doing things a
ถือว่า
little
ทำตัวเองแหละ
bit
เพราะว่ามัน
faster.
โหเจอเฟเอ็กซ์ถ้าเกิดชนะไปมันโอกาสได้ไปเฟิร์สแตนมันสูงแล้วไง พอแบบเป็นอย่างนี้ปุ๊บมันต้องไปลุ้นเยอะเลยอะ
It's so risky because if you go Calista, they can just go Ashe Seraphine.
That's a good point.
ระเบิดอะก็แค่ระเบิดก็ได้ดูเฟเอ็กซ์เจนจีที่เฟิร์สแตน
Go something maybe like a Blitzcrank. That's a huge threat in this situation. They're gonna go Ezreal, go something safe. That obviously can have that mid-game pressure. And it looks like I think Jhin fits with the DN Super's composition.
I don't like
inspire a huge amount of joy, especially into an Ornn.
Yeah, I don't
มัน
like
ต้อง
it.
ขอกี้หรือเปล่า
This composition for the DN
จิน
Supers
เหรอ
are looking to sort of spike in the mid game, and it'll
อ๋อ
definitely
ฮอกกี้โดนแบน
follow up and ults there. As long as
ไม่
you
เหลือ
ult
อะไร
in
แล้ว
like
นี่
super
ว่า
late game, it's not going to be too much of a problem. And you have a lot of damage in the composition in general, so
Yep.
ใครสา
I
ก็
think,
โดนแบน
I
อีก
think DRX knew that they wanted to pick the Ezreal. Now the Kai'Sa ban makes all that much more sense, as I think they were just aiming for that from the beginning.
Alistar ครับ
As Jhin Alistar, not exactly a awe-inspiring
Um,
bottom lane. And let's see
ถ้า
what
เจอ
Andal
คา
wants to
ม่า
do.
เข้า
Could
ไป
just
นี่
be the Karma if you
วัว
would
ไหว
like to.
ปะ
I'd
วะ
prefer to see something else.
วั
And
ว
I think
นอนมา
Nautilus is pretty free, given the fact that there is an Alistar already there. I think that your lane prospects are still looking kind of okay. Up against the Jhin Alistar, and so he can go towards the champion that he's been really dominating on, and I really like to see it. Andal just hopping out on
หลอดไม่
the
โอเค
best
นะ
foot
ยอดวิว
forward
หายหุ้นต
straight
ก
away.
yeah, I think getting comfort for him in this situation. But I think honestly, DN Supers having Rumble Pantheon
ผิดที่ทีวันไม่ยอมที่1กรุ๊ปเองถ้าเลือก DK มาสู้เองล่ะคงไม่ต้อง
just to kind of have, you know, the
โอ้โห
Alistair set up the Jhin for the
อันนั้น
follow-up.
มันไม่เชิงผิดที่ทีวันหรอกทีวันแม่งก็ชนะไม่แพ้ใครแล้วอะแต่ว่า มันอาจจะไม่ได้ฟอร์มแบบตบ 2-0 ไงคือเจนจีมันบ้านั่นน่ะคือเจนจีมันโหดเกินถ้าผิดก็ต้องผิดที่นั่นแหละสู้เฟกไม่ได้เอง
I don't know why I use that as an example of a bad bottom lane, but stuff with Teemo is just generally not going to work out.
I think Teemo Zillion doesn't sound too convincing.
It doesn't sound too good. I just feel
You
like
can't speed him up and he can just blind people.
Yeah,
You know?
see?
He can run
You'd
random
really
paths.
be able to guarantee the
อันนี้
blind. There's
คาลิก
Uh,
คาลิกเลนกลางของน้องชิม
the DRX side, I'm pretty sure. So I think we are there as well. And
Ow.
Bulldog, of course,
Bulldog
formerly
ก็มา
of the DN Supers, or I guess the DN Freaks back in his day. But obviously supporting them. So let's see who is going to be happy after this one. As a lot of scaling over on the side of DRX and the DN Supers with that awe-inspiring top side of the map. And then some pretty
Bulldog
solid
หายไปเลยนะ
bottom lane as well. Let's get into it. Game number 1 of this lower bracket best of 5.
เอาอะไรไปไหนหมดทีวันไปล้อฮาวาไลไว้เรียบร้อยกำลังจะตามฮาวาไลไปแล้วเนี่ย
All right, DN Supers fans a little bit unsure as to the cadence of the call out, but hopefully they figure that one out as we get further on. DRX like a well-oiled machine. Let's see whether that is going to be represented on the Rift as well. Because we know
LPL
fan
เหรอ
chants have very,
อ๋อ
very
ไปอยู่
high
LPL ใช่ไหม
impact in the outcome
บิน
of
กลับ
the
มาเชียร์
game.
เหรอ
Yeah,
And that fan chant was a bit messy on the DNS side. That
อยู่ทีมอะไรครับ
main attack, though,
LPL
seemed fine. So maybe Closer not suffering from it just yet.
So interestingly, both supports opting to go aftershock. I think it completely makes sense on the Nautilus. He is quite squishy, does extra resistance.
อ๋อ
just go a
อยู่
long way.
LNG
But seeing on the Alistair as well, I feel like a pick that we've seen a lot more spellbook on.
อยู่ LNG
Really valuing that extra tankiness, particularly in the early game, before you have that ult
ซึ่ง
available. And Andal going the ignite, so wanting that extra pressure.
LNG ก็ตกรอบไปแล้ว
Calibrate. Although they do have a ward there, so a little bit of a sidestep, I guess, playing a part.
พี่คิดถึงน้องซุส
You can see right now,
น้อง
bit of a hit
Kumashi
towards bottom
จะ
side
รี
of
บ
the
กลับ
map,
บ้าน
not
ไปเที่ยว
throwing out any
บาง
tempo
แสน
spells just yet. As healing to ignite feels
เกม
good.
มี
for
ตั้งค่ามาอยู่แล้ว
DRX.
ไม่ให้ใช้ดีอย่างนี้เรียกว่าเพิ่ม voice chat ไหมแค่
I think as
เปิด
well,
ระ
with
บบ
it being a
ที่
Jhin
ปิด
infinite
มาให้เฉ
Ezreal,
ย
with the lethal temple Ezreal, you get your
พี่คือ
you
สาย
get
สว่างของ
stacked
วง
up,
การ
you get your passive stacked up.
ขอบ
You
คุณ
have
มาก
so
นะครับ
much
พี่ที่ทำ
sustained
ให้
damage
เอาเรามี
in
ไม
comparison
ค์
to a Jhin who is stuck on that.
เฮ้ยแต่ว่าจริงๆแล้วพี่ก็งงนะ คือล่าคือหลังๆพี่แบบ
Jhin is reloading most
พูด
of the
เรื่อง
time.
แอลต้องมีไมค์
I know he gets
หลายรอบมาก
full
อะ
bullets and then it's reload, but it really feels like
แล้วอยู่
he's
แม่งก็มี
reloading
ขึ้นจริง
between
ว่ะ
every bullet.
Time spent reloading.
แบบมัน
It's
มัน
just
งงอยู่เหมือนกันนะ
significantly high, you know?
Yeah.
All right, Andal,
คือแบบ
he's looking for
คือ
it.
ช่วงแรก
Gonna
อะ
start
พูดเย
this
อะ
one
แต่ว่า
up.
ช่วงแรกมันพูดแบบว่า
Does have pulverize there from Peter, but hits the hook
แต่ช่วงหลังอะ
onto Dokdom.
คือมันมีช่วงแรกที่เริ่มเล่นแอลอะทำไมถึงไม่มีไมค์กับช่วงเนี้ยที่พูด ช่วงกลางๆเริ่มไม่ได้บ่นแล้ว
DRX with
แล้วอยู่
control
แม่
of
ง
the
ก็มี
wave
เว้ย
for the moment. As the cannon is going to get pulled underneath this turret, and at least Dokdom is going to be able to use that fourth shot in order to take that one down. Wasn't reloading that time.
Yeah, I think if you're using the aftershock and the shield from the Nautilus well, you are able to go for those sort of aggressive trades.
เอาจริงมันก็
But, you know, into Alistair, he's just going to sustain up from the passive.
งงอยู่เหมือน
He's not able to achieve too much.
มัน
There's
มา
that
พูดช่วงนี้เยอะ
first
เพราะว่า
strike rumble again, so just looking to farm
มัน
up
มี
gold
มันมี
from
แข่งไง
Degon where possible.
แล้วก็เราไปซ้อมทีมแล้วรู้สึกว่าแอลมันสนุกมากอะมันกลายเป็นเกมที่แบบ
Well, Pioshik moving
พอ
over
ได้
here.
พูดกันแบบ
Andal
เล่นกันเป็น
is,
ทีมแม่ง
having a
โค
little
ตร
bit
มัน
of a look around as there is Willa in the vicinity. He wants to take this Rift Scuttler, but there's the
Oh.
flash headbutt pull from Peter looking for
โดน
Willa.
ล็อ
Is
กขา
Deadly
ต่อ
Forest
ว่ะ
going to follow up? Pioshik
วิลเลอร์
now
กัน
turns
มี
onto
ปัญหา
Willa,
แต่
who
ว่า
manages to
ออก
get
มา
the
ได้
dash to get away, and then just does Ambessa things in order to be absolutely all right. Looks like
ต้อง
Pioshik
ยอมรับ
gonna be
ว่า
able to grab the Scuttle Crab, and
ปีเตอร์กับ
DRX
ดอก
did not
ดำที่
lose first blood
อยู่เคทีมาก่อนนี่คือปูล่างนี่คือไม่ปล่อยเลยอะ
Scary situation, and it's again
ปูล่าง
dealing with
มัน
the
สำ
threat
คัญ
of
มากเลย
Pantheon
ว่ะ
in the early game.
การจะ
You know, with the initial setup and also
โดนแก๊ง
just
จะ
back
หายไป
over Jhin,
ประสิทธิภาพ
he's
การ
always
โดน
gonna
แก๊ง
contribute
จะ
to the fight first with that route.
จะลดลงเลย
Um,
จะพูดไงดีวะคือเลนล่างมันจะโดนแก๊งยากขึ้นอะ
Feeling really good about that one. Peter
ถ้าสมมติเราได้ปูล่างอะ
as Dokdom also good accuracy on those mystic shots from Jiu.
เพราะว่าบางทีแบบเขาเดินเสร็จเขาก็ไม่อยากที่จะแบบ
Yeah, so down,
เดิน
down
ผ่าน
some
ด้าน
that's
ล่าง
gonna
เงี้ย
really
เพราะมันมีหวาด
fragile
เขาจะเดินผ่านต
position.
รงกลางแล้วพอมันมีปูอยู่มันก็จะแบบ
Managed to get the cannon down.
การโด
I
น
was a
แก๊ง
little
มัน
bit
จะ
worried.
น้อยลง
If Andal connects, it could just be kill threat. If Jiu lands all his skills,
ฝั่งไหนโอเคครับเกมนี้
Play really on the defensive in this position. Should be a play potentially in this situation too now. Maybe not in this wave.
Yeah, Mystic Shots connecting, and another one there. Geo actually having a pretty good day here. As Dr. Only a
เอา
couple
ตรงๆ
more.
นะฝั่ง DNS แบบดาเมจต้นเกมโคตรเยอะเลย
Like you were talking about as Rich, not gonna
แบบ
quite
เย
get
อะ
the
มาก
numbers,
อ่ะถ้าทำได้
but
ก็
he's
คือ
gonna be, I guess,
ที่ว่า
all right for the moment. Has built a null magic mantle for himself, which is helping
น่าจะ
him frame
ได้
spitters, but Dudu
ยัน
having
จ
a
บ
very
เก
good
ม
time. And is actually ahead by an entire wave right now.
คือถ้าเกิดมาแบบ
There's
แนว
teleport back from Rich, but there's no cannon in this wave, so they actually miss a couple of melees as he
เลน
teleports
คือ
his
ผ่านไป
way
สัก
up there.
10 กว่านาที 15 นาทีอย่างเงี้ยแล้วทุกอย่างมันยังโอเคอยู่มันยังไม่แตกพ่าย DNS แบบไม่ระเบิดอ่ะแล้วได้ไปเล่นกลางเกมอ่ะพี่ว่าโหด
Zandil thinking about going for something, but doesn't have his flash. Level 6.
ถ้าจะให้ดีกว่านั้นถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าแพดดิออนเก็บได้เรื่อยๆด้วยมันยิ่งดีเลย
Yeah. Sort of like it's all
แต่พี่ก็ยังไม่รู้ว่าเมื่อก่อนอ่ะไอแอลเวลาเปิดไมค์ได้อ่ะมัน
silly at some point.
Yeah, waiting for it.
Now it might happen right now as Pioshik dives in. Willer is in the vicinity.
มันเป็นยังไงคนเขาจัดหนักกันหรืออย่างไรหรือเป็นยังไงอันนี้ไม่รู้เลยปีเตอร์จะตายโดนฟาดไปแม่แต่ฟาดเมื่อกี้ไปโดนเปียวซิกก่อนคือถ้าฟาดถ้ามันโดนตัวแบบตัวคนเดียวอ่ะมันจะแรงมาก
Yeah, a lot of cooldowns from DNS just dumped into the Nautilus, and it gave Willis so much free reign there in that fight. Ambassador able to get a lot of damage down in return, made things a little scary.
Yeah, Dr. and Peter now underneath this turret with a little bit of respite, but Gio going to go back home, see whether he can collect himself a sheen or something like that on this particular back.
Level 6 going to come in soon for Yoshik here, so once that ult's available, you know, it's not just the fact that you have all that global pressure, you also get the free armor pen with it.
ถ้าเมื่อกี้มันโดนแบบตัวแรกเป็นปีเตอร์
is now Willis
แรง
Yeah.
Is what it looks like.
I mean, you have an Ezreal, why not?
Yep.
น่าจะคุยรู้เรื่องนะแค่แรงบนๆนะ
Does have a wave to deal with now. Arcane shifted, I believe, to pick up one of
แต่
the
ผมว่า
minions
รี
that
พอร์ต
was
น่า
falling
จะ
down,
โหดขึ้น
judging
ป้า
by the minions
ถ้า
that has
เปิด
anything
ไม
to
ค์
do
ได้
with it.
เนี่ย
DNS moving up to about a 200 gold lead just based on how these lanes are doing, and I imagine that is almost all Dudu, who is doing the money printer thing, but is also ahead by about a wave. But Rich obviously is just happy wearing a cape and building stuff and all that sort of stuff here towards the top side.
He's getting pressured out a good amount though. So,
ทำไมเขาดูมาเล่นเลนเจอออนแล้วมันเล่นดูสบายจังวะ
Getting chunked out, and he doesn't have TP.
เพราะว่าลูน
Unless
เขียว
he can
เหรอ
find a reset, he's just not going to be of any real use if they try and set up for the grubs. Might have to give that over if DNS opt to contest it.
ช้านสงสัยอ่ะ
Gio and Andal back to it here towards the bottom side as Andal has decided to join his other AD carry that is an Ambessa. First Drake going to be a mountain, so that is not going to be the soul. How are we feeling about the Chemtech scenario here? Orcs, do you think that you'll be able to pay enough attention to guarantee that we do not get a Chemtech soul, or is it doomed?
I'll do my best.
All right. I'm going to try my very best to get us a Cloud Soul. That's what I'm going to do.
I'd like a cloud.
I like zipping around the map.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of Cloud Soul value, I guess. Like, there's not those,
มันจะรำคาญปีหน่อย
champions
สิ
that
พี่
feel really good with it.
พี่ว่า
Yeah.
ระบบมีดีกว่าไม่มีครับ
It's just like the
มีแล้วเราไม่ชอบปิด
it's
ได้
okay. It's
แต่ถ้ามันไม่มีเราคนที่แบบ
Yeah.
อยากใช้แม่งไม่มีอ่ะ เออ
I do think obviously Compia Mountain. I mean, Infernal Soul pretty big. Hextech's always
มี
crazy.
แล้วก็
Ocean.
ไม่พอใจก็แค่ปิด
Worst Ocean game. It's honestly not even the
ใคร
worst
ที่
Chemtech
รู้สึกว่ามันก็ใช้ได้
for,
เป็น
like,
เครื่องมือที่ดี
DRX
ก็
with,
เปิด
like,
ไว้แล้วก็ใช้
Ambessa or
ใครที่แบบรู้สึกว่ามันน่ารำคาญก็แค่ปิด
Maybe
มันก็
Chemtech would actually be the
ชิว
dream.
ๆแต่ว่าเราก็จะสัมผัสได้ถึงความที่มันแตกต่าง
Let's not
เรื่อง
go
ของ
that
คนที่
far.
ถ้าสมมติทีมที่มันใช้แล้วใช้งานได้อย่าง
Maybe it's time for justice
แบบ
for Chemtech Soul.
โอเคใช้แบบ
No, I don't think so.
It's not
ไม่ทะเลาะกันนะแล้วใช้เป็นงานดีๆอะ มันจะมีความแตกต่างเลยครับ
Make sure that we're not getting there. That's all right. Rich, pretty happy as he's made his way back up there. He is still 10 CS
เพราะ
behind.
ถ้าเราปิด
but now it's
เอา
safe.
ง่ายๆนะ
So he's
แค่ตอนเนี้ยเราปิดแบบข้อความทุกอย่างใครส่งข้อความไม่ได้ alert ไม่ได้
Keel,
ปิดอ่ะ
DRX are
เราแทบไม่รู้เลยว่าเพื่อนอยาก
extraordinary.
ทำอะไร
You know, point out that
เราต้อง
DNS
สังเกตจากเพื่อนเดินไปไหน
can't
หรือ
build
เอง
badly
แบบ
or anything
ด้วยตัว
like
เอง
that,
เลย
but it's
มันก็เลยรู้สึกว่า บางที
and
พี่ก็รู้สึกว่าปิดไปแล้วแม่งแบบ
very
ไม่ค่อยดีเลยว่ะ
later on into the
Yeah.
game.
คือช็อตนี้เราเดินไปกลางแต่ว่าเพื่อนแบบ
Nautilus as well.
ทั้งหมดอะเดินไปด้าน
So
ซ้ายหมด
DNS very happy that they can
อ้าว
pick
เรา
up
ก็
this
เฮ้ยมัน
first
ไปทำอะไรกัน
round
วะ
because I think Drakes are going
อ๋อ
to be
มันติ๊กว่า
really
มันจะไป
important
แอบตรง
for
นี้
this
กันจะ
opposition
ไปดักนี้
to keep
อ้าว
themselves
เราไม่รู้ว่าเราไม่ได้เปิด
Yeah, so opting to go for the Drake instead
Like,
of going for the grubs. I mean,
yeah,
Rich
yeah.
did get that recall off, so he was healthy anyway, but Part hasn't.
แปลว่าพี่จะร้อน
I think
ง่าย
it
ขึ้น
feels
ใช่ไหมครับ
bad to pick up a mountain and then see the hex tech
ไม่รู้
after.
ไม่เคย
Yeah,
ไม่รู้
true.
ว่าคืออะไรด้วย
I
ซ้
think in terms of the
ำแต่ตอนเล่น
souls
ดอท
might
ก็
be setting
ก็
up
ก็
for it,
คุย
doesn't
ป
feel
ปกติ
too
แบบ
positive.
It means
ไม่
that
ได้
Kentech
อะไรนะเว้ย
or Cloud are both available though, so I'm very happy about that. We'll have to see exactly which one.
คือ
it's going to
พี่
be.
ว่าดอทอะ
Still a gamble.
I don't know why
มั
I'm
น
so
มัน
enthusiastic about the Chemtech angle.
มัน
That's weird. Maybe I've been
มันมี
I've been
วิธี
playing
ที่จะ
a
เล่น
little
ได้
too
อะ
much Zorn in
สมมติว่า
TFT.
คุณเล่นเลนบน
You
อย่างเงี้
know,
ย
I've
ถ้า
just
ถ้า
got
คุณ
that
แบบ
sort of like
ไม่ค่อยดีหน่อย
Chemtech
อาการไม่ดีคุณก็อาจจะมี
Anyway,
ที่แบบฟื้นที่ฟาร์ม
Rich
อะไรเงี้ย
versus Dudu
แต่
is
แอลไม่มี
not
เลยอะ
exactly the lane that we really want to be watching
แอล
for
คุณตายไป
action's
ทั้ง
sake,
3-4 ตัว
but that
คุณ
really
กลับ
does
มา
tell you,
หาเขาเรื่อย
what point in the game we're at. We're at the bro and brew.
It's nice.
ๆ กลับมาโดน
You
เรื่
get
อย
to see the first strike proc, and you get the nice
อยู่ที่
little
ป้อมก็โดน
noise
ที่
it
ป้อม
makes when he gets the
True.
gold cash in. That's something at least.
ๆ มันเลยมีความกดดันเยอะไง
Gio is
เวลา
just
สมม
happily
ติว่าเราเล่น
watching these minions go down.
ดอทแล้วเราแบบ
As Peter taking a bit of
เอ๊ะ
damage.
สู้ไม่ได้
There's
เรา
another
ไป
very
ฟาร์ม
nice
เงี้ย
one. True shot barrage.
เพื่อน
A lot of
เพื่อนบอกว่า
value here is
แบบตายเยอะจังกู
He
ว่า
may
ไม่เป็นไรหรอก
actually
เดี๋ยว
have
กูมาฟาร์มได้
but
ชิว
still in a little
ๆก็ยัง
bit
ได้
of
เล่น
trouble, has to use the heal
แต่
at the
แอลเนี่ย
same
แบบ
time.
เฮ้ยทำไมมึงตายเยอะจังวะเรากดดันในเลนอยู่แล้วเราเซ็งอยู่ในเลนอยู่แล้วไอ้เหี้ย
There's the curtain call.
เลนก็แทบจะไม่ได้มิน
Takes
เนี่ยน
up
เล
one
ย
of
อะ
them. Let's see whether they can get the side
แล้ว
step
มี
off
คน
as
มา
he
พิมพ์
holds
ห
the
รือมี
last
คนมา
bullet
งิ่ง
and
งิ่ง
misses
งิ่ง
onto
ก็
the
ยิ่งแบบว่า
PSV. So Dr. not
มันก็
exactly finding a
ก็
lot
ยิ่ง
of
ร้อน
joy,
ไง
but he is looking very healthy. Just Peter a little worse for wear.
Yeah, and I think DRX feeling pretty good about that. Managing to get barrier and heal from the side of DNS.
Oh, that's a bit of a
Good.
cheeky stop.
Pressure here. Also, that wood. Do you see that wood that's outside the brush, by the way?
Yeah, little unfortunate. Not
Little-
getting
แต่
a
พี่
lot
เล่น
of
วาลา
work
ท็อป
done.
ไม่ได้แล้วที่แบบนี้โดนบูทไม่ใส่ทั้งเกมแน่
Oh dear.
Jiwoo's gonna clear.
Scara would be so proud of that ward. He would be so.
Okay,
เอาจริง
At least
ไม่รู้
it's
ว่า
gone.
ว่าจะเป็นยังไงอะ
It
อันนี้แม่ง
Yeah.
เป็นอะไรที่
It's just sitting in Jiw's wallet now, and it's a little keepsake.
Yeah.
ตื่นมาพร้อมกับ
This silly
เอ้ย
little ward that did
มันมีอย่างนี้ด้วยเหรอวะ
Oh dear. Well, UCal, he just clearing waves in the mid lane.
มีคลิปวาลา
3
ท็อป
minutes
ไหมจริง
on
ๆ คลิป
any
YouTube วา
sort
ลา
of
ท็อป
neutral
มีนะ
objective turning up, so there is no reason to fight right now.
วันนี้ก็
But
มีคลิป
we
ลงอี
might
กคลิป
just
หนึ่ง
be
เอ้ย
setting up
เมื่อวานลงไปแล้วในคลิปวาลา
for
ท็อ
a
ป
random scuttle team fight. There's a hook connecting somehow. That was a weird angle as Pyoshik dashing in, but Willer is on his way out there, so buffers it to avoid any sort of misposition. And DNS will back away, as do DRX. So things just completely even, and I'm just waiting for some stuff to happen. I think if like Double Dragon comes through for DNS, then maybe we could talk about
เล่น
them
เบซ่าเวลา
actually
อัน
having a
ติ
real
พลาดนี่มัน
advantage. But so far,
กูดาว
nothing
นาน
for
มา
either
ก
side has really put anyone in the lead, as now Peter might be out of position. Remember, does have his ultimate back off cooldown now. But that's an
Wow.
average divide. They look for Pyoshik. It's
Pyoshik
kind of a miss,
ไปยืนด้อมๆมองๆกันได้
situation
ยังไงวะ
there
น่ะ
from Willer's ultimate, but it doesn't matter. That is going to be a
โอ้แย่
trade
แล้ว
as Yukal goes down.
วาร์ปมากันหมด
But so
แต่ว่า
does
ตรงนี้
Pyoshik.
มันไฟ
Another
มัน
anchor comes in, but it's great pulverize
ได้ปะ
there from Peter as
อุ้ย
the
ออน
Orn
มานะ
has turned up, and Rich is going to throw a ram at the cow
Equalizer
and then get
ส่วน
himself
ออนเหมือนกัน
out
ค
of
รับ
there. Doesn't quite find it, but it's a
ล็อก
good
ขาต้อง
flash
แฟดออก
there
ก็
from
ตามแล้วผม
Peter.
อย่างงี้
Now
ตาม
Dudu
ต่อย
with a flamethrower in a
Wow,
tree. He's just gonna
Dudu
take out
ครับ
the Orn, and flash out there from Willer gets him over the wall. DNS
กลายเป็นว่าโด่งดังของ Closer ได้ลำเลียงดาเมจ
700 gold lead.
I just love how you were setting up like there's no reason
คือดาเมจ
to
มันต้น
fight
เกม
right
มันดี
now.
กว่า
They don't need to fight.
Yeah,
Of course they will.
that was
though.
when they were gonna. I needed some action, and
Yeah.
I knew that that was the only way to get it.
I want you to kind of look at what they use on the Pantheon, on Goshik. So there's Azirol, there's Nautilus ult, there's Ambessa ult.
And you
And it
got
still
flashed
took-
into the shockwave.
Yes,
as
it
well.
still takes a lot of time to kill him, and they trade 1 for 1. And they've been
กลางโล่ไม่แย่
a
นะ
lot of their
ยิงกลางโล่
controls
เราดา
to
เมจได้
take
เย
him
อะเลย
out.
ตะกี้
Look how low Andal and Willa are
Yo,
when
see.
Rich actually arrives. He pops all his cooldowns, but has no follow-up. And look how healthy Dudu Closer and Dokdam are. So, honestly, the only thing I'll say about this is Dokdam, his ult just came up a little bit late. If his ult was up sooner, if he had mana sooner, that could have been a lot worse for DRX. That was way too many tools blown on that Pantheon. They were getting antsy. I think we could tell.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even pulling the
รวย
trigger. It
มาก
was
ลัมโบ้
three different people
1,300 แล้ว
pulling the trigger at the same time.
มีแคชแบ็กด้วยไง มันก็ซื้อของแล้วก็ได้เงินกลับ
Definitely. So
I think if UCal had have actually survived, got out of that shockwave, and not just died at the very beginning of the fight, could have been a different story. Has a lot of consistent damage on this Azir.
I think also if they just held some of their tools, you know, if they hadn't, they don't need to use the Ambessa ult and the Nautilus ult. Pick one.
and maybe waiting for Rich to be there as well towards the beginning. I think when you can capitalize on the Ram, have a little bit of CC down beforehand to get those extra knockups, create that bounce house. These are sort of the things that DRX is going to be looking for. So a little bit suboptimal, but great for DNS to start this game off. They now have about 1,000 gold lead. Rich with his Rooker though completed, and so he's starting to care less and less about what this Rumble is doing.
ทำไมลัมโบ้มันสู้ได้วะ
The Andrews there for Dudu, so a big spike
มันไม่
in,
ควรจะ
but
เป็นอย่างนั้นป่ะ
it's
วะ
so hard to really have pressure in this match.
เอาจริงๆ
push
แบบ
them in, they'll have that sort of pressure, but it's hard to really
อาจจะเป็นเพราะว่าหลบ
just
คิว
break
ได้
through
เว้ย
that shield again and again at this point.
Kill threat is a more difficult one to get towards, as Pureshik going to look to try and get Willer out of here, but Banana Brush is going to be under DRX's control.
ช่วงนี้ตัวเอ็มเบซ่านี่โดนแบนในแรงค์เยอะมาก มีแต่คนแบนแล้วโอ้ยกมาสวยยกโดนได้ไงวะ
They really want to engage on to the Pantheon as Emperor's Divide is avoided by the Orianna, but now Closer is zoned away.
แต่ว่าได้ไล่โคเซอร์นะ Emperor Divide เวลาเขาแฟดออกครับตรงนี้ปีเตอร์วิลเลอร์ไปเลยว่ะจีควอไลเซอร์ยัดไปครับจีวูกำลังหนีอยู่จีวูมันมีวัวตามแล้ววัวยกต่อยแล้วลิชไม่ได้มา DRX ตายไป4 Engage แรกที่ว่าสวยอยู่นะแต่ว่ามันแค่แบบเขาแฟกไงตรงนี้มันก็ได้เอ็มเบซ่าแบบอันตีแบบแต่มันก็ไม่ได้แหละวิลเลอร์ก็ครึ่งหลอดแล้วด้วยไม่พร้อมสู้ครับแล้วยูแคลก็โดนป้อมตีมันตายไปเลยกลับไม่ได้แล้วไง
And it goes so much worse. This is how it could have gone last fight if he had a good ult setup. This time he does, and yeah, they get decimated. So, didn't learn from the last
แบบนี้ DNS น่าจะ
DRX. DNS did.
กุมชัยชนะแล้ว
They had the general available, and they immediately punished them.
เพราะว่ามันนอกจากมันจะผ่านทุกอย่างแล้วยังได้ค่อยๆฆ่าเรื่อยๆด้วย
Not the worst. As now looking for a Rift Herald as well. DNS really starting to run away with this game now.
Yeah, this is a big goal lead.
ใช่ต้นเกมรอดมาได้ก็
DNS wanted to be this point in the game. The early game
Snowball
was
ได้
slower. It took a bit more time for them to get online, but
แต่ว่าในลงมาตายทำไมไม่ว่ะไม่ตายว่ะจะหวดด้วยครับผมดันครับตรงนี้นาฬิกาอย่างงามครับอีควอลิเซอร์อีก8 วิเท่านั้นดูก็จะตายครับตรงนี้3 วิเกือบดูไม่ถอยเลยคือหลังจากตื่นมาจากนาฬิกายืนพ่นแบบไม่สนเลยแกก็แบบ3 วิ 2 วิ
It must have been on cooldown because there's no way he wouldn't have used it. He even tried to flash over the wall to finish them off and kind of failed the flash. So
แฟดไม่ข้ามเลยครับตะกี้มองไม่ทัน
It was 5 seconds. So unfortunately, available from the death chamber.
I think what feels even worse about this is Pantheon's nowhere near for this play. If Pantheon was in ult range, think how badly this would have gone for DRX. But Dudu plays the initial part of this play good, right? Blocks the shuffle and then goes for the flash, but gets caught in the Azir wall. He saw Andal Willer and was like, "That's 2 free kills for me right now." And ended up kind of flubbing it and it backfiring. Really unfortunate there.
โอ้โหมันห่างเยอะมากเลยนะเมื่อกี้แต่คือมันต้องเดินอีก2 ก้าวเลยต้องไปยืนติดกำแพงเลยถึงจะข้ามได้
And so that is going to mitigate that gold advantage by just a little bit. And as you can see, it's only 2.6k. It's actually gone down by about 1,000. So not the end of the world here for DRX at this point in time. I think if I was Joker and I was doing a coach comms that they love to do, he'd call up and he'd say, guys, just hold on.
เพราะว่าคอนเทสไอ้เทอร์รอไม่ได้อยู่แล้ว
As we often say, if we're trying to be the optimistic one in solo queue.
Yeah.
Now closer.
โอ้ my god โคเซอร์ตรงนี้ช็อคเวฟมารวบมาให้กับเปียวซิกสบายใจเลย
So many of the shuffles from Yukal just haven't
โอ้ย
gone well.
เม็ดเดียวเองโอ้ยหลบสวยมากโอ้โห
I mean, he had flash as well. He was confident in his mechanics. He
โอ้โหมีแฟดแต่ว่าไม่ใช้ด้วย
Yeah, the Ghost Blade coming in clutch there for the movement speed. But just, I love the confidence, right? He has the summoner. He's like, no, I dodged those.
Yeah, absolutely did.
Yeah, so well played there. Here, Yukal again goes for a shuffle onto closer, but doesn't have the backup from the team, and I guess just forgets about the existence of Pantheon. This time, you can see the difference of the
คื
play.
อคงคิดว่าดันกลับมาแล้วเอเมซ่ายกอะไรอย่างงี้ปรากฏเอเมซ่าเจอวัวไร่
Here though, they try and make a play topside. Pantheon's there, immediately shuts it down. Kind of puts in a context. We were talking about this in the pre-show. These global picks, the impact they're having.
แต่ว่าในแข่งจะไม่ได้เล่นบิวแบบในแรงเอเมซ่าในแรงมันจะแบบเล่นแบบกึ่งแบบเป็นรีตอริตี้แบบ
Yep, it's just pretty exceptional right now.
มันอยู่ฟาร์มไวแล้วก็แรงถ้าในแข่งทำอย่างนั้นก็คือพุ่งเข้าไปปุ๊บก็คือตายเลยมันบางเจี๊ยบ
You can really pick out a single target and eliminate them, and then if they turn to actually try and kill you, Aegis is so broken.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, old school Pantheon before the rework, you just thought of him as that champion who's just so useless in the late game.
Yeah.
But he does so much damage now, and there's so much like armor pen for free on his ult, like the passive armor pen.
And the damage mitigation means that he's just not that squishy.
Yeah, he scales pretty well.
เปิดอีกแล้วว่าแล้วแอนดิวไม่ใช่วัวดิคนนั้นไม่ใช่หุ่นยนต์เรียบร้อยแล้วตรงนี้เราโคเซอร์โดนยกมาโอ้ช็อคเวฟมาสวยอยู่นะก่อนตายวิลเลอร์ออกได้ไหมวิลเลอร์กำลังค่อยๆออกแต่ว่าตรงนี้ไฟเหมือนจะใช้ได้นะยูแคลแล้ววิลเลอร์ไม่ตายด้วยครับถึกจัดออนไล่อยู่ดกดำยิงอยู่เฮ้ยล็อกขากลายเป็นโดนเฮ้ยยูแคลบอกว่าถ้าเป็นโปรเพลเยอร์มันจะพุ่งไกลขนาดนี้เลยเหรอทำไมมันพุ่งไกลจังวะอาเซีย
Definitely good on him.
That was crazy. Yeah, outranging. That bullet was going to hit Yukal.
Oh, 100%.
A little bit closer.
It was underground, the good old underground, so you have no idea where the curtain call's range ends.
This was a pretty manic start to the fight.
คือโคเซอร์มีแฟตนะแต่ว่าแม่มันบางคนตายแต่แรกแล้วอะแอนดิวอะมันยื้อไปอีก1 วิอะตรงนี้ก็คือไม่ได้แฟตหลบ
in this situation
อันติเอเมซ่า
it feels like a little bit of split focus from DNS they're just not
สุดท้ายโยน E ไม่โดนวิลเลอร์ไม่ตายโคตรแซด
both quite mobile we're getting more fighting it seems
We are just straight into another fight. Yukal in a bit of trouble yet again. Man, he is just not having a great time this game. It's now him up pulverize onto Andal, and he should be set up on a silver platter for a double kill from Dom. And if I was to give any feedback, I'd probably say get it together, Yukal. That's probably where I would be in this one. He's been out of position.
DRX ทำไมบวกรัวๆจริงๆแล้วเขาหาจับครับเพื่อจะเล่นมังกรแต่ว่ากลายเป็นว่าฝั่งของ DNS เขาทำเวฟบนแล้วเวฟกลางเท่าๆกันเขาไม่ทำเวฟล่างหมดคือจะมาดักจับข้างล่างแล้วเจอเขาแบบมาทั้งคณะก็เรียบร้อยเลยสู้ไม่ได้
kind of ignore him and then deal with him at the end of the fight, right? The CC is a big problem, of course, but if everyone else dies first, it's
คือตอนนี้ DRX ต้องหาแบบเหมือนหนูอะหาแบบหาจับเล่นๆอะไรอย่างงี้
Oh, he just wandered.
Yeah.
It's another surprise Pantheon scenario.
I think it's one of these situations where you're playing as Z, you feel so safe because you have that mobility, but the combo from Peter
คือ
intros is
อันนี้
dashed
พี่ว่าไม่ได้หาจับนะอันนี้มันเขาเรียกว่าไงมันต้องทำล่างออกคือมัน3 เลนมันดันไปแล้ว1ตรงกลางเท่ากันใช่ป่ะมันต้องดันล่างคืนไงแต่ว่าคือแค่มายืนอยู่ก็เจอวัวก็คือวัวแม่งตันคือเพียวซิกลงเลย
can start doling out some of these ornaments to his teammates, which is going to be important. Very close to level 15 as well. And so we could have, you know, the Infinity Force and stuff like that looking pretty good there. Isn't it? It's Trinity Fusion or something like that.
ดูชิ้น2เป็นนาฬิกาเลยเพราะว่าขึ้นอัมกัดมาแล้วก็เลยขึ้นเลยแล้วกันได้เงินคืน
Oh no, it's not. No, I disagree. I know that's what they did. That's because they did not want to consult me or I guess LS because we were the ones that were talking about ornaments way too much back in the day. They didn't want to consult us on all of the names, and so therefore they just decided not to actually put the official names down. They still exist. They're just not written in the game because I think maybe we missed the email was in junk or something like that. We got to get it out. Now Andal is potentially caught out of by potentially I mean he's very caught out of position. The curtains are called.
เรียบร้อยบาลอน
Yeah. Hey, Rich
ต้อ
is
งรีบ
still
มานะ
strong,
นี่
right?
There you go.
That's relevant.
The Baron is probably gone.
Okay, well, they're going to TP in, they're going to contest this.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage also gets a lot of value.
I mean, Baron takes a long time, and it is going to start chunking people out. They have Rich here. He's tanky to move in, so
เอ้ย
they move off
เปิด
the
หลอกๆครับ
Baron.
Well, there is an
Equalizer
equalizer that goes
พร้อมกับ
down. Pure
แพ
Shot
ดิ
gets
ออน
here as well, but we're
โล
flashing.
มา
And
สโลโดน
is the
เรียบร้อย
opportunity
อุ๊ย
back? Yes, it is. Decent position
เคน
there, but
ชิปเหรอ
unfortunately, the orb makes its way over the wall, and there is a dead
พยายามจะโดด
carry.
ข้าม
This
แล้ว
could
จิ
be
ว
another
นั่นคือ
opportunity for a Baron. As you can at
Israel
least has a Shadow Flame that's a bit more upgraded.
ทั้งแฟดทั้งโดด2 รอบแล้วกูยังไม่รอดอ่ะ
Jiu is taking a bit of a dirt nap.
Okay, well, hit me with it. What's the upgraded Shadow Flame called?
It's Shadow Inferno.
Oh.
It's also the name of my first pop punk album. Pretty sure. Or my magic show.
Is that lost media? I would love to listen to it.
Yeah. Shadow Inferno.
Shadow Inferno
Okay.
เขาจำชื่อได้เหรอเขาจำชื่อ Shadow Flame Upgrade ได้วะ
What's the Spirit of Sojin going to be? I have
เรื่อง
absolutely
จริง
no
เหรอเนี่ย
idea.
มัน
I
ชื่อ
don't think
Shadow
LS and I
Inferno
really
เหรอ
figured that one out.
That let's be honest.
มันไม่มีแล้วไง เมื่อก่อนมันจะชื่อของ Masterwork มันจะแบบมีชื่อเป็นยูนิคเลยไง แต่ว่าอันนี้
We've
มัน
got some time yet.
เขาปรับใหม่ละ เป็น
hopefully.
แค่
Maybe
Masterwork
Black
เฉ
Cleaver
ย
is in a better position, and we can do the Obsidian Cleaver.
That's what you're hoping for.
Officially,
But probably presumably going to upgrade Jiwoo first, so maybe you're safe for a bit longer anyway.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. Will it taken out his Gromp though, and
คอม
it's a
DNS นี่มันคอม
5,000
เดียวกับ
gold
ที่
lead,
เฟก
and
ตบ
the
T1 ป่ะ
is
คือ
there
มัน
for
มัน
DNS.
Yeah.
They're in so
Takluz
much control of this game. This is going to be a real
แพ
tough
ดิออน
one.
แล้วก็
DRX
เล่นกับ
find an
ตัว
angle
ที่แบบ
on.
follow
And
up
maybe
ก็
they'll just have to talk to themselves about, oh, but our
แล้วก็
ornaments are
เล่นกับ
mitigating
ตัวที่
so
แบบ
much of this gold advantage
จับให้
because they
แพดิออนลง
represent so much money's worth of stats. Haha. And I just don't know whether that's going to
แต่
work.
ว่าจริงๆ
If
แล้ว
DRX continue to have their
3
members
ตัว
be
ก็
out of position at the beginning of
ตรง
these
ๆเลย
team fights. Like, their
ก็เป็น
composition, it's so
แพดิออน
good in front to back, but don't
ลัมโบแล้วก็โอเลียนา
That's what you gotta do.
How much gold value do you lose if your Azir just dies at the start of every fight? You know, you have to factor that in when you're calculating these things. It's like, oh, plus 1,000 for each ornament, minus, 9,000, 10. How much is it? Like 11,000 maybe at this point for Yukal being dead? Maybe not even that. He doesn't have that many items. So.
Oh, by the way, from chat.
มันเล่นได้หลายแบบว่ะ คืออาจจะเป็นซับที่เปิดแล้วแพดิออนลงหรือเป็นซับที่แบบ
Beautiful. I
คือ
love that.
Honestly, I'm
ซับ
kind of
เลี้ยง
sad Peter's not on the team
เล่น
we
กับ
want now. 'Cause
ADC แบบ
already a Bandle
เก่ง
Piper.
Where is the Bandle Pipes?
ๆ แล้วพอเขาเปิดก็
And
แพดิ
Rich
ออน
was
ลง
our
มา
OG Bandle Piper, was he not? He was. He was the first one to. I know it was on his Cassante. Now Duda could be in a little bit of trouble. And does have the equalizer down, and now the ram comes on through. Rich seeing what he can get done here. There's the public execution to bring Willa back in. Shockwave connects onto 2 though, and DRX, I think they're running out of time. As Doctor goes up, the Empress Divide goes entirely wide after the flash.
Oh my god, Yukal.
Yukal immediately dies. Oh, it's just not the best days. Now Pyoshik going to dive on top, and I think that's all she wrote on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Triple here for Doctor. And DNS, I think,
คือ
may have just broken the
แค่แพดิออนสตันน่ะ
back.
แม่งคือแบบ
not looking good. Trying to find a
ยู
play
แคล
on
แม่ง
Dudu, and
ยื
you
น
know
นิ่ง
what?
เลย
I think it kind of makes sense. You're trying to
ไอ้
find
ตรงเนี้ย
a
คือ
sort of
มันมี
pick
ซอนย่า
onto
นะ
someone before the
หรือ
start
อาจ
of
จะ
the
คู
fight.
ดาว
Promise
ไม่มั่นใจอะ
one, and then
ด้าน
Bester
ซ้ายนี่เขาก็งัดกันมานะ
a pretty bulky
แต่ว่า
rumble, and you're in the
เฮลซิก
enemy
ไม่
jungle,
ตาย
so of course they're gonna get there pretty quickly.
แล้วก็ออกมายืนตรงนี้ครับกำลังจะวาร์ปกลับบ้านแล้วยูแคลมาพอดีก็ตันตึ้งจิ้มตายเลย และนัด4พอดี
I mean, yeah, he maybe does manage to kill Doctam in this situation at best, but he's dead anyway. I just feel like he keeps going for these plays, and he just keeps ending up in bad situations. He had to seek his arm guard, didn't get a chance to use it there. The Azir just not working out.
It's just it's not really providing what it needs to. However, on the other side, this Jhin is really working.
Yeah.
Which is
จิน
confusing
ตอน
and
นี้วิ่งเร็ว
upsetting me.
มาก แล้วก็แรงมาก
Part of it is he didn't build rapid fire second.
Oh, that's
ไม่ลั่นนาฬิกาแบบ
Yeah, but he has more damage items before that.
คิดว่าแบบจังหวะแบบโดนหม่งลั่นแน่ จังหวะกำลังจะโดนยกอะไรลั่นแน่ ไม่กดสักรอบอะแล้วก็มีใช้ในไฟหน้าเลย
in team fights, and that's working out very effectively.
Yep. Also, Rich didn't really have armor until he bought that chain vest. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
So definitely a contributing factor.
เรียวคือจนมากอุ้ย
Speaking of Rich,
Oh.
Mia with the headbutt, that was beautiful.
ปีเตอร์ครับ
He
ตัด
may still die, but he's got an unbreakable will.
โอ้
And
โห
that is going to keep
กด
him
อันตี
alive.
มาตรง
No
นี้มาแล้ว
polarizer
ดู
as well.
โอ้โห
Equalizer
ลง
goes down. Willer is dead.
แล้ว
Willer
รวบ
gets out of that one as the Emperor's Demise
ละลายครับผม
great for Yukao does next to nothing. The shockwave so good out of closer, and DRX just lose 3 in the blink of an
โอ้ย
eye. And
มา
now Pyoshik is
เฟียวซิก
looking for
จึก
even
จึกจึก
more.
จึก
Down will go
โอ้โห
Jiu. And is that going to be the ace? They save Rich till last because he takes the longest time. And Jiu has an endless hunger, but unfortunately, I think he's still going to be hungry as he may not even get
บา
out
เลีย
of the
ก็
death
ไม่มี
chamber
ผล
before the
อะไรครั
Nexus
บแต่เวฟไม่ค่อย
explodes.
มีว่ะ
DNS looking to break open the base.
And honestly, at this point, DRX, the game looks pretty doomed. 13,000 gold disadvantage, the Ocean Soul in pocket as well, pushing with the Baron. They should be able to be up in time.
แต่จบไม่ได้นะแค่
before the
อิน
game
ที
ends, but I'm not sure they can really
ถ้า
do
เกิด
too
จ
much
บ
to prevent
พี่ว่า
it.
เฮ้ยแต่ว่าจะ
DNS
สู้อีกรอบ
look
เหร
to
อ
try and finish now or back off and play it
โอ้
safe.
จะ
Looks
สู้
like
อีกรอบ
they'll
เล
just
ย
push in.
Is there an Andal Penta angle? That's what we've got to see. But I don't think so. As
แต่อันติ
Yukao
แบ
has
บไม่
respawned,
ค่อย
Hook
มี
is
กัน
going
แล้ว
to
นะ
connect
แต่ว่าเขาก็ไม่มีอันติ
there
เหมือน
on
กัน
to Dudu, but they're focusing down the Nexus turrets, and Andal dies as an afterthought. Willer is trying to deal with these minions as best he can, as now Peter just wandering towards the fountain and doesn't seem
จ
too
บได้ค
worried.
รับ
Another
จบแบบ
shockwave
ส
going
บาย
to
เลย
connect. The pigeon dies
คื
on
อ
the fountain. The
สู้
counter
2
is
รอบ
down
ได้
as
เลย
well, but it does
ไม่
not
ไม่ส
matter.
น
The Nexus will fall, and DNS move up 1-0.
ไม่มีอันติก็ไม่ต้องใช้
I think so many of the plays in this game were aggressive plays from DRX when honestly they didn't need to be. But also, Yukao on the Azir was not it. Fortunately, he is fearless. We won't have to see him on that again. And Andal not really having a good game when he's been one of the star players for this DRX lineup. So rough from them, but DNS not missing a beat, right? No. Draft, I think, had a lot of strengths to it.
เฮ้ยมีใครที่แบบเล่นโยเนเก่งๆป่ะขอ1-1ให้หน่อยดิ1-1โยเนให้หน่อยดิมีใครโยเนเก่งๆป่ะในแชทอย่าง1-1แบบเล่นวาระแล้ว1-1อ่ะแบบว่าเล่นสักประมาณ10 นาทีอะไรเงี้ย5 นาทีจะลองบิวที่แบบว่าเอาไว้เจอมีป่ะวะไม่เคยเล่นโอ้โหเต็งเลยวะตัวละ1,000ได้นะโอ้โหโคตรไปหรือเปล่าไม่มีแล้ววะมีใครป่ะวะบางจากอีสปอร์ต1-1หน่อยเล่นโยเนะได้ปะมาเจอวาลาสพี่ไอบานสวรรค์อยู่วะเอาตัวอะไรไปเจอนะวาลาสมา10 นาทีเล่นแบบเลนเลยไหวปะวะลองดูคือเราใช้เฟสลัสหนีตอนที่เขาเข้า E เข้ามาแต่ถ้าเขาอันติเข้ามา เราใช้เอ็กซอร์ยัดนั่นคือแนวคิด
กสิกรติ้ง 3,000
วิจัยวาระรัวๆเลย
เฮ้ย
นะ
ไม่
พี่
อันนี้เป็นแบบในหัวพี่แบบว่าเฮ้ยมันต้องสู้ยังไงวะ แต่ว่าปัญหาคือเวลาไอ้เฟรลัชมันโดนเนื้อมาเยอะดิ
Minions have spawned.
ไม่รู้จะไหวหรือเปล่าพี่ไม่คิดว่าเขาจะต่อยเฟรลัชหมดเหรอพี่ไม่รู้อะอันนี้คือพี่ลองอยู่นะเอ้ยเดี๋ยวนี้ไม่มีคำว่าสเปซงี้แล้วเหรอ
อ้าวเรย์เข้ามาใครเชียร์แต่ผมลงอยู่ได้1,000
แต่แบบนี้มันก็ไม่ make sense นะเพราะว่าพี่เพราะว่าพี่ไม่เจอจังเกิลเนาะร้อนชิบหายเลยโอ้ไม่ได้ลดอีกเฟรลัสไม่ได้ใช้แล้วว่ะน้องต้องเลเวลเยอะวันนี้แต่ว่าเราไม่ตายถือว่ายังไม่ได้แย่มากเฟดรับพี่เด้งแล้วอ่ะ
ไม่เก่งยังขนาดนี้ถ้าเจอเก่งจะขนาดไหนเนี่ย บ้าตัวแมงบ้าบอ
พี่ไม่รู้ว่าเฟดรับไว้ทำไมแต่เขาหกก่อนอะวิ่ง คิววินได้แค่นี้ความเร็วมันแค่นี้จริงเหรอ
พี่กิฟต์ครับ
มันโดนเนิร์ฟมันน้อยมากอ่ะ
early, but they couldn't decide if they were going to go for a scaling play it slow draft or if they were going to go for a hard engage draft with the front and the end of this draft being the Ambessa and the Nautilus.
I mean, for me, if you're on the blue side, you have the advantage that you can pick the first, and then the red side, the second pick should pick up something else.
That's good. That's good.
I feel like DNS, they just got everything. Like they got Rumble for the first pick, and then follow up with the Pantheon Oriana. That's kind of illegal. So I thought DRX just couldn't really
มัน
do
ต้อง
much.
เอาอะไรไปสู้อ่ะ
You know, I think the fear though was that Andal got his hands on the Nautilus, and he has been playing
KDX
really
แท็ก
well
มัน
with
ยิง
it
ไม่
in
ทันเลย
recent
ต้อง
history.
รี
But
โต้
even though we're showing this one at 11
LOL
minutes,
ยังมี
they
ไม้
tried to flip the game at 3 minutes at the first
ทำไม
battle
ใจ
cry.
โปร
ไม่
ป่ะ
เคยมี
อาจจะต้องเป็นโปรเหมือนกันคิดว่าอาจจะเป็น
I
คอม
mean,
เม
I
น
think
แล้ว
this
โปร
is
ไป
great
เรื่อย
because
ๆ
they have the bot priority with the Ezreal and Nautilus, but the issue is, why do you ever have to use Ambessa ulti like this? And I think
He missed it also.
yeah, I mean, he also missed it. And I think that's the issue afterwards because you cannot fight back.
It seems the obvious way they wanted to play this composition was just pick, even though it's Azir. They don't have to play it that way. They saw the one target that was picked by
เฮลเบดไปเลยไหมลองแล้ว
But Wheeler could have also
Hellblade
just
มัน
dashed towards him.
แอทสปีดอยู่แค่80อะมันก็ไม่ได้เร็วมากอะ
And commits further while the rest of his team is already
มันก็
leading.
ตี
It was super disjointed. No pun intended.
Yeah,
ปัญหา
this is
คือ
the next one as well,
มันไม่ใช่
but
ช็อตเทร
you
ดเว้ย
ulti
เล่นกับโยเนีย
Pantheon and
ปัญหา
Nautilus
คือมัน
cannot even
คือ
follow
ลอง
up.
เทรด
Watch Wheeler's health.
Yeah,
เป็นลองเทรดที่ใช้สเปลไม่ได้
2/3 of your health bar.
great flash by closer
อ่ะ
right
ถ้าเกิด
there
สมมติว่ามัน
as well.
พุ่ง
Like,
E เข้ามา
even
อย่างเงี้ย
Yukol tried to look up for the
มัน
target,
E เข้ามา
but they
ปุ๊บอะมันจะลองเทรดกับเราอะ
target down,
เราไม่มีอะไร
and after
ซีซี
that,
มันเลย
พี่
เว้ย
ไม่ลองเป็น
just
the
so
tall
easier
tan ล่ะ
for,
พี่
DNS right
แล้ว
ใช่
เปลี่ย
ถ้าเกิด
น
สมมุติ
สาย
ว่า
เป็น
a lot
on
of
hit
reaching,
tan
which
ถ้า
kind of
พี่
felt
ยิงไม่ทัน
like what you guys brought up. It's not what the comp wants. and
นั่นไงก็เลยเป็นก็เลยแบบ
it
ตอน
goes
นี้
back
มี
to
2 ช้อย
the Ambessa pick. It's like,
คือถ้าลองเทรดอะ
you know, like if you're
คือถ้ามัน
too far
E เข้ามา
back,
ปุ๊บ
if
อะ
it's front to back,
เรา
it's a lot
ใช้สเปลปุ๊บอะ
easier
มันก็แค่ E
because
กลับ
of what you
เราก็
want
คือ
to
เสีย
play.
เสียสเปลฟรีแล้วรอบหน้าไม่มีสเปลก็คือตาย
For DNS
อ่ะ
in these
แต่ถ้าเกิดสมมุติว่าเราไม่ใช้สเปลเราก็โดนแม่งหวดยับ
position advantage, like it
มี
was just
2 ช้อยก็คือยืนสู้กับวิ่งหนีตะกี้พี่ลองใช้สูตรวิ่งหนีดู
He's 16 and 10. A lot of those losses
ไอ้พวก
came
ช็อตเทรด
earlier in
แบ
the
บ
season while people
ช็อต
were
เทร
trying
ด
to
อะ
figure
เล่น
things
กับ
out.
มัน
Now on a
ไม่เวิร์กเลย
6-game win streak here,
แบบ PDX แท็กไปเล่นกับมันเงี้ย มันก็
I talked about how broken is Pantheon.
คือสกิลเราอะดาเมจไม่พอเพราะมันปาดได้โล
because of his global ulti, but also it's really easy to play. All you need to do is click the button and the target is down.
And I think a lot of teams are not utilizing
คิดว่าถ้าเกิดเจอรอบหน้าต้องเล่นแบบ
right now in this meta is also sitting at 0
ตะกี้จริงๆเฟสลัชอะก็เล่นได้เรื่อยๆนะ
I do think that
เล่นแบบเซฟฟาร์มมากๆไปเรื่อยๆแต่ก็ไม่รู้ว่าเมื่อไหร่จะได้ส่วน
and
คืน
play
กัน
slow and do slow damage and look for peel for your AD carry. You don't have to be the engaged tool. I think Yukal
เพราะว่าตัวตีไกลมันควรจะกดดัน
I used to
ฝั่ง
pick
นู้
for
น
his stomach.
Yeah, the game then stalled out for a little bit, stayed at about a 5,000 gold lead. This was pretty far
Desperation.
behind for DRX, but again, you can just show how they weren't quite on the same page here with it.
I was kind of wondering why
ได้ไปไม่ถึงครึ่งหลอด
Wheeler backed out and tried to use the ulti on Alista because I thought they could just one-shot Rumble, and at this point, as we mentioned, this game was kind of over, so you have to fully commit. But here, he was not really like all laning, just like Yukol. Like look at him,
fishing, man.
yeah, look at him. He's like fully committing because he knows that it's do or die here. But now again, like they couldn't really one-shot Rumble, they couldn't really see the target, and it's just literally the game over.
To be fair, like
พี่ลองดาเลสฝ่ายยังยังไม่ได้ลองเลยว่ะ
is almost always going to be a
ตอนนี้คือแพท
zero-sum type of fight. Like you're not in a winning position, but they found the angle. They went super deep. But again, they're playing this complex.
เรียบร้อยใช่ปะจุด 4แล้ว
If
ใช่
you're
ปะ
gonna play that, run a completely different style of draft. Don't play the Ezreal and the Azir to try to look for this type of play. And also, then you got to play the Ambessa better.
Yeah. So there it is, game 1 in the books. And a lot of reviewing here for DRX. They will get first pick. So they decided to go with first pick. We've been looking a lot of stats
Darius Jungle.
globally. Second pick has found a lot more success. But DRX going with first pick.
เนิร์ฟ
Everybody
เอม
wants
เบ
to get
ซ่า
it.
หร
So
อ
yeah, I mean, this is what I exactly expected from today's series. That's
โอ้
why I
ฟาร์ม
expect the
ป่า
trio.
ได้น้อยลงท่า
As I
คิว
mentioned, it's just all lane gapped. You know, like
เนิร์ฟ
at
ลัม
some
โบ
point, you're gonna see how you wanna do it as a team. Because
ว่าจะ
I
เป็นอัน
talked
ติ
to
วะ
Pony before the game, and he says, "I agree with you, Wadid, but I think DRX the only way they can win against DNS is
Buff
when
Camille.
they actually work as a team. I don't see them winning one by one.
โอ้ยเยอะ
I
มาก
just think they are just so much better when they work together
นี่มันมา
and
ไว
when
จัง
they
วะ
are being on the same page. So I think that should be the point for them."
Just slow it down. Okay, slow it down a little bit. DRX. Play for
Timo
team
buff
fights,
ด้วย
play slow. Play for Gio.
Lion.
Pick where he can sit back and do that damage. Where's the Sivir pick? Where's the
อี
Zeri? Right?
อี
Where's the
ทีโม
Yara?
แรงกับมอนสเตอร์ขึ้น
These are
โอ้
the
โห
types of picks. And
เมน
Willard,
ทีโมถูกใจ
you're gonna see
สิ่ง
a little
นี้
bit of a step up here. This was a pretty rough
อีลาว
first
รี
game.
บัฟด้วยเหรอ
He actually had a winning win rate on the Ambessa. He's played it 3 times. He was 2-1. Now he's 2-2 on this pick, but almost looked like first time Ambessa in this first game, if we're being honest. And I think they were just a little bit too jumpy, so to speak, in this first game. And the draft identity, I think, was the issue when how we saw those breakdowns between what you was trying to do, Willard's trying to do, what Andil's trying to do, Rich coming in late.
อูเดียบัฟคืออะไรอ่ะ
I think they'll bounce back here, and as a DRX predictor, I
เห
really
มือน
hope
พี่เคย
so.
อ่านนะพี่
I
ลืม
mean, on the other side, I
อ๋อ
actually
บัฟ
met
คิว
Kyoshik
กับบัฟ
in
W
the makeup room.
โล่
and
W
I
มัน
said,
เคยกลายเป็น
I
แบบ
predicted
เคยแบบ
3
เป็นโล่ที่โกงมากอะ
really confident about your
แต่แม่ง
early
เนิร์ฟ
game, and
เย
he
อะ
says,
เกินจนมัน
well,
เฮ้ย
I'm
แต่
not
ว่า
sure.
เนิร์ฟเยอะ
Do
1
you
2
trust me?
3
Like,
4
ผม
sure,
นึก
I
ย้อนไป
trust
ถึง
you.
ตอน
Trust
เล่น
me
กับปี
that I
แล้ว
trust
ผม
you.
เลือกทีโม่ป่า
That's what
เล
I
ย
said, and
แบ
I
บ
think
นี้ต้อง
he's
มาแล้ว
gonna
ไหม
bring it once again.
Wadid with the behind the scenes insights there. Do you trust a 3-0 DNS like Wadid? Let's send it on over to the casters for the answer.
เอ๊ะของไหน
That's what I'm gonna go with. How about you, Ox?
ได้บัฟอีกแล้วเหรอ
Yeah.
ไอ้บ้า
I mean, this is based on experience, you know, and sometimes it's not.
ดูดเลือดต่อความเสียหายที่ทำได้จะไม่ส่งผลต่อความ
necessarily
เสียหายจาก
to,
จากสมัยและอีกไน
to
ท์ต่อ
do
ไป
Kyoshik things on the Rift. I 100% trust that. But what trusting Kyoshik means
ออกมาทำกับอีกไนท์
accepting
ได้ด้วยเหรอเนี่ย
variance.
เพิ่งรู้
Yeah. And we may get a very different version of him here in our second game. Or it's about the day. And Kyoshik is just popping off today. We'll just have to see exactly what that's going to mean, because game 1, even though he did have a little bit of a helping hand with a phenomenal draft, it was also some great play, you know, getting the ultis in the right positions, making sure that he's ready to back up his teammates. And let's see whether he can do that again as we dive into champion select for game number 2. DNS this time will be on the blue side with second pick, and DRX, as mentioned by the space, will be picking first. Let's see what they're going to be taking away.
Yeah, and I think just a big aspect of it was like securing those huge picks, the draft advantage. You know, I hope DRX obviously was gameplay. It was also draft. If they can adjust a lot in this game too, hopefully can come out and look to equalize the series. DN Supers once again banning away the Bard, but they are in second pick in this situation where you just don't have as much freedom.
Yeah. And we don't need to worry about, you know, Azir Oriana's, things like that.
วาลัสรอดได้ไงโดนเนิร์ฟมาหลายแพทแล้ววาลัสทั้งดัสเซนดอร์ทั้งเนิร์ฟ W มันโดนเนิร์ฟเรื่อยๆอยู่แล้ววาลัส
For Rich's pick here towards the top side might be a Renekton angle.
แต่ลัมโบนี่ไม่มีบัฟเลยนะคือคนอื่นเขายังมีบัฟมีอะไรบ้างลัมโบนี่คือเนิร์ฟอย่างเดียวเลยเนิร์ฟตลอดไปเหมือนเต้ยังมีบัฟบ้างนะเคซันเต้มันยังมีแบบแพทนี้มีบัฟบ้างแต่ลัมโบนี่เนิร์ฟอย่างเดียว
Like DNS are kind of locked into what they're banning. Like we don't want you to play these champs irrespective. Something to have in mind is that Varus hasn't had Varus is presumably the third ban, right? That's our assumption. Nocturne would be taken away by DRX.
อ๋อไม่มีไลซ์ว่ะ
Not looked at. Rise instead taken away.
วาลัสหลุดมาก็จริงแต่ว่าเล่นไหมน่าจะต้องเล่นแหละวาลัส
And Nico also available. I think that's why it was a big deal for DRX to ban the Nocturne.
น้องฟ้ารออยู่
แอลที่พี่เคยพูดไว้อยู่นะต่อให้แพทใหม่จะเข้าหนู
Very
ก็จะ
scary
รอ
to
ต่อ
play
ไป
into, especially if DRX do secure this Varus first pick. You
ได้
wouldn't
เลย
want
ค
to
รับ
play the
ขอบคุณ
Nocturne
ครับ
Nico.
Oh, Zin.
โอ้ยเอาเฉาก่อนวะ
Go for Down instead.
Yeah, they can pick Varus Nico now, though. And once again, the DN Supers are off to a ridiculous start.
Varus Nico is a pretty tough bot lane to play into.
That doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun.
It's also,
this part of it makes a lot of sense.
Nico for Peter is great.
Yeah.
A pick he is for a lot of last year was one of our better Nikos. There was a period of time where they were really struggling. It looks like they're not going to immediately snap it up now, though.
Wow.
Going for the Ahri instead for closer.
The blind Ahri, knowing that the Talia is probably what Yukao wants to play, they're
แบบนี้ไซรัส
go for the theoretical counter pick.
ระเบิด
I feel like the Ahri does better in this matchup. I feel like a lot of players are happy to take the Ahri.
Oh yeah, they always pick into it. that's very true. I don't know whether I feel like Ari should do worse in this
Silver ไปเจอ
I feel like you can just circumvent the Unraveled Earth, and you can always like set up the longer range charms. I think it's pretty fine. I think DRX could take like Aurora in this situation. They are just going to go for the Sivir for now. Sivir into Varus is one of the better 80 carries into it. You can kind of neutralize a lot of his poke. You can just wave clear match that in the lane. So if you're going to let Varus open, you do want to make sure you get that Sivir in hand, which they do secure. And overall,
แค่มีอาลีกับกอบก็อาลีกับวารัสกอบก็โอเคนะ
Sivir does a pretty good job, right, in terms of limiting the impact
Aurora
of what the Varus can do with sort of bursting people out. Looks like it will be that Aurora coming through as well, presumably for UCAL, but there is that flexibility option into the top lane if they really want to.
Yep.
And now for the DN Supers, are you going to commit to that Nico for Peter? That is what we expect. Or do you really want to make sure you secure a jungler here?
Yeah,
Coming to match is in Zhao.
Not entirely sure. You could just go for a Jarvan or a Wukong, which is what Pyosik does want to do. A little bit more teamfight presence, a bit more extra damage with that Cyclone. And so we're going to be taking that, scaling up towards level 6, and Odin looking pretty chuffed about his first 3 picks. And let's get into some bans, see what's going to be taken away. Top lane is probably what we're looking at, but it's a bit difficult with the flexibility of the Aurora. And now we're probably going to see maybe supports banned away. I think maybe a Nico. Yeah, Nico just going to hit the deck immediately.
I think Nico's a good one. You could also get rid of Rakan if you're scared of like the Wukong-Rakan combination being a little bit of concern. Karma, I think is good.
ไม่แบนใส่ร้านด้วยอันตีดีหมดเลยนะเว้ย
Speed. You can especially buff up the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao plus Enchanters has always been really threatening. And Karma feels really good about rushing early Mikhails, and Mikhails has insane value into this DN Supers composition. We'll see if they end up actually going for the Cassante in the situation. The Dusante going to be denied here.
Definitely a worthwhile ban, but does open the floor for
มาแล้วอ่ะปุ่มเปิดปิดไว้คอม
Yeah. I mean, they have counter pick and can decide themselves whether they want it for top lane or support. I think you could just go something like the Rakan, play it safe, have that team fighting power, the synergy with the Wukong, which they are going to do.
Yeah.
And keep Dudu and give him the counter pick into Rich. A lot of top laners, I mean, I say a lot, you know, it's Cassante, it's Gwen. A couple of top laners already taken away.
Will he just play Sion? That's my question. Kind of hoping not. Will mean that it'd be straight into a Rek'Sai most likely. But let's see what Rich is going to be playing here, whether it will be Aurora, whether it will be something else. And Kennen is getting some nods out of Rich right now. An interesting blind pick. We don't see this blind at all that often. Aurora is often picked into it, and Ryze is another option into it, as we heard Vikla talking about in the pre-show. And so a little bit of a better option here is now Dudu thinking about Yorick. Wow, I did forget about Yorick Mori. I'm sorry about that one. And it is going to be locked away. So going for a little bit of that split push angle. Certainly a lot of sustain to try and help you through the lane up against the Kennen, but doesn't exactly feel like the most ultimate pick into Kenny.
Yeah, I think in the side lane, Kennen's not going to have a fun time. You know, you are just going to lose out in that matchup. Getting trapped in the cage, if that does happen, feels really uncomfortable, takes you a while to kill it. And obviously, you know, you don't have a dash. You do kind of have to use your mobility to avoid the cage. If you get trapped in it, you have to kill the cage or flash out. But you're going to offer a lot more in team fights in general than the Yorick does.
โยลิกยังมีคนเล่นอีกเหรอวะ
There is a lot of engaged potential from the side of the DN Supers, but you are dealing with a Sivir who can obviously has that spell shield available, and you're playing into Kennen Aurora, which is a lot of threat in general, with those big AoE circle-based ultimates.
The power of the circles is quite high, not to mention getting Andal into position, right? With On the Hunt. I think On the Hunt is going to be very valuable. Kennen and Leona both absolutely love added movement speed, and so that is certainly going to work out. Not to mention the Xin Zhao, who also wants to be sticky onto his targets. So I think DRX feeling a lot better with how this draft works. However, the play is going to have to match that, because there were certainly some questionable moments in game number 1 as well. Hopefully, Joker has given them the right feedback and they can get back onto the horse here to allow us to have a series that goes the distance. Let's go to the Rift for game 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 2. And let us see who is going to be coming out on top for this one. Already, just getting a bit of information here. Yukal spots the monkey. There you go. Beautifully done. And Peter is going to actually face check. And may have to press some buttons to avoid death, things like that.
Oh, but he's
instead,
he just queues and then
fine.
Dr. did some damage in return, and it's okay. Again, Andal going for the aftershock on Leona. Another champion who doesn't strictly need this.
Leona มัน
and we've seen a
กว่า
lot
จะ
of
เก่ง
spell work
เวล2
on Leona, but one of that extra survivability, one of that
จริง
extra
เวล3 ถึงจะเริ่ม
and it does synergize
เช็ค
really well
ใช้งาน
with
ได้
W her Eclipse. But Peter going for the spellbook, I do feel like it makes a lot of sense on Rakan because otherwise you'd go Guardian, which is kind of as a rune.
Yeah. One of the good things here for DRX is the fact that they did get Leona into Rakan, which has been a pretty decent matchup. Having a look here, though, Closer has always been a bit of a fan of playing Ahri at any opportunity. And so we'll see whether he can have the impact that he wants to. I think Ahri does really like to get ahead to feel valuable. So we'll see whether it is going to be one of these no damage Ahris or whether it's going to be the hard carry version. Of course, you just have to watch some of the Showmaker games to understand what an Ahri can really do if given a lot of leeway.
ว่ะถ้าเล่นเจอโยเนสเล่นแบบเป็นโป๊กดีกว่าว่ะแม่งเอ้ยโยน E แล้วก็โยน Q ไปมานาโฟล
really looking to try and snowball on this pick.
The old ignite electrocute.
แต่ว่ามันกดได้ไม่นานเท่าไหร่พอโยเนสมันได้ลุมคิงมันก็ไม่แบบมีสึกกลัวอะไรอีกแล้ว
Not super happy about that one. As Gio does need to be a little careful, but he'll be all right. As now Yukal will throw down that ignite that we were talking about, but loses out on the trade.
เปิดไปเรียบร้อยครับแต่ว่าเขาป้อมไปโดนตีหนึ่งที
does have the aftershock to help that health bar. It's only level 2,
ยังไม่มี
so I
W
believe Eclipse not actually leveled just yet.
Yeah, Trader heals there, but it is teleport for Dogdam, barrier for Jiwoo, so extra combat summoner there. But it doesn't really matter if the damage is focused on the supports.
แต่ว่าเป็นตัวที่ต้องมีนะ ATP ไม่งั้นมันหน้ามันไม่ได้อะมันต้องกลับไปเอาไอ้เทียมาเนี่ยมันต้องกลับไปเอาเทียละ
Is that optimistic?
This could be really dangerous because I think Doctor might try and teleport back.
W แน่นอน
Willer is going to try and turn the wind into lightning and does do so. Let's see whether this is going to work out. It's all on Andal, whether he can connect that Zenith plate. Instead, he just walks up and tries to take down Doctom. Survives as well. As now Peter in some trouble. Gio doesn't pick up the turret aggro, and Willer is looking to make his way back. There's the flash out. And yeah, just sacrifices himself in order to pick up the double for Gio. This is exactly what DRX wanted to start with.
I mean, here's the thing. Doctom has no cleanse, has teleport instead, doesn't even get a chance to flash. And the redive, such a good play, ends up giving a second kill over Jiwoo. The recall stop from Willer here. And I think Peter does everything he can. Gets the double knock up here. But Doctom just gets locked up and blown up. And in this situation, they make the call that like, we're going to sacrifice a jungler to make this play happen. He goes down, Jiwoo ends up picking up the kill, even gets a blue buff as well. 2 kills now for this Sivir, a great start for DRX.
And this was going to be a point of power for DNS, is the laning phase of the Varus is just so dangerous. It should be not too much of an issue here for Gio now, with a couple of kills under his belt, now with a Sheen. And we'll just look to try and clear out waves as much as possible. This is the problem with Sivir getting ahead, is that she just makes the lane non-interactive. You just wipe out waves over and over again. You don't need to worry about it. It's not necessarily a thing just yet, but it will be, as that Essence Reaver has certainly been fast-tracked for right now.
Especially when you get Essence Reaver. I mean, Essence Reaver Navori is really where you feel frustrating because you have infinite mana and infinite cooldowns. But to already have a blue buff on a Sivir, I mean, one of the problems with Sivir is you're gated early by your mana, and you have a blue buff, so that's just not a thing.
รูปแบบนี้ถือว่าปกติไหม
now for this bot lane 2v2, and you can see Doctor and Peter
พี่ว่าลิงเริ่มบูไม่ค่อยเก่ง
having to try and farm with the arrows and not really succeeding.
Yeah, at least the wave is pushing towards them.
แต่มันต้องเริ่มบูแหละ
A little bit difficult for a champion like Sivir to hold the wave if you do like pressing W. All right, Willer
แต่ว่าอาจจะมองว่าแบบไม่อยากสู้ด้วยไม่อยากอะไรด้วย เดี๋ยวเสียเทมโปเว้ยคือเขาหนีเฉาเพราะว่าเฉาเก่งกว่าวูคองต้นเกมปล่อยไปก่อนต้องปล่อยทุกอย่างลิงต้องแอบฟาร์มให้เลเวล 6
As Pyosik was rotating down. Level 5 for both of our junglers very close to level 6 for Pyosik in particular.
Yeah, Pyosik helps to push mid and help closer move down first. And I think the threat of the level 6 Ahri was just a bit too much. Didn't want to sort of engage in what could end up being a lot of resets for the Ahri. So understandably, they end up backing away.
All right, well.
คือหมายความว่าถ้าเมื่อกี้จบล่างอ่ะก็เสียปูล่างอยู่ดีแล้วก็ช่วยอะไรไม่ได้แล้วก็ต้องเดินไปเอาปูบนมันก็เลยแบบถ้างั้นก็ปล่อยล่างโดนได้ด้วยแล้วก็ฟาร์มเอา
Which one is this?
I don't actually know what it's called, but it looks like what is it? The Shah, I think.
Oh yeah,
from this. Anyway, we do have the grand entrance coming on through, and there's a great charm onto Andal. He gets exhausted, and he's going to go down. That is going to be just a free kill for DNS. As Yukal does offer a bit of damage back towards Closer, who does have the ulti now.
อยากให้กดไซรัสเลนกลางแต่ว่าแบบฝั่งของ DRX ไม่กดเพราะว่าไซรัสมันดีๆแล้วมันเล่นแบบเหนื่อยอยู่นะ
Let's see whether Jiu can actually stand his ground. It looks like they are going to agree to back away and just go back home.
Yeah, some heavy trading. Jiu even using the barrier there in that trade. And still it being about even in the end. Not committing the ult though.
And what were we looking for here, DRX?
อ้าวนึกว่าลิงชนะซะอีกพาสซีฟมันโกงมัน
So it was never really going to be a good idea.
Yeah, also into Ahri
มันไม่ได้
Wukong specifically. Very hard to catch them.
มันคงไม่ไหวถ้าเจอลิโอน่ากระเฉากลางแม่น้ำ
As you see in this moment as well, Yukal not respecting the remaining ult stacks that Closer had.
มันโดนทั้งยกทั้งสโล
So
that's something.
แล้วมันก็มีแค่แบบแค่นั้นนะสกิลอันติมันก็ไม่มีมันก็แบบทำอะไรไม่ได้ละ
The Rakan Ahri Wukong. It's so hard to set up on them. All of them have a ton of dashes. All of them can sort of, you know, with the Rakan can dash to either the Wukong or the Ahri. They can go in, they can go out so easily. It's kind of like they choose to fight. If they see a favorable situation, they will go in. If they don't, they will back off. It does mean it's hard to find these skirmishes. You kind of want to be looking for more for a setup where you can get onto, say, a mobile Varus is much easier to find a fight on.
Yeah. Let's see whether they can figure things out a little bit better as we move further forward. Because it hasn't looked like the DRX well-oiled machine we have seen in some of their series so far this season. But certainly looking better than game number 1. There's a nice little stun there from Rich. But he gets put into the ghoulie cage.
Oh my God.
He may just die. Slicing Maelstrom does have to be used very defensively.
Oh, Maiden.
And the Maiden, oh no! Okay, so the Maiden falls. Dudu will have another one, I guess.
Just let it go.
In a while, but he just didn't really seem to care.
Yeah, that seemed very...
I'm a bit sad.
Yeah, I seem to not be too concerned. Does get the plate though. He'll take that.
Rich does manage to get the stun, but there's another goalie wall, and the flash is just not going to do anything at all. So that's a solo bolo there from Dudu.
Yeah, did not need to stick around.
โดนแล้วว่ะเขียนเน้น
Did stick around for that. And paid for it. And also, look at Dudu's items. Yeah, he didn't have much damage. Just make treads. It's not going to get better.
It's not looking like it, especially not with plays like that. So Rich
ซื้อ
getting
มาร์เก็ต
punished
แล้ว
just a
โซ
little
โล
bit
คิว
here.
ด้วย
As Pyosik looking for this dragon, Willer is going to make his way in. Let's
เปียวซิก
see
เลยจะโดนแย่งครับผ
whether
ม
he
แต่
can
ว่า
actually get there. It is
ได้
Pyosik
อัน
that
นี้
secures the dragon.
แล้ว
But
ยู
can
แค
they
ลเรา
actually
เข้ามา
win
ด้านหลัง
the
เปียว
fight?
ซิกก็เลยจะตายปั่นแต่มัน
Lines between worlds.
ไหวไหมปั่นได้อยู่เหมือนกัน
Down will go the Leona
มีแฟด
first.
ออกโอ้ยูแคลพีดิชั่น
Onto Pyosik. He's unable to escape as now Jiu getting aggressive. Great spell shield. The
ปีเตอร์
flash.
ตายว่ะ
Jiu was able to lock
ดก
down
ดำก็
Rakan.
ลำไม่ทัน
Picks up another for
แต่ว่า
Yukal as now
โครเซอร์
Is taking
มา
matters
ครับ
into
อี
his
ก
own
ทีหนึ่ง
hands, and Yukal is trying to get out of those hands as quickly as
Oop.
possible. There's the
โอ้
interception.
โอ้
The flash forward,
โอ้
but it's
โอ้
Closer, in fact, almost dies to the Q fade
เกือบ
away
ได้
from Yukal. Man, that was close.
Both mid laners coming up huge in that fight. The target selection from them is excellent. Oh, we'll get a replay of this.
Oh no.
Yeah, he just doesn't even have much damage, so he doesn't just kill him with that first Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big
Gotta feel
agree.
rough.
Big agree on that one.
So in this fight, Yoshik nearly actually survives, which is crazy. He gets engaged onto, he gets jumped, gets the ult off, and kills Handle.
prediction fact โคตร
And
ดี
he gets over the wall, but Yukao manages to snipe him on the back end. And then they start cleaning up. Yukao moves in, helps Q secure this kill onto Dokdam. And then it's close to getting the reset. So both mid laners are last to survive, getting a lot of value here.
It's a lot of money for the Ari.
So close.
Oh, man.
เกือบได้จริง
If it was Closer that got the red buff, he would have probably got the kill.
He would have.
Unfortunately, Yukao got that one. He got the blue. And now, as it stands, almost 1,000 gold for DNS as far as their lead is concerned. They also have the first dragon as well. And so it actually works out just fine. Spell shield just for a comment there. At least you always get a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Spell shield late against Avaris.
You still get the health back, right?
There you go. A little bit of something.
But it's a lead again for DNS, which doesn't...
No. It's all right. Nimbus Strike gets it.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, it's a lead again for DNS, which doesn't feel too good. It's Bandle
สบายไม่ตายด้วยเมื่อกี้
He is Bandle Piper.
I thought we'd see a lot less Bandle Pipes with the fact they increased
เล่นเคนเน่นยังโดนว่าบาปอีกเหรองั้นเล่นนาก็โดนด้วยดิเราไม่ต้องคิดอะไรมากครับถ้าเราอยากจะไม่ผู้ชายแท้แบบแต่ละคำชมเล่นเซตครับเล่นบน
One of the issues here for DNS this time around is that it's a Sivir who has an advantage.
เล่นตัวอื่นบาปไล่ระดับไปเรื่อย
And they are now going to try and
หนักสุดคือเวนครับ
doesn't do too much as
โอ้
Purific
เชคคอร์รัปชันไม่โดน
That's a very wide ulti out of Dokdam, and so Chains of Corruption not hitting means the DNS is going to have to back away. Willow looking to make his way in, finds the wind becomes lightning, but Peter is still looking for more, especially after that. Piercing arrow does connect. Is now Rich looking for an angle here. Does just want to kill the minions. And no.
Walk the maiden away.
Just please. Oh, 50 gold
ไป
over
โย
to
น
Rich.
ทำไมไม่รู้ตะกี้
Way
ดู
better maiden management.
ไม่น่าโยนอ่ะแบบน่าจะแค่ขังแล้วเดินออกมาก่อนแล้วค่อยโยน
It really is. It's distressing.
You know, Valentine's Day wasn't that long ago.
No, it was only a few days ago. Oh man. Well, Dudu. Certainly some
มัน
feedback
ต้องบอกว่าใช่แบบชายแท้เนี่ยมันต้องบอกว่าคนแบบคนบุญนะอันนั้นคนบาปด้วยอันนี้ก็แบบเล่นตัวตีใกล้ก็คือบุญ
The red buff that might be a hint as to where he is on the coin flip. Looking pretty good at the moment with about a 400 gold advantage over his opposition. As Yukao, nice little avoidance there. As Rich is looking like he's feeling a little bit better here in this lane.
He has the Gunblade completed, and I do think the fact that this is an item does make Kennen do a fair bit better into some of these trickier matchups. The sort of side lane split pushes, you have the sustain off the item, bit of AD as well.
เอาจริงมันก็
also
เดนล่างมันก็จะจิ้วรวยไปเรื่อยๆเนาะ
So that'll help him mitigate the advantage just a little. As Dokdam,
you've been spotted.
Oh dear. He does spot that there is someone there.
ดีเนอะโคเมตอ่ะมันเช็คได้นะโคเมตคอนเคอร์เลอร์อะไรเงี้ย
We do have DRX all moving through this jungle. Andal spots that control ward, so they can move out of the way of that if they would like to as well. As Pioshik on a ward. This is a lot of DRX territory here, but at least Dokdam was able to make it to the wave. Be able to pick that one away. As Willa gets lit on fire here preemptively. Hail of Arrows does come down to try and slow him up.
โอ้เชคคอร์รัปชันสวยแต่ว่าอันตีว่ะเป็นทั้งการ์ดมาแต่ว่าโอ้ไม่ได้ไม่เป๊ะอุ้ยแต่ว่าโดนนะโดนไปปลายเมื่อกี้เลยเติมพอครับแล้วปั่นครับลีโอน่าปั่นได้ไหมไม่ได้นะ
And Gio is looking real worse for wear at the end of that play.
เฮ้ยเคนได้มาด้านหลัง
Coming on the flank though.
แย่แล้วตรงนี้โคเซอร์น่าจะไปหวัง
Yeah, he's just going to get shot with a gun and a blade. Cut with the blade, shot with the gun, and all with the same item. Closer is just dead. That is going to be the kill going over to Rich. A little bit of money back in his pocket, and that hull still hasn't cashed in.
Tower likely dead though. No TPs on the rest of the team, so...
Why does the Maiden keep coming back? It knows that Dudu doesn't care. Wow.
Because she loves him.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Love is a weird thing. Anyway, we do have DRX now back out onto the map. 8-7. A little bit more bloody is this game. Close to a kill a minute. Actually, we are at exactly a kill.
อ๋อเคนเน่นก็ได้ป้อมล่าเหมือนกันเมื่อกี้เงินมาเลยดีดมาฝั่งเคนเน่นละ
Likely to even things out here.
A lot of ults on cooldown for this.
Oh, we're going between the worlds as Doctom could be in a little bit of trouble. Yuka looking for the angle and does find it. There's the solo bolo. Just leaving him a little bit on his lonesome as Dudu makes his way over. Yuka, I think, might be dead. Yeah, Solar Flare not going to help out, and that is just a Q thwack to the head with a shovel. They do trade it for a dragon, though, as 1-for-1 in that trade, and oh my goodness, it's a Hextech Soul. That's a scary one.
He did use literally everything.
ทุกคนมีเงินหมดยกเว้นดกดำ ไม่ได้ค่าเลยแอสซิสไป7
Yorick and the Maiden are walking back.
ราคาไม่ยังได้ค่า2
Imagine DNS not wanting to fight this one too much.
I do think Dudu's got the right idea though. You know, we have so many Yoricks who just keep trying to team fight, and he knows
don't do that. He doesn't even want the Maiden with him.
Yeah,
he wants to be as alone as possible.
Maybe that was a misinterpretation, right? It was like you need to be alone in the side lane, and that's what he. That was the confusion.
I get it. Completely makes sense.
Okay, Doctam oversteps here a bit. Yukal slides in with the rocket belt and even flashes in for the kill. Does get the reset on the W, but Peter catches him with a knockup. Yeah, you just dead.
Yeah.
So goodbye.
I actually feel like Dudu's rotations have been really, really effective, though. Comes in, tidies up a kill or two, and then focuses back on the side lane immediately. DNS going to use their power in the Yorick in order to try and take down this Rift Herald, and that will be secured by Pyoshik. They do just make their way out. So, swift little take. DRX within touching distance, absolutely. I think this should even out the gold almost entirely as Rich takes down this turret. It's going to be second of the game, first for DRX. Not getting that first turret blood gold or anything like that, so maybe not going to give them that much of a gold injection. As now Willer is looking to try and take down Dudu, and that Gully Wall actually working out very effectively as Yuka comes over, wants to get that damage through 2 versus 1, and Dudu just wants out. Pyoshik's making his way in though, so maybe he wants back in again. As the Ghoul and down goes Willer. This Yorick is a big problem here for DRX as there's the quickness, and you're just going to get charmed up and destroyed. It's a double for Pyoshik, whose coin seems to have 2 heads on it today.
ลดเกาะด้วยนี่
Good response from DNS moving up, but Dudu, he saw the flock of ghouls jump on a Willer, and immediately you're like, oh man.
อาร์เมอร์จะลดไป 25% ถ้าอัพเต็ม
I don't think so.
I didn't know they were avian.
แล้วมันโยนเป็นเมจิกดาเมจเป็นเปอร์เซ็นต์แม็กเลือด
I don't know what the actual I don't know what it is.
Wait, maybe I could if I just Google.
คือลีโอน่าเมื่อกี้เข้ามาโดนลดเกาะเข้าไปแล้วเดี๋ยวมีวูคองลดเกาะอีกแล้ววูคองออกแบ็คเคเบิลอีก
Noun of ghouls. Maybe there is one.
มหากรรมลดเกาะ.com เฮ้ยข้างหลังมาเพียวซิกแฟดออกลิสตรงนี้ต้องรีโพซิชันก่อนดกดำไม่พร้อมไม่อยาก 0-4 แล้ว
A rot of ghouls. I like that one a lot.
There we go.
038
Yeah. Because it also sounds like I have a speech impediment while I'm saying that there's lots of ghouls. Oh, that's a rot of ghouls.
จนมาก
It's a really strong accent.
Yeah. Yes, maybe it's not even a speech impediment. Maybe I've just decided to have an accent when I'm talking about
DPS อาจจะไม่ดีแต่ว่ามันมีดาเมจอยู่
That makes me feel fancy. Okay. Back on track. Sorry, everyone. We are going to see whether DRX can find a way back in here as Doctom does get hit by a double tap of the boomerangs, and they do manage to take themselves a plate. And DNS's gold lead is not exactly substantial. I think we're going to see a real change in this game in about a minute and a half.
It still feels pretty close, but I think Dudu's an issue in the side lane, and I just think the Wukong Ari is so strong. But it's Jiwoo. It's can Jiwoo survive the initial engage from the other side? That's the question mark. But it's going to come down to that dragon fight, as you said. So Hextech Soul obviously puts a lot of emphasis on it. We have a lot of team fighting tools. We have a lot of explosive power.
And it's 2 items on to this Yorick as well, as Closer doesn't have quite as many. Does have to use the ulti to get himself out of there as Pyoshik once again in position. Great orbit deception there to make sure that Yukal takes as much damage as possible. Yep. I think it certainly is a fair bit of flipping heads. Man, that's a rot of ghouls.
คือวันเสาร์ต้องมาลุ้น
I love it. This is my favorite clip.
ให้เจนจีไม่ลงมาข้างล่าง
What's really sad?
A lot of people have really talked about the pros of Fearless.
ถ้าเจนจีลงมาข้างล่างก็คือมึง
You're only going to be able to use erotic ghouls once
มึงอีกแล้ว
this series, like for one game. Yeah.
Oh, why did you have to say it?
I'm sorry.
Say it for this
but
whole
get
game.
the most out of it in this game is what I'm saying.
I mean, if you have the most experience with the Slurkle, you know that I'll get the most out of it.
Oh, I know.
When there is a new thing to say, I'll be saying it.
I'm sure you'll bring it up in the later games as well. You'll be like, wow, this reminds me of last game when we had a Rod of Ghouls.
Exactly. Do you know what they could use? They could definitely use a Rod of Ghouls right now. That's all right. Chains of Corruption comes down after the spell shield, and Jiu, he flashes, but he's still very dead.
Peter ตายตรงนี้แต่ว่า
but that is not fair. And DRX
ไม่คุ้มเท่าไหร่
not going to be
ได้แค่
feeling
ซับ
very
เฮ้ย
happy
เปิดเหรอ
Vandal? I'm not sure about that one, buddy. That was sometimes you press E because you want to.
4-5 แต่ว่าได้ไป
They don't even have the Ari there.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so into the fight.
ได้ป้อมกลางด้วย
Both teams had a lot of tools available, but one team killed the enemy's Fed Sivir.
โอ้โหแล้วโคเซอร์แก
Well, they just died.
แกไม่กด TP ได้ยังไงวะ
Definitely felt like one team hit the mark better than the other.
จิตใจแกแบบ
Bully Wall goes down, but Dudu is just focusing on trying to take away this blue buff.
Yeah, Willett does have Smite though, so I think he's better equipped to secure that. That is, we'll put that in the positive column for DRX. In the column.
It does distract Willer enough for that Drake to be completely free. Let's have a look at this one more time though.
Yeah, spell shielding the Rain of Arrows, not the best play.
ปกติแล้วมันจะ
And if you are going to do that, then you need to
มันต้องเอาเคนมาด้วยปะ Silver
Yeah, we didn't need to focus on
just because you can doesn't mean
แล้วไม่มีระฆังด้วย
Yes.
ประมาทนะถือว่าออกของประมาท
Nando's been having a rough series, which feels bad because he's been so good.
ไม่คิดว่า Silver จะโดนจับเลย
Rich is
เอาขังได้วะ
trying not to die underneath this turret. Doesn't have an arm guard. Does have to flash. As Yukal looking to make his way in. Oh god! Again, the Maiden is turned into 50 gold for the enemy team. Dudu is really, he just wants to be alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rich did kind of just go in, get ghoulie walled, and just
วิลเลอร์ต้องมารับ
flash out.
เวฟบนแทน
Cannon Flash being down. It will be down for Dragon as well. Not ideal.
Yeah, that's going to be up in 4 minutes' time, and that will be Soul Point for DNS, and it's Hextech Soul Point as well. And they have a lot of poke with this Varus, so that Hextech Soul will get a lot of value. Willa does now have the Black Cleaver completed. That is going to feel good. But DRX at once, it feels like they're circling the drain, even though this game hasn't neared its conclusion just yet.
Go on, Max, say it.
It's feeling a little bit dire.
It feels like the tempo
Ooh.
vibes.
It really does, man.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I appreciate you. Thank you for being the one to say the tempo vibes before me. So I don't just sound
I knew
weird.
you wanted to say it, right? But you didn't want to be the first to bring it up, so.
Oh, you're just the best, Orcs. All right, well, let's see whether DRX can do anything to mitigate the overwhelming presence of the DNS tempo vibes.
They do have big, cool, circle-based ultimates, right?
Yeah.
So there is that they have going for them, but it's just, it feels like they haven't been able to really have those circles overlap, you know, at the same time in a team fight together.
And if you make a whole bunch of circles, then that feels like a Beyblade arena, and then that feels exactly like what you need in order for Sivir to succeed, right? And, so that's what DRX need to try and do.
That's what we're going for.
I just don't see this Yorick as being something that they can do anything about at this point in time. Dudu is just getting very large. Look at this crystalline overgrowth. It is about to pop. He's decided not to press the button, wants to eliminate as many of these minions as possible. As Rich, he knows that there are people in there, but because there are people in there, he cannot make it towards the turret. And so that one definitely goes down, takes a bunch of his minions with it.
ไซเลนไม่ได้แล้วแบบทีมไฟแบบ
There is no one really presenting
ไม่มา
themselves, and there is a lot of vision here for DNS, so they still have a lot of information as to what's going on here. And Gio is going to get interrupted. They now know that ward is there.
I think one of the things with playing split pushes is, you know, when you're putting so much pressure on the side lane like this, the response typically is stop Baron, right? But this season, Baron's so hard to kill.
โดนล้อมว่ะ
Yukal is not looking that hard to kill.
No, I think he's goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Duda comes up, and that is going to be Doc Down delivered the kill.
บาลอน
Yeah, Baron's so hard to kill that just DRX, even with both Solan is pushing in, they were like just not even putting any sort of pressure towards the Baron. DNS eventually go fine, whatever, will teleport in, kill Yukal. Now they're starting the Baron. Maiden there for the DPS as well. DRX are looking to contest though.
ต้องเปิดต้องสู้โอ้ปีเตอร์ตายเลย
before really doing too much of anything at all. Andal looking a little worse for wear right in the mixer and will get taken down. The rest of DRX trying to do some work. And Jiu spell shield now on cooldown. They see that flash out from Jiu, but he
ขังได้ขังจิวได้
What was that?
Oh my god อ้าวขึ้นไม่ได้
DNS put them all on the ground.
ดูแม่งขังได้เฉย
They literally did, and Dudu finding the team fight power of the Yorick apparently catches the Sivir with the Ghoulie wall somehow. Do not?
Was there a little muffin in the middle or something like that?
Maybe a cupcake.
No.
Yeah. So this actually initially I think started off pretty fine for DRX. The fact that they mitigated Peter's engage. He gets stunned by Andal, gets stunned again by Rich, and dies before really connecting. Yes, Andal goes down in return, but a 1-for-1 trade and stopping the Baron. This is okay. They are on the wrong side of the map though, so they're a bit uncomfortable. Jiwu spell shields at the wrong time, flashes out, runs into the Ghoulie wall.
จะเดินเข้าไปช่วยตี
That entire passage.
There wasn't a lot of redeeming that.
No, no other way to spin it.
No.
2-0 แล้วว่าคิดว่า 2-0 แล้ว DRX กากมาก
pick up the whole lot of that team fight and put it straight into the comms column.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to worry about sorting it. No, we know where it all goes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. And now, DNS pick up. They've already got the Baron. They've already got a huge gold lead. They got a third dragon as well.
8,000 gold lead. That's a big one.
Yeah.
ไม่คิดเขาคงไม่คิดว่าแบบจะ
Flash was burned by
เคนเน่นจะมาเจอไซเลนแบบดูอย่าง
from Yorick.
ยอริก
And then he gets caught.
ซึ่งมันเป็นตัวที่ไซเลนเก่งแต่ว่า
The team fighting
No, he
Yorick.
didn't get caught by it. He wandered into it.
มันจะมีปัญหาตรงที่ว่าแบบ
Well, now DNS
เวลามันไปไซเลนกันสูงๆเงี้ยมันก็จะตายอะไรเงี้ย แต่ว่า DNS แกโคเวอร์ดูได้ตลอดเลยดูเห็นปะดูเล่นปุ๊บแบบมีคนมาอยู่กับดูตลอดเลย
That is a good point.
ดูก็เลยไม่เหงาเว้ย
There was no cheese.
That we saw, you know.
Okay. The hidden cheese. Deadliest.
ดันเข้าป้อมก็ได้ค่าเป็นของแถม
So he can at least do that relatively effectively. Problem is, this crystalline overgrowth is going to get popped.
แล้วก็เคนเน่นก็ปล่อยป้อมบนให้ด้วยวาร์ปลงมาล่างมาช่วยทีมไฟอะไรเงี้ยดูมันก็เอาป้อมไปเลย
But this inhibitor turret is likely to fall. The siege capability of this composition is actually quite high, especially with the 1-4 that they do have available. It's very, very strong. As DRX, they need to force something.
โอ้เชคโคลาชั่นสวยมากตายเลยครับ
He's leaving. They're starting a fight though. As Willer is just going to go in. A little bit of a disconnect. As I don't know even where Rich died, but he very much did. And Andal is now just looking very uncomfortable on the wrong side of the fight. Help me, Ox.
They just blew up Rich. No chance of engaging with the cannon gone. Looks like this game is pretty much over.
Yeah.
Jiu and Yukal can try. Yukal still has ult.
Well, he is going to use it now.
ต้องสู้ครับโอ้ยได้เหมือนกันแต่ว่ามันไม่ไหวเลยด้านหลังยูแคล
He'll get taken out. Pyoshik is able to lock that one up as Andal finally
GG ครับ
gets to the
2-0
fight. But the Nexus is now bare. There's no one left alive, and DNS will be moving towards match point in this best of 5. And I feel robbed. I thought we were going to get a series. There's nothing. My hands are empty.
Yeah. This has been very one-sided. I mean, there was a little bit more. There's a bit of back and forth during this game, but it just quickly fell out of control. The team fights, the Yoriks have been all in favor of DNS and Pyoshik. I mean, the form he's in. I know. Heads all the way. Widid is going to be beyond smug. The series is not over yet, but two games in, and DRX just haven't really put up too much resistance. Jiu also, the thing that feels most frustrating to me is that Jiu and Andal have had such a big glow up, and we're just not seeing that today. This is not the form that we've seen DRX in previously. And whether or not they can come back and win the series is one thing, but I just hope we see that form show up today. To end a 3-0 would feel really rough to see them leave playoffs and not show some of the form we've seen for them so far, because frankly, they haven't shown up yet.
Yeah, this team has showed much better League of Legends than what we've seen so far.
มันยังอยู่ปะวะอีกรอบดิ ไอมาสวรรค์อีกรอบดิโอ้มันเล่นอยู่อ่ะมีใครเมนโยเนปะขอเมนโยเนในนี่หน่อยเดี๋ยวมันได้ป่าวช่อง LL เอ๊ะอยู่ไหนวะไม่ได้ด้วยมาผมฝึกกับยูเนให้ตอนนี้เล่นมาดีป่ะไหนว่าจะไปไหลไหนวะรอบนี้จะลองเป็นวาระสายแบบสู้เลยพี่แบบไม่หนีละสู้เลยเป็นวาระแบบสู้จุดไฟด้วยมาลองแบบสู้เลยลองไม่หนีตายไปข้างหนึ่งผมไม่เคยเล่นแล้วบอกไว้ก่อนอ้าวยังไงเดียทีนี้ฮัลโหลได้ยินป่ะฮัลโหลฝึกไว้ก่อนไอ้ตังยินนะเอ้ย stupid
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
ถ้าในแข่งพี่ไม่กดวอลลัสท็อปแปลว่าถ้าในแข่งถ้าหมายถึงว่าในแข่งไม่กดวอลลัสท็อปแปลว่าตัวไม่เก่งเหรอมันเป็นตัวสนิกกี้เอาไว้แบบบัมแรงได้ครับแชทมันไม่ได้ตัวเก่งไม่เก่งหรอกอันเนี้ยคือบางคนมันไม่เคยเจออะไรอย่างเงี้ยพี่จำเทคนิคพวกโปรเล่นเจอว่าไอโยเนได้ก็คือเวลาที่โยเนมันจะล้มเข้ามาเราแค่ต้องล้มแบบไอธนูสวนไปกระถางที่ลมมาอะไรเงี้ยนะชี้หายแล้ว อยากกลับบ้านแล้วอะไม่มีการร้องขอป่ามาช่วยนะแย่ว่ะพี่จะยิงก็ยิงลองดู10 นาทีเพราะว่าค่านี้มันไม่มันอยู่ในพอมันเก่งมันจะเก่งตอนเลเวล6ยกจนเนวเคล็ดแต่เมื่อกี้ธนูวิเกือบหมดอยู่กันนะเฮ้ยเทรดได้อยู่ว่ะคือมันก็แบบพอแบบทำให้โยเนรู้สึกว่าแบบไม่อยากเข้ามาช็อตแบบเทรดเท่าไหร่อ่ะคือมันยิงรัวดีอ่ะยิงจากพาสซีฟเอ้ยจบแล้วอ่ะจีเฮ้ยถือว่ารุ่นนี้ไม่สู้ก็ไม่สู้ก็แพ้
so wrong. You just first pick Xin Zhao giving up Varus for free, and then they have the answer with Wukong. That's just so much better, and you can see the 4-5 as well. You just let them play Wukong Rakan for free, and you
พี่ลองวาลันออก AD ยังโป๊กใส่โป๊กเหรอ
the worst matchup on the top lane as well. So what's the point?
Might I suggest if we're gonna play Sivir, just a frontliner in the top lane, a safe blind top lane?
Yeah, like Sion.
You could survive him like Sion.
เห็นแล้วว่าเราจับครั้งแรกแต่ก็เล่นแบบว่าก็เอาเรื่องอยู่ทรงเซิงแล้วแบบ
on his cannon dying so they're trying to defend his turret.
So yeah, I mean, maybe some of you might think that
ผมว่าสนุกกว่า AP นะ
my prediction, but in theory, I really
มันก็
It was just smarter than us.
Yeah, I just
คือว่ามันเซฟดีนะมันโยนคิวได้เรื่อย
ๆ in terms of the gameplay, right? And DRX, I don't know, like I don't see them having like great fundamentals in the basic stats. So that's why I feel the huge gap between these two teams.
Yeah, and maybe starting to feel some of the pressure because our first highlight here has to do with vision. You know, you can't just waltz into the other side of the jungle and expect the other team not to respond or have it covered.
So yeah, Wheeler and Andil tries to use the bot priority to get the red buff right here.
But Gio is not interested, by the way.
No.
He's not interested. He's leaving. They're like, wow, the AD carry is gone. Let's see if they're still there. Oh man, he thinks he can take, like, Peter is like, he thinks he can take this? What is he thinking he thinks he can take this? AD carry is still not here, by the way.
What are they doing? Like, they have to fully commit or they just cannot do the red. So if you want to get the bot priority, then you shouldn't go red. If you want to go red, just give up one wave of the priority and get red all together.
I mean, Gio also, by the way, is just like, God, my teammates, my family, it's not backing me up here. Still gets a kill on the way out. He's fine. But like, this is just another symptom of the bigger coordination issue here. If you're going to play with that, you push the wave in a Sivir and you go with them and you try to secure the red buff. You play around Ricochet, you play around that power spike there.
Time for more like lack of coordination here. As much as DNS ends up catching this throw, this is again going in when you're going out, and an uncharacteristic individual mistake by Ju spell shielding the wrong spell.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say?
หลังแข่งจบเล่นเกมอะไรเหรอครับพี่
Anil takes every engage opportunity that he finds. Rich is with him, and he's like, you know what? If I set this up, maybe Rich gets a massive ultimate here. Goes in by
จริงๆที่บริษัทเขามีที่บ่วงไปแบบเหมือนกับสัมภาษณ์
I mean, this is definitely a
เรื่องภาษีอะไรเงี้ย
mental explosion right there. Like,
แต่ว่าพี่แบบว่า
see them having a like great conversation out of these games, you know. So
มัน
I don't know, it's really rough
เหนื่อย
for
แล้ว
them right now.
Yeah, and I
อยากนั่ง
think it goes
อยู่
back
ที่บ้าน
to at the beginning of that draft, who are they prioritizing? It was the player that we suggested they prioritize after game one, which was Willer. Here's a champ for you to go ahead and try and dictate the game, and I mean, it was like 7-6 by the time we showed the first highlight. It was so
มันเป็นแบบว่าพอเปิดแล้วจะเป็นแบบลมอุ่นๆ
It ended up being 0-5 by the time we got to those last few team
เหมือนไซรอนเวอร์ชันแบบ
Shinjala they first picked for him. I think
เสียบ
to play
แบบ
through bottom lane only.
หนูมาจากสมาคมคนรักเกมผีช่องนี้เล่นเกมผีนะคะ
เล่นครับเล่นวันที่แบบมี T1 แข่งครับ
which is how ultimately you win the game.
And also, you gotta think about the coordination between the coaches and players right now because of the new rule, the right of the first selection, because you can actually pick either first pick or second pick. So it's really just important to what you want to plan in the draft, like throughout the game, because you can't really talk that much between the games, right? So you have to be really quick on what you want to do. And now they figured out the first pick is not working out for them, and now they try to be the second pick for their counter pick on the top side at least, because he was struggling on lane. And I think DRX, if they want to have the better gameplay, then they should be okay in lane at least.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple of those moments there with Rich where throughout the season he's had those highs. I mean, you talked it, but then that Kennen play where he's trying to go in and maybe trade for the kill and gets flashed on, it hurts the momentum. And we've talked about it. This team is a momentum team.
You saw Rich there.
หนูมาจากสมาคมคนรัก SR ช่องนี้ถ้าที่เว้นชนะมี SR จริงไหมคะ
and Vikla had all the momentum when they got an upset win against T1. This is the exact opposite.
สมาคมคนรัก
against the wall.
SR
You're 0-2. You've made some big shot calling errors, and it is hard to fix your mental to then also.
แล้วเมื่อวานพอเล่นวารัสจบใช่ป่ะแบบอยากเล่นต่ออีกตามากแต่พี่เจบอกไม่ได้ต้องนอนแล้วค้างคามาทั้งคืนอ่ะแบบพี่อยากเล่นอีกสักตาหนึ่งอ่ะตานั้นไม่ได้เล่นเลยเจอชาเลนเจอร์โยเนแบบปวดยับเลยไม่ใช่เขาไม่ใช่แค่ชาเลนเจอร์โยเนธรรมดานะเขาเป็นชาเลนเจอร์โยเนเมนโยเนอีกคุณว่าแล้วคือพี่เป็นเล่นวารัสเลนบนไปเจอเขาอะเนี่ยเขาเมนโยเนะยาสุแรง718แอลจะมีระบบไมค์เหรอครับเห็นคุยในกลุ่มเหมือนจะใช่ครับเขาบอกว่าน่าจะมีแหละเพราะว่าเดี๋ยวเห็นเขามีหลุดมาแล้วว่าแบบมันเป็นนอกจากอัปเดตแล้วยังมีตัวแบบพาเนลที่มันกดได้แล้ว
It'd be really rough for them to go out.
The Peter Punch! It's interactive as well. That's very, very cool.
Those are the best sort of fan science. But it'd be really rough to go out like this because it's hard not to focus on and remember most the series you played last. And if you leave in a 3-0 manner, it's going to really put a dampener on and make you forget all the other good stuff that happened for DRX in the LCK Cup. So, you know, even if they aren't able to pull off the reverse sweep in this series, getting a game or a couple of games or just putting some fight into this series would make a big difference. So we'll see what they can do in the draft if that can help them out, do them any favors. Yep, but they need to bounce back.
And they have counterpick this time around in theory. Hopefully that means that Rich gets a better matchup. Hopefully it means that Andal's going to be feeling a little bit more comfortable here. Maybe that's going to be an option that they can go towards. Of course, Andal did manage to get counterpick in the last game, but the game wasn't really about him in the end. As the Bard going to be taken away once again, this is something that the DN Supers have been doing all series long. Yunara is likely to leave as well.
I think as well, second pick has gained a lot of ground in this series because a lot of the picks you would expect to have to ban on second pick have already gone, right? The Rumble, the Varus.
พี่ทำยังไงแล้วถึงยอมให้มีไมค์ให้พี่ครับพี่ว่ามันพี่ว่าเราออกเผื่อดูช่องพี่อยู่เนี่ยเราอย่าเพิ่งพูดอะไรที่มันแบบนี้เลยดีกว่าพี่ว่านะตั้งแต่พี่เคยพูดแล้วแบบตั้งแต่แบบไอทำไมเลยออดไม่เอาตัวละคร L มาทำเกมไหมเนี่ยไอที่เป็นแบบว่าแนวโลกไลท์ไอเหมือนแวมไพร์เซอร์ไววัลอ่ะเนี่ยแล้วทำมาจบเลยอะไรอย่างเงี้ยไม่เห็นจะทำยากเลยเอาตัวมาแล้วจริงก็เป็นตัวจริงยิงจรวดอะไรอย่างเงี้ยไปเรื่อยฟาร์มอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วแม่งก็มีขึ้นมาจริงเซิร์ฟซีก็มีจริงแล้วก็บ่นเรื่องไมค์ช่วงนี้ก็มีไมค์จริงเพราะว่าเราต้องระวังไว้นะไม่เอาไมค์ได้ไหมเราปิดได้ดิครับเราว่าแค่กดปุ่มปิดแบบไม่เปิดไมค์มันต้องเปิดนะมันเหมือนมันมีปุ่มที่แบบเปิด voice com ไหมกับไม่เปิดเราว่าแค่ไม่ต้องไปติ๊กถูกว่าเปิด voice com ก็จบแล้ว
ไลออดไม่ดูพี่เขาจะมาดักตกพี่ตั้งแต่ปีแรกแล้วพี่ไม่รู้พี่จะไม่ไหน5
committing to that rise 100% win rate in playoffs so far
okay that is blind nah
I don't massively see the logic behind
well
give yourself second pick you have counter pick why the emphasis on locking in the nah this early on
ทำไมถึงรีบเลือกนาวะ
considering their options in this situation
that seemed like a tilt lock to me from Rich
เพราะแบนเกวนกับน็อกเทิร์นให้แล้วรีซินด้วย
very confident on
the games.
Now Pyosik toying with a few different ideas obviously hovering his famous kindred that he's named after but instead going to be locking down the
Jarvan I'm not a massive fan of
ไลฟ์ท็อปยังได้เลยแจ็คนี่ว่า
some of the mobile picks have been taken away and it is just generally strong
หนูมาจากสมาคมคนรัก Riot เขาลือกันว่าพี่เป็น CEO Riot จริงไหมคะ
Riot's been doing a lot better than the Talia if we're being honest and Jax into Nah
สมาคมมันเยอะจังวะ
the Jax can win out but not a matchup every player is comfortable taking due to obviously feeling like he is happy to take that one himself and then DN Super's looking to ban away some of the mobile picks. I think both teams honestly are like, what would be one of the nice safe picks. Interesting that DRX banned Kalista. Why would you ever want to play Kalista into Vitalia? That sounds like absolute nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that.
So interesting they opt to take that one away in this situation.
ที่ว่าไซย่านะ
I mean, I guess they banned it because they don't want to play Ashe Seraphine or something like that. Maybe that's maybe their idea of a champion that they want to play right now is more along the lines of a Kai'Sa or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Instead, they're going to be taking away the Karma next, and there is the Corki.
ไม่มีคอกี้ด้วย
So now DRX likely going to be taking an 80 carry.
ไคซ่าก็โดนขังเอสเรียวก็ไม่มี
I'd like to see them just slam Ashe.
เล่นอะไรวะซิก
let you play Ashe. Just have
มา
a
แน่นอน
lane that is probably
ซิก
going to win.
100%
If you do then augment the lane with a Seraphine.
ซิกกับ
The problem is just playing it into the Jarvan is risky.
It's a Nico
ซิกชัว
instead.
The Nico is a denial away from him. Nico into Jarvan is honestly a bit of an impossible matchup because you can just cage you and then the Rocket Belt doesn't offer anything. I've seen a lot of times playing Nico into Jarvan just isn't a fun time.
ADC ที่มันพอจะมีความสามารถในการที่จะออกจากตรงนี้ได้ถ้าซัพพอร์ตไม่ใช่เทสสมูเดอร์ซึ่งไม่ค่อยจะเวิร์กวะซิกชัวเซรีไม่น่าใช่แล้วแต่จิมวูเล่นเซรีเก่งนะแต่เซรีมันไม่มีลูลู
At least has a lot of base potential.
พี่คิดว่าน่าจะเป็นซิกนะ
You can sync the wild growth with the engage, but you are going to get poked out a decent amount. You have the shielding there. Kai'Sa Nico does sync well with the composition and the dive potential.
And this is the handshake that we've seen a whole lot of. The Xayah into Kai'Sa situation dates back to 2017, as you guys will remember.
I think it ends up working out pretty okay for DRX. You know, it's a 80 carry who isn't too concerned about the threat of the Jarvan. Right, you have ways to get out of that, ways to mitigate it. It's very much a dive-focused composition for DRX. You know, it's pretty straightforward what you want to do. Yes, it's not the easiest task because you are dealing with like a Lulu peel, a Xayah has self-peel, Ryze is a little bulky. But if you get that early momentum, right? You should be in a good spot. You also have a Nico to bridge the lane for the Kai'Sa. My main concern is, obviously DNS have been on an absolute tear this series, but also this rise and the power that represents. But I think they have some decent tools. That's how I feel about them coming out of this draft. It's just whether they can execute is a big question.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. And I, for one, just want a little bit more League of Legends today. Feel a little bit cheated that we haven't had very much of it. I was expecting that this was going to be a pretty long one, as man, she has got a lot of tickets to go and see DRX, and let's see whether she can be rewarded here with some extra time at the Chijijiklo Park. As Lulu Zaya, not a lane that we've seen all that much of since when it was very, very popular in the Ardent Sensor meta. And we'll just have to see whether, once again, Dr. and Peter are going to have a great time here on the Rift. Let's get onto it here. Match point for DNS as we load up into Game 3.
ดูไปตกปลาไหมไม่ตกปลาด้วยอ๋อมันเสียดายเนอะช่วงเวลาตกปลามันหายไปแล้วอะต้องบัฟแจ็คตกปลาหรือว่าคนตกปลาได้เยอะกว่านี้ปะพี่เจน่าซื้อนี้ให้หนูตั้งนานแล้วเนี่ย
Maybe, you know, maybe we could get some silver scrapes queued up, you know? Maybe that's the angle that we're going to go towards. I was very adamant that it was going to be a long day today, and I feel cheated that it's not. So, well,
you don't know yet.
That's true. I was sorry, preemptively counting chickens is never something that we like to do here in the LCK.
แต่ไม่ได้ปรับความร้อนได้วะ
Apologize. It's alright.
You are trying to curse it though. You're doing a pretty good job. You are setting that up.
My friend Chronicler said that curses aren't real.
And we fired him for it, so...
Oh, yeah, true, we did. I forgot about that. All right, well, that was a pretty speedy response, and I feel put in my place.
อะไรพี่มันเป็นแบบ มันเป็นเหมือนกดแล้วมันจะร้อนอะกดแล้วมันจะร้อน
So used to it though. I feel like
แล้วเราก็
that blooming burst got a lot of value.
อุ่นๆเนี่ยจับแบบแอร์นวดหน้าแบบตรงนี้พี่กดมีสูตรเย็นไหมครับ
Looking all right. Now Peter looking to follow up, as we can see. You're not going to connect there out of Dr. though.
Honestly, it's a lot of Dr. trading with these feathers and just getting some chip damage in.
These recalls are actually working out quite effectively. As obviously in the early stages, the Kai'Sa is not having the most fun time. As Rich with Meganard charging up. Is likely to be all right. You mentioned it already. I believe it was Keen that was quoted saying that he really likes the Jax into this matchup, but not a lot of people do.
ใช่เหมือนถุงร้อนแบบ
and the Nar can do okay. A lot of it depends on how the game sort of shakes out. Right now, Dudu is doing just fine, as we can see. Get that wave shoved in as 6 wins in a row here for this rise.
Yeah, and the thing is, Talia's win rate is really not great in general.
Yeah, pretty.
A lot of the time we've seen Talia traded. You know, we've had the Azir Orianna trades. We've had a lot of Rise Talia trades. So when you
คือหมอบอกให้พี่ประคบร้อนตรงที่พี่ปวดแบบปวดตรงด้านเนี้ย
hasn't been so good.
Even if she's into other stuff, it also hasn't looked very good.
ทีเนี้ยมันปัญหาไอ้ประคบร้อนอะมันต้องเอาไอ้ถุงเจลอะไปเข้าแบบไปแช่น้ำอุ่นแล้วมันก็อยู่ได้ไม่นานเว้ย
Everything's pretty short ranged. There's a decent amount of champions like the Jax
พอมีอันนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นนวัตกรรม
there's good value into.
Yep.
You also have the Vi for setup, the Nico for setup, but yeah, not the largest amount of confidence in this pick. I feel there's a lot of picks going around in the meta at the moment that we don't have overwhelming amounts of confidence in.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit worried about this Kai'Sa in the lane right now. It's not necessarily functioning the greatest. Zandil has made his way back to it. Let's find a decent snare onto Peter. But also gets the 3 at passive. Nicely done. Fair bit of poke damage down.
จะ 3-0 จริงเหรอวะ
Still have the heal available, as does Peter. A very even game as far as the some of the spells are concerned, and now looking for a little bit as Zandil's in a lot of trouble. Does manage to throw down.
จะใส่เสื้อ Gen G วันไหนครับ
Very happy to tank one shot.
วันเสาร์นี้ครับ
And Anno might just be recalling again. Does help? I assume had refillable running. But decides nope. I need to go back. Yeah, lane not going too hard.
คือยังไงก็แล้วแต่คือพี่ว่าถ้าให้เลือกระหว่าง Gen G กับ FX พี่ก็ต้องเลือก FX อยู่แล้ว โดนได้อีกแล้ว
He's going to use it, but closes here as well, and just comes past, picks up first blood and leaves.
Yeah, I think before Closer got there, the chances of Jiwoo surviving were maybe like, you know, 3 to 5%.
Yep.
Closer turns up straight to 0.
Yeah, I'd say that that's the 100% death chances. Oh,
Yeah.
that feels bad.
You know, actually,
puts
there
his
was
barrier
a
on cooldown.
The chance of survival was minus 3% with a 3% margin for error.
Aha. Yeah. We're still going to put that in the comms column. As Closer does get knocked around just a little bit here. And Dudu just giving a good old thumbs up to Rich. Trying to rub it in as best he can. The mental warfare pretty strong here for Dudu right now. Level 6 for Yukal. Got to stick around in the lane. But Weave as well, not exactly going to be employed off cooldown.
Well, Closer getting that early kill feels really good. 2 dark seal stacks as well on the rise already. I mean, getting a roam off before you even have ult on the rise. You'll take it.
That's pretty absurd. Did use his Ghost in order to make that happen. DRX are able to come on over and grab themselves this first Cloud Dragon. And so Willa able to help lock that one down as Pyoshik now looking towards the top side of the map. Not a whole lot of camps there, but there is a Nard that's very pushed up. So that might be an option. Decides instead that he's going to scry and gets a control ward in to make sure that he knows exactly what's going on. Going to settle for this crab. And so DNS still with a decent gold advantage after that first blood, but the Dragon going over to DRX is certainly better than what we've seen from them in the prior games. That's a little bit of a demonstration as to how things have been going so far in this series. DRX haven't quite managed to make it work.
มีแฟดมีโค้ดน่าจะสบายๆเรียบร้อยสองอันเลยครับก็ไม่รู้ว่ามาทำไมน่าเอาซิกมาป่ะ
And DNS, it's feeling like a repeat of the last couple of games.
Feeling really good for DNS. You know, Pyoshik goes mid, instantly ults as soon as he gets it. Trades that cooldown for the flash, big pickup, and then bot lane, Dokdam out trading Jiwoo constantly in this lane, manages to find the Feather Call, and then Peter, it feels even better because you're trading summoners, you know, Jiwoo's flash goes down, you trade your support flash, you get the
หนูมาจากสมาคมคนรักเจนจีเขาบอกกันว่าพี่เป็นคนตั้งสมาคมเพราะอวยพี่โชคจริงไหมคะ
It's not there yet. And I wouldn't hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen, if that's what you're looking for. As DNS once again just looking in fine form. Rich hopping around just a little bit there as Counter-Strike just try and mitigate. There's the flash in as we got the zoom from Jonas Strong as well. Rich does have that Mega Nard charging up, and Dudu is not going to party underneath the turret, so it is going to be DRX making their way out. So flash is traded here in this top lane. But Dudu, I think, won the mental battle.
I think every top laner feels like that playing into a Gnar eventually. Just wants to flash in him and blow him. Oh, the slow, that call from Peter set it up actually.
Yeah.
And then Dokdam pushes in, and the call there
เหมือนพรุ่งนี้จะเป็น DN Super ไปเจอกับ DK หรือเปล่า หรือเปล่า
Down goes the Xayah. No option to use that Feather Storm at all. And now Closer is in the back of this pit, has to flash, and doesn't waste any time doing so. We'll get the ping out on that control ward as well. So DRX back on the board.
Good flash there from Willa. Had to make sure the CC was layered, otherwise Dokdam would have gone into the air, and not sure the kill would have been able to come through. But able to just catch him off guard.
Yep, did so before the Wild Growth was available as well, as Peter just hits level 6 immediately afterwards, and Dokdam flashed for this.
Yeah, they were trying to set up play, gone aggressive. And the thing is, they had vision initially on Willa. It did sweep though, so maybe didn't have the exact timing of when he was going to come in. Made it hard to flash it.
Yep.
And Willa able just to get in. Good read from him. Finds the angle. Able to punish that aggressive play from DNS's bot lane.
Beautifully done. Closer then has to put his flash on cooldown as well. So that might be an avenue of attack here for Willa next time around, as now Pyoshik parking himself, looking for a kill onto Rich, who's holding this minion wave away from the turret, but Closer's moving in as well.
ไม่มีแฟดครับผม เรียบร้อย
Closer's going to come on through and just take another freebie.
Closer just, every time, he just walks over, picks up a kill. See you later.
Yep.
Going back to mid lane.
Yep. This game is just feeling like feed the rise here for DNS.
It just doesn't even look difficult. It's not, he's not even using the Realm Warp to like make these plays. You know, the one he did in the bot lane, we didn't get a kill for that. He actually just flashed out.
Yep, just wandered on in. Well, now Yukal is having to deal with this Fed Rise, who doesn't have damage built just yet, but that is going to be coming shortly.
Well, is mana, and mana translates to damage.
That is true. That is very true. The Rod of Ages not quite done. Probably has money for it, scarily enough. As DRX just trying to pick up the pieces as best they can. Slight gold advantage somehow for Jiu here on this bottom side. So that's good news for DRX, but looking at how things are going, you'd say that it's not good news for DRX.
ใจคอจะ 3-0 จริงดิ
Earlier, so that helped him out, but plates coming in will put Octam back in control. And I feel like I've seen Andal
แต่ว่าคอมเขาก็เป็นคอมแบบวายทาริยาแล้วก็มีใครสาเข้ามาเก็บคิวก็ไม่แน่นะ แต่เขาคงไม่คิดว่าจะเจอแจ็คด้วยแหละไม่เห็นต้องรีบเลือกนานะพี่ว่าเลือกวายทาริยามาก่อนก็ได้
Yukal does have his Seraphs now done, but the Rod of Ages immediately comes through for closer. And he does have that 500 gold advantage. It's not a massive lead, right? It's still only 700. The problem is every game this series has felt kind of like this at the beginning. However, the Dragons have not been unanimously taken by DRX in the early game.
แต่พี่คิดว่าเขาคงอยากให้เขาเลือกแจ็คละมั้ง
Pureshik is coming on over. Spotted on that wall.
เพราะจะได้วายจะได้ไม่โดนป๊อปปี้อะไรอย่างงี้ เอานาไปให้โดนเคาน์เตอร์
Here to help back up Pureshik. Let's see whether the Jarvan can get in or whether DNS are going to give this one up. Geo moves over. That is the Dragon secured.
แต่ก็เป็น strategy ที่โหดร้ายสำหรับเลนท็อปเลนนะเลือกท็อปเลนให้แบบโดนเคาน์เตอร์พิกเพื่อที่จะทำให้เลนอื่นไม่โดนเคาน์เตอร์พิก
We thank you for your attention to this matter. Ox, do my best. Really do appreciate it.
คือถ้าเขาเลือกป๊อปปี้กับแจ็คเขาก็จะไม่ได้เจฟูก็โดนแบนถ้าเขาเลือกก็คือเลือกป๊อปปี้มาในนี้ก็คือจะขาดแจ็คขาดอะไรเงี้ยก็แบนได้
I mean, they're not really that far behind yet, but it's just these mistakes in the mid game. Yeah. They've really started to bleed out and just making sure they
หรือว่าจริงๆแล้วลิส
that trap
กับ
again.
DRX เขาไม่ได้คิดแผนอะไรอย่างที่พี่คิดเลยคือไม่ได้แบบโอ้ยอยู่ไม่โดนแนวนะ
Does have the counter strike now, but gets a bit of movement speed and is now looking for a bit of an angle as Pureshik's going to turn up. There's a Cataclysm onto Rich. Pop Blossom does not a whole lot of anything at all, and the Nara is just dead. Spiked.
โยนคิวไม่โดนแล้วก็เลยฝืนแบบทุกอย่างระเบิดกันไปหมด
Pureshik going to grab yet another one. 103 now for this guy.
เหมือนลิสจิตใจไม่ค่อยดีแล้ว
Looking like a Pureshik palm angle as this coin is looking rigged here today.
Just feels like the set plays from DNS so often they'll go for this proactive play and it's like there are 4 members there every time and it's like DRX like okay Andal try and make a gank at the top. Oh, there's 4 members of DNS there every time. I mean, even that play they made on the bot side where Closer was there. Did they need Closer? Probably not, but they brought him in to just make sure it happens. And it's similar here. The whole team is moving, collapsing. You see the Talia's a bit late, Willer's a bit late. It's just not as coordinated for DRX. It's just everyone's on a bit of a different page. And they end up getting caught off guard.
เกินถือว่าเกินคาดไหมคู่นี้
This is one of those things where DNS just read them like a book.
อุตส่าห์แบบ
Let's see whether it's going to continue that
สู้สองทีมนั้นได้แบบ 3-2 อ่ะสู้ DK ก็ได้อะไรเงี้ยมันควรจะไม่ 3-0 อ่ะ
Not looking for a killer instinct or anything like that though with
อย่างน้อยต้อง 3-1 อะไรเงี้ย
You get the heal cooldown, so I guess there is that.
มีคนหยิบวาลาท็อปหรือยังใน LCK ยังไม่มีเพราะว่าคินไปลองเล่นแล้วโดนโอลาฟเคาน์เตอร์แล้วแบบแล้วแหลกเลย
As there is a nod to throw him against the wall. Wallop comes down as well, and that counter-strike did not a whole lot of anything at all. There is the cease and desist. Xander was tanking up that turret for way too long, and he is just going to die now. Doo-doo!
Oh my god!
By the Void Seeker.
Void Seeker.
That Willer is not going to make it out, and Dr. Army is going to seal his fate. So 2 for 1 in favor of DNS.
Still favorable for DNS, even with the snipe from Ju, and it makes you think if that Void Seeker had been blocked, hadn't connected, would have been even worse. Now Pureshik won't find.
Yeah, not the greatest of blast cone angles.
But the bot tower is going to go down. Some camps going to get stolen.
DNS ถ้าเล่นฟอร์มนี้นี่แม่งเผื่อตบ DK เนี่ยฟอร์มเนี้ยแล้วฟอร์มนี้เผื่อแม่ง T1 ไม่ได้สะดวกสบายเนี่ย
Well, there is some respite.
I mean, they haven't lost the game yet.
Well, I was going to say, if they lose this game, they won't be able to lose anymore after that.
Hey, that's a really good point. Man, your cup is always so half full, Ox.
Just trying to stay positive.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, they tend to play around up Pureshik just to try and disengage. Dudu's super low. They don't see the Void Seeker coming. Maybe if it'd been blocked, would have been really bad for DRX. if Dudu didn't even go down, but yeah, ends up not working out. Again, it's DRX trying to make a proactive play, DNS answering, always having the people in reserve to turn up to counteract. When they make the plays, they have enough members, they have the coordination, they make it happen.
ไม่ได้เล่นด้วยกันเลยครับ
it just feels like it often takes too much time, or someone responds, or even when it works.
แต่ว่าเงินก็ไม่ได้ฉีก
how long
นะ
did it take, you know, and there's something being answered.
ก็ถือว่าพอๆกัน
The set plays, I think, have really dictated this series, and it's been Pioshik who's been at the head of most of them.
Yeah, he's just kind of figured
แต่ว่าซาย่ามันเป็นตัวเลดเกมเลย
here today. As Peter going to shield up Dokdon, but that Void Seeker did not find. And so DRX, there is a dragon up in 45 seconds. Pioshik is focusing on the Herald right now, which does have vision on it here. So DRX kind of know they have the ability to go down and set up around that dragon, which is going to be very important for them. Soul Point would really help alleviate a lot of the pressure here that DNS does have. As now Dudu and Rich going to be fighting. Nah comes on down. House is going to get decides to go in. Wallop avoided though beautifully, and the Grandmaster's Might from Dudu is going to make things so difficult. Cinders and the Flash will get Rich out of there. But I'm feeling like this Jax is working out as far as the counter pick option here for Dudu.
Some just exciting plays, honestly, in that one. Dudu dodging the stun with the leap strike as well. Both of them on the trifold spike. Pretty intense one. Rich having to back away, losing the Mega as well.
คือไม่ได้เคาะหัวด้วยแหละครับพี่คือถ้าเกิดเมื่อกี้แบบโดดเข้าไปแล้วแบบได้เคาะหัวจากทินิตี้สักหน่อยน่าจะดีกว่า
DNS are in the vicinity, and I don't think should be letting them get this.
No, I don't think so. Teleport back for the Jax. So that means that Dudu is on the map.
ไม่มีแฟลชก่อนมังกร
Very scary right now.
เฮ้ยแจ็คแต่ว่ามีหลอดขาวเยอะ
Now they're going to try and collapse onto Dudu.
ไม่มีแฟลชครับดูหลอดขาวหมดแล้ว มังกร
possible.
เลยได้ปะเหลี่ยมวอลมาด้านหลังตึมเลยครับตรงนี้ได้ดูไปก่อนนะเฮ้ยดู
And down goes the Jax. Just bring all your friends. That's the way to
ไม่
deal
เสีย
with it.
สเปลไม่เสียสกิลเลย
Down Pioshik immediately mounts, and Shelly is going to try and do what she can. Looks for another knock up here, but he's just going to take the river exit. As yeah, Pioshik will get a charge, but may give up this dragon. It was a weird maneuver.
Yeah, trying to use it for the team fight, Herald, but they just don't really find an angle in. Losing the Jax a big hit before the fight, and DRX, the Dragon Wincon, really coming online.
Yeah, so that is Infernal Soul Point. All three of them going their way, and now
Takluz
is so far up. Okay, well, Cease and Desist is going to come down.
โอ้เมิร์กเทดไอ้เหี้ยเดี๋ยวนะมันลอยใช่ปะมันไม่ทันว่ะ
Yeah, Closer almost falling for the same trap. Dudu just died too, but
surely they don't do it again, you know?
You know, maybe
DRX
just found their winning strategy. Whoever shows up bot, just kill them.
That's a good strategy. That'll get you some gold, you know?
And maybe a fourth dragon. The gold lead's not that crazy in this game. As much as DNS have had that lead and do still have that lead, right? You have 2 items on the Kaiser, it's a big spike. You have those 3 dragons in pocket. It's a winnable game. It hasn't felt super good. This game hasn't felt like DRX suddenly have
tempo vibes are not in DRX's favor.
Yeah, but the 3 dragons in pocket gives them a win con. It's going to come down to that 4th dragon fight. Make a break for the series, if we're being honest.
Oh no, Yukal is doing the 0 damage build.
Oh no.
I heavily dislike this build. Heavily.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Just, it feels so sad. You do at least slow them a little bit when you hit them with a rock.
You have a lot of slows in your kill already though.
I never said it was a good thing. Oh well. Handle gonna try and use his decoy in order to block some damage here, but his turret is just gone. Locked on there with a bunch of players who will be able to deal with it. Rich being a little bit frustrating now, as after that kill, feels like it's added a bit of gusto to this Nah, who is all of a sudden 30 CS in the lead.
DNS เล่นแบบ slow play มากเพราะว่าตัวเขาเลทกว่า
for Rich as well. Trying to take matters into his own hands. Pioshik turns up top lane, but the cavalry is arriving. As Andal will be able to get that Phaelite back under their control. As Rich just desperately trying to take this turret down. As Pioshik on vision here, gets his flag down, spots that Andal is still in the vicinity. Rich is relentless, man. He really wants his turret.
Should be able to get it. I mean, DNS are moving to defend, but
ต่อย
I'm in trouble.
โอ้
Featherstone timing fantastic, but now it's on cooldown.
มีแฟดมีทุกอย่างเอาจริงเหรอ
And Dogdom
เฮ้ย
is the flash forward. Cease and desist comes down.
ว้าวสวยมากวิลเลอร์
Is the kill.
จังหวะทีเผลอดงดำกำลังจะแบบว่าเดี๋ยวจะใช้แฟดเรียบร้อยเลยครับตรงนี้ลิชไม่น่าตาย แต่ว่าไม่มีบาลอน
And Dogdam opting to go back in after he used his ultimate. I was like, oh, he ults, he stays alive, he gets out, and then he's like, you know what? I still have it in me. I'm like, I think you should just leave.
Yeah, the just leave angle would have been a really good one.
So you can tell this ult is just on reflex because he ults in the complete wrong direction. But it's like, cool, you're out, the wall comes in. I'm like, you need to start moving. But it's like, hey, I'm going to try and position. I want to save my flash. He gets ulted. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Maybe they thought that he could bait, and so Kosha could then get the wrap around. They bide their time so that Dudu can teleport in, and he can, I don't know.
คือพี่เข้าใจช็อตนี้นะเพราะว่าวายมันแฟดไปแล้วอะเฮ้ยวายไม่ได้แฟดนี่มันต่อยดอกแรกมันต่อยแบบมันต่อยแฟดป่ะรอบแรกอะแต่รอบ2ครับมันรีแอคไม่ทันจริงว่ะ
Willer's flash is down though, so the Vi not gonna have that tool available. Everything really I think comes down in this dragon fight. But the pressure is a bit more on DNS within this game specifically. In that they not only have to win the fight but also secure that dragon to deny the soul. Pressure is very heavily on DRX because
คือเล่นเพื่อชงให้กับไคซ่า
down in the series. Yeah.
ยิง
But in this game specifically, they're starting to pull into a bit of a better spot.
Yeah, I mean that's a gold lead now. 1 minute until the Infernal Soul point can be cashed in on, and that will be so much extra damage. And Yukal definitely needs that. Because he's got the no damage build. Maybe he just knew, oh, I'm going to get Infernal Soul. That's fine. You know, this adaptive force will help my 0 damage build do a damage.
There you go. You know, and then
perfect.
With my Rylai's, I can pretend I have Hextech Soul.
ว่าจบ3หรอ3-0หรอ แต่ว่ามังกร DRX ได้หมดเลยนะ อีกตัวหนึ่งได้มังกรโซไฟแล้วนะ
Rich and Minina, not exactly too psyched, but man, that boomerang proccing the hyper, able to answer back that trade quite nicely as Willer realizing that he's not having a very good time. The Weaver's Wall to get Yukal out. And now, Andal is also surfing over. Looking for that pop blossom angle. Featherstone now down as well. Cease and desist comes in though.
ได้ปะเฮ้ยได้ดกดำปะดกดำจะตายดกดำตายเอาแล้วมังกรไฟสโลไม่โดนแต่ว่ามีล็อกขาแน่นอนโอ้ล็อกไม่โดนฟาล็อกขาไม่โดนไงมันรอดได้ไงว่าลูลูได้โซไฟด้วยครับ
Soul now for DRX and a gold lead.
All right.
For the first time in the series, it feels like they finally arrived.
Can you do a hands check? What's on your hands? Do you see it?
I see it.
Oh, it's starting to appear. There is game. I'm starting to see it. All right. Well, Yukal managing to wall out, so the Realm Warp does nothing at all, and then Andal finds the angle.
The TP coming in as
well.
ไปแล้วแล้วโดนงัด Ult to dodge Nico World. The follow-ups there. Rich comes in with Mega. Perfect timing to get into the fight.
เดี๋ยวนะปกติลูลูต้องมีระฆังป่ะตาเนี่ยคือระฆังก็ไม่มีระฆังหรอคือถ้าโดนล็อกขาก็ระฆังช่วยจะได้ไม่ต้องเฟเตอร์สตอม
Yeah, Jill also has Dusk and Dawn. This 3-item spike on the Kai'Sa is insane.
Yeah, gigantic. Well, let's see whether Pyoshi can. No, he can't get in there. As Weaver's Wall to get Yukal.
ไม่ได้ไปว่ะโคเซอร์โดนมันขัดอ้าวตายแล้วโคเซอร์ตรงนี้ยกมา2ตัวอ้าวสวยนะ DRX ช็อตนี้ยิงอยู่ครับยิงยิงไคซ่าดัสเซนดรอนตายยกมา2สวยมากโอ้ my god ยูแคลแต่ว่าเอสแต่ว่าตายไปเยอะได้ระฆังมาแล้วครับปีเตอร์
Dogdam trying to make the hero play there is shut down by Yukal. We see the Baron get secured, and then Yukal tries to make this wall happen. It's just
มันแจ่มมากเนาะดัสเซนดรอน
by closer, but the team just go, okay, well, we'll just kill the Rise immediately. Carry down. Some of the engages from DRX are a bit scuffed. Rich doesn't connect immediately, but the front line gets decimated. Pyoshik down, Judu down. Dogdam tries for the hero play, takes down the animated carry.
Man,
just
so
lifts
close.
the blade slightly, but here he's still going.
วิลเลอร์ก็พยายามจะต่อย
But Yukal just launches a boulder at his head and says goodbye, good night.
Yeah, beautifully played, and that means 4-0-6 for Yukal. All right, he's continued down the I don't need damage from my items route as he's completed Azonya's as item number 3. It's not likely that he'll die, and he might be able to hold on to these Dark Seal stacks that he's built up as well. Let's hope it's a Magi.
คือเป็นบิลที่ให้ไคสาได้ผ่อนคลายอ่ะเข้าไปลดสโลช่วยแล้วไคสาก็ได้แบบรีโพซิชันยิงชิลแต่ถ้าเกิดสมมติเปิดใส่ยูแคลก็มีโล่ขาวมีนาฬิกาไม่ตายแล้วก็สโลเล่นไปเรื่อยๆเล่นเพื่อให้ไคสาเล่นง่ายจริงๆออกบัตรเลเตอร์ยังได้เลย
So it's going to feel a whole lot better. Flash Cataclysm for Pyoshik here, but where's the follow-up? He does drag his way out as the Pop Blossom is actually baited quite nicely. As Willow flash forward, there's the season of
พยายามแล้วว่าลูลูคือทุกอย่างแล้วว่ามันไม่รอดจริงว่ะ disgusting วายทาริยาแต่ว่ากว่าจะได้เล่น
And Willa has just consistently found Dogdam on this Xayah, not giving him a chance to use the Featherstorm, either waiting for it to be down or just buffering his Q with a flash, so he doesn't even get a chance to press his button. It's been working so well so far. This composition, this engaged dive comp, is being paying dividends for DRX. 6,000 gold lead.
Do you know what? I actually feel kind of frustrated though. I feel like blind Nash
ทุกไฟได้เก็บตามพื้นเลยมันเป็นเวลาที่ตาไหนเป็นโซนมังกรไฟมันจะมีไฟตกตามพื้นครับเก็บจะได้มูเมนต์สปีดนิดนึงแล้วก็จะแป๊บหนึ่งนะในช่วงเวลาแป๊บหนึ่งแล้วก็จะได้ลดคูลดาวน์แบบนิดนึงเหมือนกันแล้วเวลาตายมันก็จะคายไฟที่เก็บออกมา
He's done a job.
Yeah, the blind does not see death. Oh dear. I mean, the game isn't over just yet, but it's a 6,000 gold lead. It's Infernal Soul. The Baron did a bunch of work in knocking down that bottom inhibitor turret, and DRX kind of owned the jungle.
Yeah, both of DRX's carries have Zhonya's as well in pocket, which makes them really hard to deal with. It's just a tricky spot to be in.
I would say tricky certainly does fit the bill. As closer, looking for an angle once again. As there is another flag
ขังสวยเนี่ยแฟดสวนว่าอันดิวแต่ว่าตายไปแล้วมีใครสามาพยายามจัดการซาย่าตายแนวหลังตายหมดแล้วเรียบร้อยน่าจีแล้ว
DNS they realize that what they need is a Hail Mary, and unfortunately they span around on the spot and fell over, and DRX will just wipe them out.
Wall blocks some of the team of DRX, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Jiu and Yukal should just be able to close out the game at this point with long death timers. Wave coming up mid. DRX have found themselves a game in this series.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, Jonas Strong and Widit's predictions die, but we are gifted with a series, ladies and gentlemen, the beginnings of the DRX reverse sweep.
เรียบร้อยครับ
You know what?
ทำได้ครับ DRX ไข่แตกแล้วครับ 2-1 ไม่ 3-0 นะ
Oh my goodness, it was really getting frustrating.
And I'm glad they could bounce back. You know, the composition, straightforward, right?
Yeah.
See target, kill target, but again, into things like a Xayah, not always the easiest to pull off. And I think Willa having a fantastic
ช็อตที่
game.
ทำให้
Really just making Dogdam feel
DNS
uncomfortable.
แบบ
And
เสียเทมโปเสียทุกอย่างแล้วก็คือช็อตดกดำแบบ
on literally
ไปเล่นเพลย์เสียง
the real hero, the blind gnaw.
Absolutely.
You first take that gnaw and you do it with style and confidence.
คือเฟเตอร์สตอมไปแล้วแล้วก็ไปยืนแบบเสี่ยงเจอวายเปิดเรียบร้อย มีแต่คนหมดตัว
That will give DRX what they need to pull back the tempo vibes in this series. I want to apologize to Udit. He's not a jerk. He was actually quite humble in his almost victory of his prediction as well. But it's time for us to take a short break. When we get back, ladies and gentlemen, the space is going to break down that game, and then we'll have the potential beginnings of a reverse sweep. We'll see you soon.
Last Crosser เขาไม่ได้เล่นโยนเหรอพี่ไม่ลองถามดูเห็นสตรีมอยู่
เฮ้ยแล้วจีมณีเขียวต้องทำละ no butter แต่ไม่คือเขาเล่นเขาดูแข่งไงก็มันพักอยู่พี่ไม่รู้ว่าละพี่ไม่รู้ว่าฮัสซันตอนพักมันในนี่เปล่าไงดูอะไรเปล่าอ่ะมันซ้อมเป็น10 นาทีนะเว้ยคือถ้าถามว่าน้องมันก็มาแล้วแต่พี่คือน้องบอกได้ดิพี่แต่ทีนี้มันก็กลายเป็นว่าแบบคือมันปกติมันทำอะไรอ่ะพี่ไม่รู้อะไม่เอาเดี๋ยวให้ไว้ค่อยก็ได้ครับ ว่าแต่พี่มีเพื่อนฮัสซัน
หายใจเข้า JJ หายใจออก JJ อับดุลถามอะไรตอบ JJ
ปัญหาคือทำไมพี่ไม่มีเพื่อนฮัสซันวะเอ๊ะแล้วทีนี้ของพี่ดูไม่ได้แน่นอนเพราะมันแบบห้องแม่งหายไปแล้วดูว่าลุงจีมันดูได้ไหมอะไม่ได้ปะไม่มีไอ้ห้องบอกห้องซ้อมมันจะไม่เห็นมั้งไอ้มารสวรรค์นั่นแหละลองเป็นเอ็กซอร์ดูอันนี้วิจัยอะไรอ่ะ11ไวรัสโยเนใช่บรรพการมารสวรรค์ถ้าแบบนี้ไม่เวิร์กจะได้ไปลองเล่นแบบเป็นโป๊กดู
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
ตั้งชื่อภาษาไทยในเกมยังไงก็เข้าไปที่เว็บและออดแอดเคาท์ครับแล้วก็ไปเปลี่ยนชื่อ 15 กับ 25เฮ้ยพิวแล้วรอบหน้าพี่โยนอันนี้พี่ปกติต้องโดนป่าแน่นอนเลยเว้ยแต่ว่าเรานี่เราซ้อม1-1ไงถือว่าซ้อม1-1ไปก่อนเรื่องป่าไม่นับพี่ได้เทรดวะเทรด E มาเอ้ยมารสวรรค์มันโยเนไม่เก่งยังไงวะเนี่ยยิงต่อไปก่อนต่อเลือดมันเอ้ยลูลิโต้ใช้ได้อยู่นะดาเมจเป็นแคล่วคล่องดีเว้ยไอ้น้องอุ้ยโดนป่ะเรียบร้อยลูลิโต้ได้จริงๆอยากให้ลอง6ก่อนอะอยากรู้ว่าสู้ได้ไหมอะพี่ตายนานละป่าเลเวล3คือก่อนที่เราจะไปคิดเรื่องนั้นอะเราเลนให้รอดก่อนคือเลนมันยังไม่รอดเลยพี่เล่นเจอโยเนะเนี่ยมันดูดิเอาจริงป่ะสู้ไม่ได้เลยอะของเขาอันเดอร์พี่ตั้งเยอะแต่ว่าคือเขาเข้ามาปุ๊บแล้วกดอีกไนท์เขาสู้ได้เลยสกินสวยนะสกินนี้สวยดิพี่ต้องซื้อรองเท้านี่ก่อนหรอ ต้องตีให้เร็วกว่านี้ถ้าเราตีเร็วรีตอลเราติดเร็วมันก็ทำให้ดาเมจเราจะโหดกว่านี้อดทนไปก่อนมาสวรรค์คืออยากรู้ว่ามันจะมีอะไรต้องอะไรอย่างเงี้ยต้องสู้ยังไงต่อเพราะมันจะมีช็อตที่โยเนอันติเข้ามาแล้วพี่จะสู้ไม่ได้รู้ว่าแบบถ้าเป็นเรื่องจริงก็คือโดนป่าแล้วแต่เลือดมันแทบไม่ลดเลยพูดจริงนะจีแล้วปะจีมันน่าสู้ไม่ได้แล้วล่ะขอบันนำเกินละ
But that's okay. It's Woodid. He's lovely.
เอาเป็นว่า
He's allowed to be a little bit smug.
ถ้าเล่นเจอรอบหน้าเรา
is going to move over to Wolf as the reverse sweep continues, or whether it's all just lights out and it's a 3-1 for DNS, and it's what the majority of people predict.
We had some 3-1 predators.
ขนาดหลบ R ได้ยังรีดดาเมจไม่ไหวเหมือนต้องถ้าเกิดสมมติว่ามี attack speed เหมือนมันจะสู้ได้มั้ง
As let's get into the draft here, second pick for the DN
สกิน
Supers.
ลิเลียมาตอนไหนครับ
DRX
ผมอยาก
first pick
พาแฟ
on
น
the
ผม
blue
มา
side
เก็บ
this
วิน
time
แล้ว
around.
ครับ
Yeah,
ปกติ
we've
มาตี
seen
สอง
so
ป่ะ
many of the power picks thinned out, I feel. We're still kind of maintaining this DN Supers, Bard, presumably Yunara, going to be the ban here. Pioshik being
มาเที่ยง
targeted
คืนตี
heavily.
สองเลยไม่เดี๋ยวนั้นลิเลียมันคืออะไร
Again,
อ๋อ
Lee Sin and Nocturne being taken away. But it's just really clamping down his pool, and more jungles are being thinned out with it being fearless, so he will have his pool tested more and more. There's still definitely picks he can lean on, you know, the Hecarim and the Kindred.
Hey, yeah, true. Certainly some pocket picks for Pioshik, as we know, as Nami also going to be
not
พี่กิฟต์
maybe just targeting some
26.5
sort of
มาตอนไหนอยาก
pick angle
ไว้
or
คอม
something like that to make sure that isn't as scary.
คือตอนนี้เราทำเหมือนเราทำเหมือนพี่อะประชุมกับพวกไลออด
Going to be taken away here. Feel like that
เรา
kind of
ทำ
hurts
ประดุจ
Rich
แบบ
as
นั้น
well. I feel like Rich has looked fantastic on the Cassante when he's picked it up. I believe still undefeated on the champion as well.
So interestingly, Gwen left open. It was
แต่ปก
opening
ติ
game
น่าจะประ
one,
มาณ
but
สั
that
ก
was
2
on
สัปดาห์
Rumble
3
to
สัป
come
ดาห์
through,
นี้มั้ง
right? But Gwen left open for the first time since
Oop,
then.
ban Nami.
Going to be banned
เพราะ
by
ว่า
the
เขา
DN Supers. Yunara open and available. It
ไม่ได้แบน
has
ลูเซียน
been banned out by the DN Supers for the whole series so far, and DRX is just going to lock it in. And we're talking eggs and 80 carry basket. That is eggs in the Jiwoo basket right there.
Yep.
ดูบายบ้างครับรอบ
Also,
นี้
Renekton stocks through the
ไม่มี
roof
เคนเน่น
because
ไม่
Kennen
มี
and Gnar, two of the picks you would typically pick into
มีเอ
Renekton.
ทอกของ
are
ลิชอยู่
gone.
นะ
Yeah, and now the Corki available as well. We've seen this picked into Yunara many times. Peter won't be able to go the Nami route because they banned it themselves. Kind of interesting there.
Yeah, maybe they were worried. They were like, we wanted to potentially go the Corki. We were scared they might, so we banned the Nami. But interesting adaptation. There is no Lulu to pair with the Yunara, so the ideal pairings, I guess, that these 80 carries want to go with, the supports they want to go with, aren't on the cards. Mundo being toyed with. Obviously a pick we've seen, not the most early impact, but can just farm up a storm, be kind of
Mundo
unkillable
jungle
later.
แต่ว่าจริงๆเฟล็กบนได้นะแต่ว่า
We've also established.
As we've found out.
เจสครับ
going
ผ
to be
ม
the lock in here as well for Rich. That is his answer to the Renekton. I feel like that can go horribly wrong.
That certainly can. Would you be crazy enough to go something like
lane Jace?
But I'm thinking for jungle for Pioshik, would you just kill the Jace over and over? You could go Sejuani, you could go Nidalee.
Oh God, yeah, you could.
I'm not. Nidalee feels crazy. I'm not sure, but I mean, who knows really at this point what you'd go. But definitely, if I'm thinking if I have a Renekton and I just go a jungler where you just farm the Jace, that's a viable strategy.
It absolutely is. And also, Rich has been targeted already in this series and is not feeling fantastic. Maybe he's the weak link that they could try to take down. Already, I'm a little bit worried for DRX and what this composition looks like as the Yone is going to be banned away. We are getting towards the bottom of the barrel as far as mid lane is concerned as well. All of these picks that you can see here are the sort of top of the tier list. Haven't had any weird ones come out just yet.
Yeah,
on the next one.
เจสกับบันโดนี่มันสลับกันได้ป่าวะ
That feels nice.
เป็นเจสป่าอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
Still like a Kali as an option, Syndra, some of the higher prior ones that are on the
แบน
cards.
ยูนิด้วย
Zoe is also one.
It's closer. He's always
ไม่
been a
แน่
bit of
นะ
a
นี่
Zoe
มัน
fan.
ยังเฟล็กกันอยู่ครับ
Yep.
เฟล็กอยู่นะ เจสก็กลางได้ครับ
What's going to be picked here by DRX?
จังเกิลก็ไม่ได้เร็วเหมือนเมื่อก่อน แต่ไม่ได้แย่มาก จริงๆก็แย่อยู่แหละ
Save the jungle to last, because if they do that, then I'm thinking it might be something interesting. You know the jungle matchup already.
Pyoshik counterpick.
หลีกมีอัปเดตอะไรบ้างมีอะไรบ้างครับพวกบัฟเนิร์ฟอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแหละครับแล้วก็มีบัฟไอเทมตัวสโคปให้มันดีขึ้นซึ่งมันก็ดีอยู่แล้วมันก็ดีขึ้นอีก
We have seen a little bit of Neferi, but you know we saw some last year. We saw one game this year.
It was picked into Vi though.
Yeah.
It's like the classic Vi answer.
You know, if we saw that last game,
yeah,
I could have understood it. But it does have that point-and-click ultimate. If you are
เดี๋ยวนะ Twitter เฟซไปเจอนาฟิลี่เหรอ
you know, it can do that. Toying with the idea of the TF, that global pressure.
Blind TF
Oh
is
my
kind of
God.
scary though. And a Karma going to be the consideration. That's going to help get a little bit of lane control here.
Yeah.
And a Yunara that can actually get to the wave feels pretty good, but does take away from Andal's ability to start fights.
Not a ton of lockdown on DRX, not a ton of CC. It's basically gold card and the tether from Karma that you kind of allow.
แล้วถ้าเกิด Twitter เฟซท็อปเลนล่ะ เจสกลาง
สาม
ตัวนี้จริงๆแม่งเฟลกกันนะเว้ย แต่เป็นวิกเตอร์น่าจะสะดวกสบายอะ
You know, you are banking on this Neferi getting the ball rolling. Otherwise, it's a Neferi into a Mundo.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, kind of like a dog trying to break down a brick wall.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily work. If you've ever tried to contain a dog, a brick wall would generally keep them in there.
Yeah, generally speaking.
Oftentimes, a wooden kennel would be enough. But a brick wall and a brick kennel would certainly be better. So yeah, I'd be a little bit worried about this getting a little bit out of hand. And on the DRX side, you're not seeing a whole lot of engage. You don't need it if you just inherently outrange, right? And shock blasts will allow DRX to put on pressure without necessarily needing to be the ones that start off these fights and then kite things back after that. Let's see whether that does actually work out here, because it's an eclectic draft. It's a little bit of a weird one, right? They've got some 1-through-1 potential, but I don't know whether that's how they're supposed to play this one out with a Mundo there and with the Yunara that's not the most safe trying to farm things.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, you know, burden of execution is pretty high for this side of DRX, but they have a lot of scaling elements in their composition. On the other side, it's kind of just like see champion, kill champion, with, you know, a strong scaling backline, but like you have Renekton and Neferi. So I expect they're going to try and kill Jace 17 times over. I'd hope they get the ball rolling for these two, otherwise they'll fall kind of flat.
Yeah, I think Rich needs to steal that mental completely as we get onto the rift here for game number 4.
มาเกมที่4ครับ
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game 4. Seeing whether DNS can finish off the series as one doggo just gets briefcased. Oh no.
Wow.
Just put a little hot dog in his briefcase. Now he's got lunch for later.
There you go. That's good planning.
It is fantastic planning. However, it's not what you want if you are the Neferi. As Pyoshik will at least be able to
ที่ไม่รู้ว่า Twitter เฟซมันไปเจอนาฟิลี่มัน
so that'll be okay.
มันจะทำอะไรใส่นาฟิลี่
Andal should probably have a fair bit of control in this early game.
หรือเขาอยากได้ตัวที่มันแบบบังคับให้นาฟิลี่ต้องไอ้นั่นน่ะท่าหลบอ่ะก็เลยต้อง เลือกทวิตเตอร์เฟสมาเพื่อจะได้แบบนาฟิลี่จะได้ต้องใช้สกิลหลบเหรอไม่งั้นจะไม่มีตัวอะไรที่แบบนาฟิลี่ต้องกดเลยกด W The claw of the pack
Yeah, for sure. Also, the slow setup from the Karma means you can easily hit your Slurkle.
There's a lot of Slurkle value because in theory, Andal when he mantras,
มันก็เป็นการเหมือนทีวันดาร์ฟตัวแดช5 ตัวเพื่อให้ทำให้ป๊อปปี้แบบไม่รู้ว่าจะกันแดนใครดี
Yeah, we have layers of it here.
Yeah, I was actually asked on Twitter what a collective noun of Slurkles would be.
เจสก็เป็นตัวสู้กับเลนตันได้ดีมากๆนะจริงๆหายหน้าหายตาไปเยอะครับหลังจากที่มันไม่ได้เป็นเจสแทงแบบในอุดมคติแล้วโดนเนื้อไปเยอะ
I don't think that's something. I don't think anyone should utter that in their entire life.
ช่วงที่อันเอนดิ้งยังเก่งอะไรยังดีอ่ะช่วงนั้นคือแบบเจสเก่งมาก
I know you're not.
All right. How many others are there? Not too many. So we're not going to need to deal with too much Slurkle talk. Although I guess Gravity Well is a little bit like that. So we do have a Slurp on the.
ก็ไม่ค่อยได้ฟาร์มสบายนะตรงกลาง
Okay. Well, looking for a little bit of an early drive-by.
Oh, Yukal is not having fun in this matchup.
No. Does have a gold card though, so Willow will be able to close the gap. Doesn't find the briefcase though. Just throws paper all over the floor. There's a Gravity Well. But Willow not too worried about being CC'd, and Closer doesn't have very much of anything left over, but doesn't want to go too far into the enemy jungle in case.
เดี๋ยวนะมันฟาร์มเสร็จกี่นาทีวะเนี่ยยังมุนโดอ่ะแม่งฟาร์มเสร็จเดินมาเล่นตรงกลางไปเอาเอ้ยหมาหมาฮอตดอกไหมหน้ามันโง่จัด
High value as Peter does put a whole bunch of buttons on cooldown, but DRX lose more.
Yep, a lot of summoners picked up. Peter still has Hex Flash, so you unlock that.
หมามันดูโง่มากอ่ะ
Also, I love that they buffed Corki's Valkyrie damage. Like, I think they did turn it back again, but they buffed it like 4 or 5 times in a row, something crazy. It's like ungodly levels. And now every time there's like an all-in.
Oh. Yeah, you just need to be Valkyrieing.
Yeah, the Corki will just W over them to maximize the damage output.
And it was Jiu that did this, right? He's the Black Cleaver Randuin's Corki guy that just Valkyries at you.
Yeah, Doctham's done it too, though. He even did it. He had a game where he did it last year as well. You know, innovators.
Love it.
Face tanking on the Corki.
Good old frontline Corki. And there's not a lot of true tanks here.
ตะกี้แอบเห็นแชมป์เล่นเดี๋ยวขอดูไปเล่นได้ปะเหมือนแชมป์จะไปเล่นมุนโดแล้วชนะมา3 ตาติดมั้ง
Just phenomenal. Is that like
Holy
pastry
crap,
wrap
man.
Instead of it's not a hot dog, is it? It's like the pastry wrapped like sausages. We have them here in Korea at a lot of the bakeries.
Yeah.
They're quite delicious. But wow, they're just you can really see something. There's something in those eyes, you know.
มันฟาร์มไวมากเลยว่ะ
It frightens me.
I see absolutely.
แล้วมันไม่ต้องมานั่งลำแบบค่อนข้างจะเหนื่อยแบบเท่าเอเบซ่าเลยแม่งปรับอะไรของมันไปเรื่อย
ๆ Oh, someone said pastry time because
โยนมีดต่อยไปเรื่อย
Oh,
love that.
That's cute.
Yeah. Shout out to Julian. Okay, Yukal might be in a little trouble. As Pioshik has turned up Flash to get him out of there, as we do miss a dagger. But Yukal, now with Flash on cooldown, certainly very gankable.
Yep, good pick up there. And Pioshik going for that before he even has a 6 available. Obviously, the point and click of the ultimate making a big difference. Not seeing any moves towards top lane though.
เปิดมังกรครับ
So we kind of expected.
พิโอซิกไปด้านบนเดินกลับมาก็นานเกินครับแล้วมังกรมุนโดเกิดมันเอาไวมากอ่ะโยนมีดใส่เรื่อยๆ
Yeah, sort of hoovers through that as now Dudu slice and dicing, acting all cool. Does have to flash to get the stun here onto Rich, but that closes the gap, and Rich just walks it off. Yep, there's the form change for the extra movement speed. Pioshik, if he can get the snipe, might be able to get something going. Doesn't have the ulti though, and I don't think he's going to be able to find too much. Rich actually electing to go away from the turret, away from the crocodile, and he's just dead even though he flashed.
Oh,
I'd say there's a little
เหตุเกิดจากการไม่แฟดหนีเลเนกตันเพราะว่าคิดว่าได้สเปลฟรีแล้ว
Pioshik had the ultimate available. You're just 100% dead. You don't even bother flashing. You know it. But I think he just thought
จะจำไว้ว่าถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าเลเนกตันแฟดเราต้องแฟดด้วย
The bleed was on him. The dogs were chasing him.
จะได้ไม่เสียเลือด
The fact you burn flash before Pyoshik even had ultimate available. Not even a terrible spot. Now return gang can set up for it. Speaking of terrible spot.
Oh dear. Yeah,
Valkyrie took him out.
Yeah, Valkyrie is going to be able to get Dr.
มันจะรีหายไปเลยพี่มันเป็นตัวที่เมื่อก่อนจะใช้วิธีการชนะแบบได้เงินรวยแล้วแบบสมัยไม่ต้องโหดมากก็ได้แต่ว่าใช้วิธีแบบแรงแต่ว่าแพทนี้มันไม่ได้แล้วอะถ้าคุณไม่ฟาร์มป่าเร็วๆมานั่งรอโยนคิวรอแก๊งมันจะไอ้นี่เลยมันจะมีปัญหาลินเจอรี่มันฟาร์มช้าเลย
And then here, so first Q misses but stops the recall. Second hit.
ขนาดตอนนี้เลนตันยังไม่หยิบลินเจอรี่เลย
The auto gets the dogs to hit.
แคนยอนตัวโปรดยังไม่หยิบเลย
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. As Rich now, I mean, does have grasp, is stacking that one up here against the Renekton over and over again, and still retains parity.
อันนั้นก็เรื่องนึงแต่เรื่องหลักน่าจะเป็นเรื่องของอยากได้กึ่งแบบตัวแบบบูสเตอร์มากกว่า
Must have been pretty close. It must have been like down in a second.
Yeah. So that's definitely good. Does mean that there is a slight gold advantage now for Dudu as well. And 300 is the lead here for DNS just in general. As we have a Mountain Drake coming up second. Possible double dragon.
แล้วมันหลบหอกง่ายหอกมันอาจจะไม่มีประโยชน์มาก
Didn't die because the last we saw Peter, he was like 20% HP, being tethered by Karma in front of a wave, but he lived. So we don't know what happened. I can only assume something crazy.
And he didn't have to flash.
ก็หลายปัจจัยว่ะปัจจัยตัวปักหวาดก็มีผลนะมันปักหวาดแล้วไม่เห็นนินจารีได้ง่ายด้วยส่วนหนึ่งอะไรเงี้ยหวาดไอตัวแฟร์หวาด
And Dr. I'm just getting sniped over
เจสนิยมดาเมจหรือแทงบ้างนึงแทงหายไปแล้วแทงหายไปเรียบร้อยล่าสุดก็อันเอนดิ้งก็เนิร์ฟเอาไอตัวกันเวทออกก็หายอีกเจสป่ามันไม่หายก็แปลกแล้วล่ะจริงๆรับให้เจสป่าดาเมจเอ็กแบบโบนัสมา50ดาเมจตอนนี้โดนเนิร์ฟเหลือแค่10ดาเมจละถ้าพูดตามตรงคือตอนที่ไม่มีบัฟดาเมจมอนสเตอร์ไม่มีใครเอาเจสป่าอยู่แล้วอันนี้คือบัฟเพิ่มมา10มันก็คงไม่แตกต่างกันปะมันน้อยมากอะไม่มีแฟนแต่ว่า
Rich looking worse for wear, cannot be in melee range, but that is Dominus now on cooldown for Dudu.
Are they gonna dive?
Well, they're looking at a possible avenue to do so, as we do have multiple people rotating over. My god, that phosphorus bomb did so much work. Andal has to flash, and Gio, I don't think he's gonna be able to get that one, as he's down to sub 100 health. The barrier, beautifully done, walks out of the way of the phosphorus bomb, as there it is, Gio able to get that last hit. And actually, it wasn't him. It was the Karma that secures the kill. And so therefore, Andal dies for it. As now Willa is trying to deal with Peter. It looked like Rich survived on that top side and teleported back.
Ends up very scrappy in the bot side play. Even though Doctam getting the kill, Andal getting it in return doesn't feel too great. A huge yes on the fact that Doctam's been left alone, he's picked up more plates.
Yeah, this is the thing, like they did manage to kill them in the bottom lane, right? So it does eliminate this entire wave.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too good. The barrier for Doctam does absorb max damage, so couldn't really ask for better than that. Jiwoo does bait him there, bait his flash out.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird scenario, as we saw there. I believe Andal sort of queued a minion point blank, but then got the last auto to lock down that kill. So they got what they wanted. Made sure that the Corki couldn't farm the wave, and that's why you see a huge CS advantage built up here for Jiwoo. And Drake has now spawned, and there is a Mundo right here. Like, DRX, they know what they want to do. They want to get dragons, and they want to get them quick.
That they do.
With all this bottom lane control, it's certainly something that they can make happen. As Yukal wandering down, but is taking a little bit of damage as he does so. Willa has his ultimate. And so even though he's at half health, he's probably still fine.
Now the top laner with TP, so it's just a 4v4 for this objective.
Yep. Rich is going back to base, or is at least considering it for the moment. As Pyoshik going to try and make this with 50-50 as G throws a slow
ไม่กลัวจริงก็เลยไปปาไพ่ด้านหลังโคเซอร์ ไปแล้วโอ้แต่ว่าคาม่าน่าจะไปด้วยโอ้แล้วแฟดเปิดครับตรงนี้โดกดำทำทำไมหน่อยได้ครับ
Andal takes so much
Peter
damage,
อีก
ends up
แล้
setting
ว
up for Pioshik to get a reset in that situation. And then Peter gets a huge engage, and look at the summoners on the side of DRX. Jiwoo, flash not used. Willa, flash not used. Felt they just went ready for the engage to come in, and yeah, Dragon picked up his big, but a bunch of kills over the
เดี๋ยว
DNS
นะข้างล่างเมื่อกี้ตอนที่ได้คอกี้คือนาร่าไม่ได้ฆ่าด้วยหรอ
The flank was really nice on a closer, taking that target out in the situation. But they could have just backed off here. They looked for more. Andal's low, instantly dies. That means Pioshik gets this shield on the reset ult, and Peter's engage is great. No summoners used from either the AD carry or the jungle. It just get exploded there.
Bulldog approved.
Yeah.
By the looks of things. As Closer is going to continue pushing things out.
Bulldog.
The Arcane Storm also managed to get a lot of value as well.
Bulldog approving of the dog gameplay.
That's true, and of the Corki gameplay, because he is, of course, a Corki aficionado.
There you go. There's layers to it.
Yep, it's Portal Combat. As Peter gets a bit of a shield, I believe, from a barrier that he stole. No, he doesn't actually have on his spellbook, so that was just his passive, so never mind. Looking for an angle here on Doctor.
วิ่ง
Like a greyhound?
ทีนิตี้คอกี้มันช็อตเทรดกว่าไง
Well, in this game, a hot dog.
The eyes definitely look very Chihuahua in this skin.
In this skin, oh yeah.
ผู้เล่น LCK ถ้าจะเข้าไปดู LCK เขาจะจองที่นั่งให้เลยเปล่าครับปกติมีที่นั่งของเขานะเขาจะมีสำรองไว้
There's a lot of quadrupeds in this game.
That would have been good actually. Also, just the animation needed a little dance.
Yeah, it's very funny that Victor is like he requires a staff. You know, like he's basically got 1.5 legs, whereas the rest of them have all got 4. Especially, you know, that's assuming Peter's wearing the pants. That's all right. It's a weird sentence. Never mind, we're fighting over a red buff here. As the briefcases are really starting to hurt. Willa moving forward, Closer getting flanked. And there is the gold card. Flash over from Willa to try and lock down Pioshik. Meanwhile, there's a fight on the other side. Jiu flashes over the wall to take down the Rel, and now Doctor is in a lot of trouble. Pioshik goes on top. There's the dash.
ว้าวสโลโดนด้วย
Comes on through to take down the Corki.
แต่ว่า
Pioshik has to get out of there, and another gold card comes on around. But that gravity well, a lot of value. Can Willa go where he pleases? That's the question. And as Mondo, generally yes, but that's a death rate. That's a little bit scary. Unable to get the fadeaway blue buff. Pioshik does at least get that, but DRX in good standing once again.
Massive comeback play, and Jiu gets so much gold off the back of that. Just makes me question, was that red buff going to offer something extra? You know, was it going to give
You don't know what that particular red buff was offering, okay?
Yeah, it seems like there was something extra on offer there, because DNS heavily overcommit to this. Pioshik's low, they're eating so many cleavers, and there's definitely a point where I'm like, it is just a red buff, right? And then Peter's super low. Jiwoo flashes over to chase. He's still getting backed up by Andal. Oh, what is going on?
Peter is dead.
Well, yeah, I can see
I believe he may have been hit by a Slurkle.
Mayhaps.
Yes. As Pioshik not exactly finding the daggers here. As DNS really... Okay, that's just UCal flashing. Looking for Doctor. Pioshik trying to get rid of him, but Willa is just going to walk after them. And so that was a weird flash from UCal.
Things have gotten a little weird in this game in general.
Yeah, I would say so. Oh. The stun turtle just working out very well.
A lot of fighting, a lot of scrapping, and honestly, I think DRX are okay with this. They have 2 dragons in pocket.
Yep.
Everyone has been, apart from Doctor. Doctor is just holding his flash forever. Okay, how did Peter die? Oh, I see it now.
All right, yeah, you'll die if you do that. Yeah. Okay.
เฮียเฮกแฟดไปจะไปขัดวาร์ปเขาเจอเขาหัดมาสวนตาย
I'm not gonna let him go back, guys. I will not let him do it.
He's not in the league anymore, but some days I still see his spirit on the Rift.
Oh, I see it too. I see it too. Oh man. The spirit of Beryl will never leave us. I assure you.
เขาขับกันเพราะว่าพี่คิดว่าเขาคงหันไปมองหน้ากันแล้วคงหน้าคงแบบหน้ามันคงตลกมากหน้าคงแบบว่าเฮ้ยทำมันทำไมวะ
Beautiful. Okay. I got my dose of Beryl play here today. and I don't think anything can really improve from this point on outside of 5 games. And DRX right now are moving us in that direction, although the gold would not tell you that. It is control of the Drakes that they have certainly had. Dudu might be able to help this though. He's the one with the teleport advantage. That's why Rich just has to run down here, and DRX are being apprehensive on the play. Geo just going to push out this wave, and it looks like they're just going to give this dragon up. As DRX still sticking around, but it is going to be Pureshik locking this one down. That is just going to be the turret taken. That's first Turret Blood over to the Yunara, which is a little scary. Doggo's blocking a lot of stuff this game.
Yeah.
Nicely done, little pastry sausages.
Blocking those cleavers is a lot of value, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, I think getting the dragon for DNS huge, denying the stacking from DRX, but still a big concern. You're playing into Yunara, Karma, doesn't feel good. Yunara, Karma, Mundo, just in general, the game extending isn't a great feeling.
There's a flash from Peter. This time we're going to try and take down Yukal as he is able to get that gold card out. Slice dice from Dudu, gets into the Dominus, and that should be a dead Yukal. However, he does get himself out as Pureshik is the one that has to come in.
Wow, Dudu.
Dr. finally shows up, asks everyone what the heck's going on, and breaks down the
แม่ง
turret.
คามาเกือบถึงป้อมแล้วอะดูเพิ่งวาร์ปลงอะแต่แม่งมาทัน
They did get him, took him down, got the tower as well. But in the meantime, DRX will just take the tower and trade on the top side of the map. So it doesn't feel like a huge advantage gained for a lot committed there. But DNS definitely being proactive.
Yeah.
Things happen. And that being said, he should be able to get that tower the next wave. But there are people moving back in return. Peter, he learned from last time. This is the exact same position. This time he has real flash, though, not hex flash. And also he jumps in when he's outside the tower range.
Oh, let's have a look at the same play again, as this time it's on to Andel. He takes a lot of damage, but Willa, he's so healthy, and there's a flash hammer from Rich to try and take down Peter. The bottom lane is now dead, and Gate into the back line. Yuko trying to get even more as Gio utilizing the ultimate so beautifully to make sure that there's no on this map either. And DRX, they really like Silver Scrapes. Like, this organization, they love that song, and they're looking for even more.
They just charged them down. They have the speed ups from the Karma. The Mundo is too tanky to cut through quickly. It looks like Pureshik, he's strong, he's fed. But he's kind of just waiting for an opportunity to go in. It just never comes up. Peter sets up on an Andel, but you don't really have the backup right now. Jiwoo jumps in, instantly starts shredding. Pureshik gets there, he's putting his bleeds down, but he just can't really do enough damage quickly. And by the time Closer and Dudu are there, it's too late. Way too late. And Jiwoo is fully online at this point.
My goodness. That was absurd damage as Joker very happy. Oh, I told you this almost so Oh, they're singing it already. This is what they wanted. They're like, throw away the first couple of games. We play better in game 5.
That's the
strategy. Yeah, make them tired. It's like those tennis players that were really good at the serve, but they get really tired later on.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago, Mark Philippoussis was definitely like that. Talking about Australian tennis players on a League of Legends broadcast that's global, it's probably not going to make a lot of people understand. However, it worked in my brain as a reference. So there we go.
That's the main thing. As long as it works for you.
I think Wadid may have understood as well. If you got a really strong service game, you kind of want to end it early.
He might have followed that, but I feel like Wadid is more into the new age tennis players.
Yeah, that's true. He did recently watch the Australian Open, though, so a bit of Australian Open history is probably for the best. As Closer not being here would also be for the best, as he's booped back towards Yukal and eliminated.
He definitely isn't there anymore.
No.
เจดแม่งไม่เหมือนในอาร์เคนเลยว่ะแม่งโหวตวิกเตอร์แบบไปอย่างไวอ่ะ
Oh, Closer's gonna actualize a second. We expected to see some more of this with the
on this patch, right?
Yeah, so expect to see more of this from the Aegis. Unfortunately, won't help.
All right, Gio is just gonna walk up to Peter and try and
สวยเลยมากสวยมากเลยยูคาล
take down Yukal.
สวยมากไอ้เหี้ยวาร์ปลงมาเลื่อนเหลือแบบ 20% ตายไปเลย
As Willow with the flash briefcase to snipe the Renekton and get another kill for Gio, who finds the Slurkle, gets the Valkyrie, and Doctom is going to have to blast cone his way out. Gio, I don't think, he's going to flash for it. Never you mind. I thought, no, he'll hold on to that because he might want it in the next fight. No! We are flashing for the kills.
And actually, it was quite a late death, so if he can get back in time, Doctom, he's going to have to rush straight to Dragon to be there.
เขาน่าจะไปเริ่มแพทใหม่เฟิร์สแตนเลย
from DNS. We see Yukao just flies into an uncomfortable position.
วันนี้ก็จุด3อยู่
And immediately gets deleted, but they just don't have the follow-up for the rest of the fight. Rich and Willow are just playing bodyguard for Jiu at this point. They kind of run out of gas in the tank. The fact that they don't have the Victor there means they can't really do much to threaten Jiu, and he just starts charging people down.
Oh, and the cleaver from downtown was enough to do it. Dr. not able to get himself out of the pit. They had the control ward over.
And now Dr.'s just respawned. Oh, very late to the dragon. It's only third for DRX, but it's still a heavy blow if they can secure it.
And Willa is just packing that lunchbox over and over again. Rich, possibly in a difficult position here off to the side, as DNS just going to brute force, walk their way into this river and look to try and take down this dragon. They know that they need to deny this soul point as DRX in position. That's a great shock blast onto Dr. But not doing a massive amount of damage right now as Willa tries to smite, doesn't find it, but now the damage just massive out of DRX as they pull in Peter. The Arcane Storm doing a little bit of work here, but DRX still want more as Jiu has to dash his way out of there. The ulti not exactly getting massive value, and 1-for-1 is the result.
And the dragon picked up for DNS, so I think they're more than happy with that. Ultimately, Jiu, his flash being down makes it a bit harder for him to team fight. The Mundo gets bursted through, and it's just hard for him to chase after the fact. You know, good smite there from Yoshik. He's still pretty strong on this Deferi.
มีแต่เลือดไม่มีแบบกันเวทไม่มีเกาะเลย
This series, the game, it feels like this Yunara is just too big of a threat for them to really handle consistently, but they are keeping themselves in it.
Yeah, I mean, if they kill Jiu, like, if Jiu mispositions, which he has done in this series so far, then they still stand a chance.
I also think, as much as getting Dokdam down, so he was late to this fight, you know, was an aspect, DNS still got on top of the objective, right?
Yeah.
So him flashing for that kill, being flashless for that is perhaps not the right decision. Oh,
yeah, we are destinying our way forward.
ได้แฟน
Flash now down for closer.
Actually turning it onto Dudu here as Yukao actually doing a fair bit of damage. Rich comes on forward.
อุ้ยมันแรงเกินไปปะวะ
They're looking for even more. Jiu just loves
ยูนาร่า
and he does so, but Pyoshik gets himself over that wall and will be able
อ๋อ
to
เคไม่ได้กดอันติไม่มีอันติ
However, now without Dudu, it's going to be very hard for DNS to team
มันเลย
fight
น้อย
around this Baron, which is where DRX kind of looking. Gold lead isn't gigantic, and it's double dragon to double dragon. 2 Infernals here for DNS. Means their soul point opportunity is very frightening. The amount of adaptive force they'll be able to stack up for themselves.
เวฟแบบเร็วเกิน
All right, there is still game here this time around. It was looking like DRX was starting to run away with it. But in this series, I mean, the counting of chickens is illegal, 100% illegal. I don't even know where the tempo vibes are now. I can't even feel it.
It feels very tense. This one feels very tense. It definitely feels like DRX has the edge just with Jiu being so strong. Yukao having these gold cards. Just every time he lands on it feels like someone's dying. But it doesn't feel clear-cut. DNS have this big engaged potential. If Jiu missteps and dies, it's just game over. So far, he's been solid. But all it takes is one bad fight, and it's just series over. DRX are the competition. So, yes, they're in a strong spot right now. Yes, odds are towards them in this game. But it's still tense, and they don't get a second chance. DNS still have another game if they lose this one.
Cool. Peter looking for the angle as he flashes into the crash
ไอ้
down.
ผู้เสีย
Actually, no, doesn't
บา
flash.
ลอน
The flash was Andal going out. Yeah, and if they manage to get that, and Jiu is out of the fight, then they just win, right? That is so much money removed. Like, the entire gold lead is represented in Jiu, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in terms of damage as well, like a TF isn't putting out crazy damage. The Jace as well, they nerfed his Shock Blast, and he is a lot about that poke. Like, yes, he can do damage, but the Jace can't really go in easily into a lot of these threats on DNS. So much is on Jiu. Not just the goal, but just the DPS in fights.
ที่เดิมนะ
is walking up again after just losing his flash. A little bit dangerous.
Peter could have maybe just done the same thing again.
I think the rest of the team wasn't quite ready this time around, but yeah, it's a little scary.
Rich just plays a little bit of tennis himself with Dudu here as Willa moves over, delivers him a
เจอแหลกเด้ง
Okay, that was some DPS.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Maybe we spoke too soon. As he
อย่าง
does
แย่
have his last whisper completed. Yoshik takes a briefcase as well. The doggos eat that one. Willa actually commanding control over the enemy jungle. And DRX going for the suffocation play right now. Twisted Fate in that mid lane will be able to put on pressure. At least Victor is pretty good at clearing out waves. But DRX working on this 4-1, and so far it's looking all right with the amount of jungle that they get to remove as well.
Yeah, but rapid fire for UCAL, very scary to deal with. We do see the Serpent's Fire coming out for Dokdam, so some shield shred into the Karma specifically.
And thankfully for DNS, Gio has gone like the worst 2 parts of the Infinity Edge, and does now have to wait quite a long time to complete that.
It does just mean though, especially with this build from Dokdam, trading autos with Gio is so hard. And once he gets to IE, it's just going to feel terrible. If he autos you and you auto him,
แต่เจรุ่นเกี่ยวมั้งมันขัดใจจริงเลยรู้สึกว่าถ้าเจแม่งแบบเฟดร้านอะไรเงี้ยได้มีเกตเตอร์ลิงซอม
That's a lot of money.
A little bit scary. 10 seconds on that dragon. Feels like time has flown since the last one, and it's DRX control the area, not even letting DNS
แต่เดี๋ยวถ้าเกิดเฟิร์สแตนมาก็กลับไปสตรีม YouTube ครับดูแข่ง
push up mid and get a look in.
Well, now UCAL throws out a gold card and then walks very far away. Rapid fire cannon certainly helping him here, but that bleed doing some work onto the Twisted Fate as Gio just going to start up this dragon, teleport in from Dudu. DNS not wanting to give this one up as gold card to try and catch him. He slices forward. Not sure about that one because he doesn't have access to the dice, but now they're looking for it. As Gio's surrounded, they're going to be able to take him down, and now the DPS is just missing. This one to be targeted. Pyoshik takes him out and it worked. DNS will be able to pick up Soul Point here. Triple Infernal, and the tempo vibes go straight back to them.
Jungle down as well. They might just be able to go Baron
ร้องเพลง
immediately
ว่าห้าม
after
ร้องหรือเปล่า
this. See the recall from close. I think he's going to TP for mana as well.
Man, that looked insane though. The fact that like Dudu was caught mid-slice and then still just gets the Flash Ruthless Predator and down goes Gio.
Yeah, he just went crazy there. They should have damage to get this down before anyone from DRX can really move in. They're going to look for some poke though. We'll see if they can force him off. If Shock Blast hits only Peter.
Yeah. And Peter does take a fair bit of damage there as Gold Card comes through onto Closer, but it's not really doing damage. As Andil taking the Crocodile for a walk, that's always dangerous as Peter's just dead, but he's just trying to buy some space. That is Pyoshik taking down the Baron, and Baron for one, you'll take that.
Yeah, I like the setup as well. You saw how Closer was moving up towards the exit. He was the only one who couldn't get over the wall easily. Everyone else moved to the back of the pit. They could escape with their mobility. So they just had an exit plan. They were like, Peter, you're going to die. We're going to sacrifice you. This was crazy, though.
ถ้าจิวไม่ได้เปิดมังกรแล้วอยู่ในพุ่มรอเพื่อนฆ่าได้
I'm going. Dashes in, gets the McHale's. Peter immediately follows. And Dokdam just W's in like we know what the plan is. You know, we need the Valkyrie damage. They kill him, and then, as we said, the damage is gone.
Yeah.
Even though the health bars get quite low from the initial salvo, the damage is just not there to follow up, and they can just push forward.
ราคาไม่ช่วยนะเวลาเจอเร็วนะ
And now that gold lead is really thinned out. They got 3 dragons.
เจอแมกเนตสตอร์มมันแบบไม่ช่วยเลย
Gio is still a major threat, but you know, if they do that, that's the answer.
Yeah, and Closer has now got a death cap. I mean, this guy actually does damage. UCAL, not so much. So it's all about Gio.
Yeah.
And we just saw that sometimes it is hard for him to stay alive. As UCAL was trying to go back home, and now he's just going to have to gate away.
Okay.
Finally, the Infinity Edge is complete.
Yeah, quick response from UCAL there, just to get out of dodge. Obviously no CC on the Neferi to stop you from doing that. But yeah, Gio got the Infinity Edge, gets him through that bit of a power trough he was in. Dokdam? Oh my god. They are collapsing on them.
Let's see whether this actually works for DRX as UCAL. He's got a gold card and a dream. He manages to lock down Gio. Massive damage. As now that Arc of Ruin just slow down Peter. Arcane Storm in the choke point is dangerous and they jump on top of Rich. But right there,
Dokdam ตาย
I don't know about that one, buddy, but he trades his life for the J.
พิซซ่าตาย
But Gio's
โคเซอ
still
ร์ด้วย
alive and Closer, he is not.
อ้าว
He eats a Slurkle and he dies for a double kill for Gio and Dudu.
จะเบิร์ส
He
ลิส
doesn't
แต่
want
แบ
any
บ
of this silliness. He's
ลิส
in
ต์
the
หันมา
top
สวน
lane.
ได้ทันพอดี
Dokdam needs to chill a little bit with these very, very aggressive Valkyries. He's not playing Bruiser Corki, and even if he was, I don't think that's a play. I don't think that's the play. You know what's the thing as well? I was about to say something nice about Dokdam. He will get through this replay first. Look at this damage from Gio. Nearly just one-shots Closer. They end up immediately on the back foot. They don't have their Renekton in here. It's a 5v4. And Dokdam just absolute
insanity.
Yes.
I mean, I appreciate the vibe, the gusto. Yeah.
4-5 the nice thing I was going to say is we've talked about struggles that Dogdam has had with his addiction to collect a 4th item.
Yeah.
And he's beaten it. He has gone a last whisper.
Last Whipter? I love the last Whipter last item. Well, it's not even the last item. It's Dogdam.
So he's not going to collect the 4th item. He's going last whisper. He's actually going to have some real pen, which is good when you're against this Mundo. But
Gio just traded ult for Valkyrie.
I'm not sure it really matters too much what item he's going when he's Valkyrieing in like that. Maybe
มี QSS มีระฆัง
Very true. There's nothing to fight for, so just ulting and dashing forward there didn't actually really matter
Dragon
that much.
minute 10, and it is sold for DNS. It would be a big sold. They have a lot of burst. LDR finish for Dogdam, big pickup. QSS now for G when he has both sums. So that last play they made when they CC'd him, he got the kills.
มันขึ้นสปิริตแล้วอะไอตัวโปรโตพาสก็ฮิวแรงขึ้นด้วย
It still needs to be deal with you. He's doing insane damage right now.
Oh yeah. With Cyrilda's done here, Rich is also
หรือว่า16กันด้วยมุนโดเก่ง
He's also got his Serpent's Fang done.
ตอนนี้ตายยากมาก
Some of these shields.
He does do a lot of burst, and over the course of the fight, he will put out a lot. But it's just like it feels like anyone near Jiwoo melts. So it's definitely kill him.
And they have no tank, right? It's bruises at best.
Yeah, it is. It's just bruises, and
a realm.
Yeah.
A metal pants lady. As Pyoshik now
รู้สึ
is
กเล่น
in
ดีว่ะ
a weird spot.
หมา
He's Neferi, so
เหมือนแกชำนาญมากอะ
He's just getting some poke downs.
แกไม่ลังเลเลย
Never use that as a verb. It's a weird one.
เล่นโคตรดีอะ
Dudu on a flank angle as well. Oh my goodness, is he going to do it again? That is the question. Let's see how safe Gio can be as he looks to try and turn it. Magnustorm doesn't
นี่สลับมาแต่ว่า
onto the
ตายไหม
Dudu
ริชเหมือน
flashes for it. He
แต่ว่า
doesn't have
ดู
enough.
ดู
The
ว่า
rest
ตำ
of
แหน่ง
the team are not there as they take
ตาย
it for Rich, but he's not the priority target. If Gio flashes
ดกด
into them,
ำแต่
then
จี
it
วู
might
ไม่ได้ตี
work out, but he does get himself out of
พยายาม
there.
ไขอยู่
Dogdam doesn't find the fast bomb, and Willer is just walking at him.
เฮ้ย
Flashes over the top.
ตัวดำไม่ตาย
Pyoshik finds the reset, goes into the GA and Yukao.
ได้มังกรเฉยเลย
Standing against all of these tiny health bars.
ได้
Can
โซ
he
ไฟ
get enough? That is the question. As the cinder on the ground, he wants to pick up.
ค่าดูดูช้าไปเว้ย
So he eats
เหมือน
it.
เจสไม่ได้ตี
That's not enough. And down he will go.
ลด
That's
โล่
an
ขาว
ace,
ของ
and that is a quadra
เลนิกปะ
infernal soul.
Yoshik is
หรือแม้ก็
massive
ตี
in
ตอน
the
เป็น
fight.
ตัว
It
ตี
looks
ตี
like
ไกลอะ
maybe they've overstepped because they don't end up going.
ตี
4G
ต้องตี
with
ต
a
รงเนี้ย
clean
มัน
angle onto
ต้อง
Rich.
ตี
They
แหละ
go for the Jace first, but they don't even immediately get him.
ไม่มีรถก่อนนะ
Committed onto him. He survives for quite a while.
หมดพอดี
Does take him down. And then they
ดู
end up
เลยไม่
looking for
ดู
Gio.
เลยไม่
Yoshik
ไม่
gets
โดน
the
รถ
damage. He forces
มัน
his
ดีบัฟหมดพอดี
flash.
เว้ย
Then switching targets over
โอ้
here.
my god
It looks like maybe DRX has managed to stabilize.
สเตอร์แลกเลยทำงานแบบ
Push forward again.
ฟูล
But
แบบ
this W to block the stun card.
Operate
And now he
function
sits down, pushes in, and just stat checks. And remember, this is the point of the fight where, you know, the Yunara doesn't have the ult available anymore. Not as strong, doesn't have the
มัน
stacked
ดูอัน
up
ตีมันหมด
Q.
นะครับมันไม่เก่ง
And
เล
once
ย
again, chases in the Neferi into TF specifically, just having such a bad time. The only CC that this composition have is that stun card, other than like the tether or like the Jace E.
พี่ไม่รู้เลยพี่รู้สึกว่าไม่ชอบไอ้โปรโตพาสมากเลยพี่ว่าซื้อซีกไม่ยังดีกว่าเลยมุนโดซื้อซีกเนอะไอ้โปรโตพาสมันพี่ว่ามุนโดซื้อซีกแม่งก็น่าจะเก่งไหม
Yeah, getting a little messy here. A little split up in that fight.
Are we still singing Silver Scrapes, DRX? That's the question. As Pyoshik, he can do that all day. That's all right. DRX wanting to get themselves a Baron, and I am a little bit worried about their prospects. As Willer now with ulti down is not quite as durable as now Yukao.
มุนโดอ่ะเอาดีตายยูแคลตายดกดำ
Now Pyoshik goes in, goes on target. He's got so much value out of that ability, and he
Pyoshik
manages to get out. Now Dudu gets into the mix, but he goes down immediately. Kited out, but Rich is going to be cleaning up. Dogdam with the cleanup is now Andal. Gio taking matters into his own hands, but Dogdam just barely survives, and it's a double for Close. And now Pyoshik turns back up. How are they getting away with this?
The crazy play from DNS
is 9-0-10.
Look how low
9-0-10 เพียวซิกเทพเจ้าไม่ลังเล .com เล่นโคตรดีเลยอะเล่นไอหมานรกนี่ดีมากเลย ไม่ต้องให้เปียวซิกไปเล่น J4 อะไรละเล่นเนี่ยลีซินตัวที่เขาแกเล่นในแรงพอแกมั่นใจแกเล่นมันโคตรดีเลย
And now it all falls apart. The Nexus, the last one in their LCK Cup run, will be going down, and Peter will stand in the way to stop UCal from watching.
พี่คิดว่าของมันโดไม่ดีเท่าไหร่อ่ะไม่ชอบเลย
DK in the next matchup in the lower bracket, and Purshik, look at that.
ไม่รู้เลยโปรโตปาสที่ว่ามันโดนเนื้อไปแล้วอ่ะแล้วมันน้อยมากเลยนะไอรีเลือดอ่ะ
And you know what? We have seen many a time.
แต่ว่ามันเลือดเยอะแหละมันเป็นของที่สแตทเลือดเยอะ
Some early singing of the Silver Scrapes coming in, and DNS said we ain't going to Game 5. We're getting it done here. And Purshik in particular had a phenomenal series, but on the Neferi feels like that sort of pick similar to the Kiana, where it's rampant in solo queue. We do see it work. Well, the Kiana we haven't seen work at all, but Neferi has had some games it's worked, but it always feels like, you know, even if it gets ahead, it's hard to execute the late game team fights. You see a Fed Yunara on the enemy team, you're betting on the Fed Yunara every single time, and yet Purshik pulled it off.
ส่วน DNS จะได้ไปเจอ DK ในวันพรุ่งนี้ครับ
In those late game fights, what a performance! And think about this is a player who was part of that DM Freaks roster last year, where they just did not win games.
Nope.
And now, you know, winning this match, getting to go further in the bracket, in playoffs. It's so early in the year and already having so much more success than they did last year.
LCK ครับ DNS พรุ่งนี้ครับ
3-2 I think it was a 3-1
อาจจะบอกว่าเป็นในว่าเหลืออีกแค่3ทีมที่ต้องฟันฝ่าจะได้ไปฮ่องกงครับก็คืออันนี้ครับทีมแรกนะครับเดี๋ยวพรุ่งนี้เจอ DK ทีมที่2แล้วเจอ T1 ครับทีมที่3เพื่อที่จะได้ไปฮ่องกง
He cut down one of the teams that's in front of them. I get it. I understand that. Well, yep, that is what they're going to have to do next is take down DK. That is going to be a tough one. Let's have a look at some of the highlights here as at the beginning, it was all DRX this whole time.
I mean, this fight was one where, this was one where we really saw the angle of
เอาจริงป่ะพี่ว่าจริงๆแล้ว DRX น่าชนะเกมนี้เว้ยแต่ว่าไฟต์ตรงนี้พลาด
The red buff that seemingly tempted them, whispering in their ears, and G was starting to get monster fed. And honestly, I think after this one, I was starting to feel a game 5.
ไม่มีระฆังในไฟที่แบบ
like this, where G was getting more and more fed, but here, kind of show that we know what the plan is. We're gonna kill the enemy carry. It won't be pretty, but we'll make it work. And a lot of these fights, Yoshik was just getting insane value because there was just no one who could shut him down. The gold card couldn't really respond to the fact that you can go untargetable so frequently. And he was just playing around his cooldown so well. He obviously had to opt out. You know, they had a bit of a whoopsie. But this fight in particular, the only peel they had was that gold card. And here they're backing off. It looks DRX favored. Gold card from UCal thrown. Immediately, he's like, okay, you have nothing left. I don't care if you have a shield